Okay. Welcome, one and all, for yet another episode of Wick TV. It's a cross ideological space where we come together to talk about issues both political and cultural, from the silly to the serious. Lara Talkin, thank you for the 17-month sub. Beautiful. We're starting off strong, okay? Getting me money in right away. We love to see it. We have some more people who will be joining us. They said they're running a tad late, but I wanted to start on time to respect you, my dear audience, and talk about tonight's topic, which I think is quite important to discuss. Um, I've heard from people online and in my real life that have had issues when it comes to dating, when it comes to relationships, when it comes to those things. And they, on occasion, will get pulled into the OnlyFans scene where they are uh, spending thousands of dollars on these women for things such as girlfriend experiences, where the girl pretends to be their girlfriend and they pay for this. The question before us tonight is, are such practices exploitative towards men? Is it harming men? Is it harming the fabric of our society? And what, if anything, should be done about it? And we have some lovely guests here to talk about it, and we're going to give the mic first to Xerxes, actually, to start us off. I'll let him start, and then we'll see what the rest have to say, and as more people get in, we'll just pull them in. So, Xerxes, mic's yours. Take it away.
Interesting. Usually I'm last but not least. All right, let's frame this. So to be quite honest with you, I think today is going to be a little different for me because I actually think that I need my opposition to convince me truly how it is not exploitation. By definition, number one. But why are we even asking the question, is it, when we can look at the practices themselves before we can analyze even morally should these ladies operate this way? If we look at the business model some of them employ, some of them have management teams where they're not even actually the person speaking to said customer. As such, the premise that you get to speak to them has already been broken from go, just as soon as we engage. From that point, we can have the inbox loot crates, I call them, different reports of where a lady will just send a price tag on an image or video, and you just have to guess as a content creator if you even, I mean, sorry, as a customer, if you even want to purchase it. No other business, as far as I know, maybe perhaps a gotcha game works in that way. So we have to prey on the randomized chance that you might get what you desire, or you might not. As such, if you're taking advantage of someone's curiosity, you're taking advantage of someone's porn addiction. As such, some of these people who would be engaging here would also be porn addicted, more likely than not, if not close to it. Then from that practice alone, something off is going on. I find it interesting that that even occurs, and it seems to be fine from their purview and how they're not exploiting. So we can go into detail as we go on to more examples of what I would say is clear exploitation of young men on these forums. But just from there, just from the front, that sometimes you're not even talking to the woman. We have to deal with the fact that you may not even get the content that you want through mystery loot box crates. The fact that this exists only because a lot of young men are not in good, healthy relationships. To me, I need my opposition more to bring the heat. I don't think I need to say much. So.
Okay. Okay, well, thanks for being here. We'll get into it as we go. Often topical. What are your thoughts here?
Sure. So I'll say on my stance on this is a little bit more nuanced than just a simple yes or no. I'll say that from the start, any kind of business that we talk about in general is going to be, by its very nature, exploitative. I think that this is no different. Every single business attempts to exploit the consumer in order to gain capital. I think that this business is no different. The same way gambling, smoking, drinking, bars, loot boxes, or even donating to your favorite streamer so that they notice your name in chat and they call you out and talk to you and say hi. It's a parasocial relationship just like any other. But the idea that this needs special attention or this is especially degrading to our society in a way that, say, a casino isn't, or in a way that, say, people who are donating just hundreds and hundreds of dollars to regular gaming streamers or politics streamers. I don't think that this is any different than that. I don't think that this is any more exploitative, any less exploitative. I think it is exactly the same. It's in the exact same vein, and I don't think that there's anything that we need to do that is like this is a specific, unique bad in our society.
Okay.
So my thought is, if we view this as something that is uniquely bad and needs to be regulated, or something needs to be done about it, then we should feel the same way about donating to Twitch streamers. We should feel the same way about going to have loot boxes or going to casinos. That all of these things should be more heavily regulated, or should be more discouraged in ways where we get rid of it as a society because it's harmful.
So, and before I let Kirby phone, Lero Talkin, thank you for the bits. Apparently, I'm just like an OnlyFans creator, and that you are donating to me in the exact same way as an OnlyFans creator would get money, and there is no difference between these two things. Thank you. Kirby, go ahead.
And to the point that it's that you don't know that you're not messaging the girl. I think a lot of times it's pretty transparent when a lot of big creators, I think, I don't go on the site, so it's hard. I needed my OnlyFans girls in the chat because I really don't know.
Hopefully they get here
I
soon,
think they're
right?
transparent about either if they actually are messaging you back, or if it's someone else. I could pull up Sad Kit Kat, for example. She will randomly respond to a man who's like, "I'm so horny for you." She'll say, "I want soup." That's clearly Julie. That's not. So I think it's transparent, but then you have to also go into the idea that like people will lie to you everywhere online. We always say you have to warn your kids to go on certain sites because people will lie. It's not like this is a nuanced thing that people are not being truthful. There's tons of websites where people aren't truthful. I played World of Warcraft when I was under 18. That's against their rules. Like it's ridiculous that we think that like OnlyFans is the only website that people are lying. Like,
no, I guess to start the discussion off, and I'm kind of stalling for time till more people get here, but we'll do what we can. Thank you, $10 from Psychonaut. Wick is my
they gave me
OnlyFans
enough.
daddy. Thank you for the $10. I appreciate you. But I guess to ask, and I'll start with asking Xerxes this because this has been brought up. Do you think that how is OnlyFans different from, say, just donating to a streamer? How is the relationship different from just a standard parasocial
I think it's
relationship?
absolutely ridiculous comparison, actually.
Explain.
If you donate to a streamer, the idea is that you understand that there is a sacrifice of their time and a need of upkeep for them to continue to stream and be a performer for you, right? So one, it's a donation. Like you don't have to do that. There's no need to even engage with said streamer by donating. You can just chat. In fact, I've streamed a few times. No one ever has to send me a super chat. I just talk to them. If anyone shoots me any message anywhere, if I have the time, Twitter, Discord, wherever, I'll just talk to them. For some reason, though, there's a barrier to entry to communication with a lady on OnlyFans. Well, why is that? If I'm a person, you're a person. Why do I need to give you money to communicate with you and talk to you? So with the streamer, you understand they're sacrificing something, and because you're entertained, you want them to continue. You want to give reward to that sacrifice, right? If I'm here performing for you to give you a podcast you listen to, you say, "Hey, you need to eat some food. Here's some money so you can eat some food. Hey, you need to keep the lights on. Here's some money. I'm going to try to help you keep the lights on." That's not really the same with with pornography or on OnlyFans. It's like the idea. uh, the idea originally, at least inception, was that like you're gonna be able to engage specifically with said lady, right? That's why it's OnlyFans. Like it's a hub to get direct contact with that woman, whom originally how a lot of it used to be was like a performer. Like when it came to porn stars, a lot of people don't recognize that like normal to do average women wouldn't be like faceless creators, or they wouldn't just be people you talk to. They would be, again, in like Bang Bros, they would be whatever different porn companies. I can't remember on the top of my head. So the idea of like some normal chick from down the street also being on OnlyFans, that's a new, unique, novel thing. But the problem and the exploitation comes with, why is it that we even need to give money to speak to normal, everyday, average ladies and people? Why are we even in this business, right?
Before we respond to that, as people trickle in, I want to get their thoughts, introduce them. Again, apologies to my audience. They're trickling in as we get them. We had a full house. We'll do our best. Cohort, can you just kind of give us a brief kind of description of your thoughts on the question at hand? Is OnlyFans exploiting men in a way that is substantively different than, say, any other streamer, like a Twitch streamer or a YouTube streamer or podcast host, right? What do you think?
Yes, absolutely. Mic check. 1 2 1 2 1 2.
I'll
We
turn
can hear
it
you.
up a little bit.
Yeah,
I
volume's
need
good.
to turn it
Alright.
up a little bit, but we can hear you.
Yeah.
That I can do. So let me know if I do need to do that. But yeah, no, I would say yes, absolutely. And of course, I guess we're gonna expand on that throughout the panel. But yeah.
Yeah, well, we are in that place. As more people come on, I'll drag them in. But yeah, can you expand on that? Maybe we can let Kirby and Often Topical maybe address your thoughts
Oh yeah, address mine.
and
Oh,
yours too.
you already went. Well, so I think there's a very obvious kind of deficit that needs to be at present for the man, and it's not a deficit that's exactly the same as like what you might get from watching a companion stream like a mukbanger or a streamer where you're still doing something parasocial, which I also am not a huge fan of, to be honest with you, but that's a separate topic. But the romantic deficit, exploiting that is something that's obviously happening in the girlfriend experience, and I think because of that, the kind of power balance that's at play there, and what the man is desiring that he can never get in full because it is a simulation rather than a real thing. There's going to be a lot of inherent pain and hardship for the man. But for the record, I also think this is exploiting the woman, probably in a more major way because she is being turned into a commodity, and we're pretending that you can package her essence, her femininity, into an experience that can be felt to any sufficient level over the internet. So that's not even that I just think it's the man. I think both of them are being exploited in a really goofy and kind of nasty way. But yeah, absolutely. That's kind of where I stand with it.
What do you guys think?
I think it's funny that we keep honing in on the messaging and then like
Mhm.
the girlfriend experience portion. They are selling porn pretty much. Most of the women on OnlyFans, they're selling like straight up porn. You're paying for porn. You're not paying for the girlfriend experience. I'm so sorry that's what you think most men are paying for. They're not. They're paying to see these girls nude or in lingerie.
Well,
I was going off of
if
the
I may
prompt. I
ask,
never said that, for the record. I
yeah,
never said
but
this was
but here's
what
the
I put
thing.
in.
Here's the thing. It might be the case that there are definitely some fans who come and they just purchase their clips and leave. But there are typically some of the bigger spenders who are definitely trying to create some type of relationship with the woman
Okay.
over a period of time.
So
Like they're the ones that the chatters. I was watching a video researching it because there's actually videos on YouTube of how to be an OnlyFans chatter where they want to create an actual long-term relationship with these big spenders so they can continue to spend. It's
Well,
right on
but
the
then
tin, right?
is this any
So
different than like having a sugar daddy? Like, no, it's not. It's like
well, I would say
it's
absolutely it is.
they
Yes.
both benefit. One gets money and one gets attention. Like
Well, here's the difference. I don't think they both benefit. I don't even think even in the sugar daddy situation they both benefit. But it's like if one is a relationship that can never actually be like fruitful or return what is a relationship
Xerxes,
is
how do you
supposed
feel
to
about
be,
sugar daddies? You should probably
then
do you like those? Do you think
so
that's a
I don't
good?
like them either. Yeah, I don't think
Okay,
sugar
all
daddies are
right
good
then. Let's start
to
there.
begin with.
Let's
So
actually start there.
so they're kind of the same thing. But even then, like if a real life like sugar daddy, they're still engaging sexually, and that would just more be prostitution directly. But here we have prostitution indirectly and virtually, where there just never is a true fulfillment or return. Like an escort, her purpose technically is really kind of to just be there and look pretty. Technically, escorts are used as a euphemism for prostitutes, but technically they're not. They don't have to be, or they're not supposed to be. So even in that situation, it's not the nicest thing to be arm candy, but it is different than like a fake relationship with a person that's not said person, taking money from you, right?
so
I don't know. I need a
But
counter
you're
Yeah,
argument.
saying
Where
not
yeah.
how is
said
that not
person. What if it
exploitative?
is the said person? What if it is the people? Is
So
that okay?
so if we move forward, right? So we assume that it is said person, and they are indeed actually engaging with the individual defendant, right? The relationship still cannot return fruitfully, right? There's still an imbalance here, right? Where one person is draining resources to give to another person who does not care about them and has no intention of even respecting them just as a normal human being, right? One question that I think is always interesting to ask is, would you date a fan? And you find that very many of the OnlyFans ladies say, I could never date a fan. Well, hold on. If you're a human and he's a human, What splits the difference? Why could you not date this person who's facilitating your life? Would that not just be what your husband would do? Would that not just be what your boyfriend would do? What is it? What is the thing that is splitting the difference between this quote unquote fan and any boyfriend you would
Okay.
like,
I
any husband
wanna.
you would have, any actual relationship of love, care, and tenderness? You know.
Yeah, I wanna.
So
I want.
I want a response. I want them. I
Okay.
want the heat.
Give it a response, but I do want to introduce Julie when I can. So yeah, respond to him, and then I'll get Julie in there. Go ahead. What do you? Go ahead. Anyone?
Anyone have a
Did I,
response?
did I
I
cook?
guess I do. I have like a
Oh, sorry. I
So-
thought she was introducing. I was so distracted by
Oh,
her.
I'm Julie. Whatever. Hello.
Okay, go ahead. Talk to
I
him.
have like a experience of that like exact thing. I met a guy on Tinder, and he, I guess, found my social media and then went and found my OnlyFans and started messaging me on OnlyFans. And then he didn't tell me it was him, and I found out like through matching tattoos or whatever. And I was like, I explained, if you're gonna be on my OnlyFans, I don't really want to talk to you on Tinder because you being on my OnlyFans changes the relationship dynamic. Like if you're
Wow.
talking to me, because if you're like, if I'm gonna date someone, I don't want our relationship to start off inherently sexual. Like
Why?
if your first conversation to me is I want a nut on your face, I'm like, you might not be the one for me.
Ain't
Why?
no way, dog.
It's uncomfortable. It's weird. It's like why? Like if you are pursuing
If a
something
stranger
that's
said it and gave
meaningful,
you money, you'd be fine
hold
with
on.
it. Like,
If you're
okay, go ahead.
pursuing something meaningful with me, I don't want it to start off with you make me horny. I feel
Why?
like that's
If I engage,
Wait, no,
Why
hey,
go on the
hey, I got
street?
some. What is it about? What is it about sex that makes it a bad
Yeah.
opening starter?
He cut to it. I was gonna get there, but go ahead.
For me personally, if I'm gonna be like intimate with someone, I know this sounds stupid because I have an OnlyFans, but I don't do like nudes or like sexting or anything on it. But if I'm gonna be intimate with someone, it has to be someone that I actually care about and that I feel like really cares about me. So if you come in being sexual right away, it turns me off because I'm like, I don't know you like that.
That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense.
So here's the thing. Let's say I accept that wholesale. It would still be to the point I was making earlier, right? You've created a discrepancy between this fan and any man you'd actually want to be with. Here's the thing. Here's what's interesting. This horny fan could still be a good person. He could still have a lot of great qualities, but you just straight disconnect any degree of actual intimacy or relationship with him.
Okay.
If you know that that is what he wants, and that's why he picked you specifically to engage with, how are you not exploiting his desire?
We're gonna get
How
to
are
that
you
in a
not
second,
doing
and I
that?
want to get other people in on this conversation. To be clear, Zetsway, thank you for the 5 subs. I'm exploiting you today, and Aaron Gray also exploiting you. Thank you for the membership on the YouTube.
Look at them
I
paying for
appreciate it.
attention.
Exactly.
That's yeah.
But no,
Pay
that's
pigs.
that. I'll just
That's
ask
what
you
they
guys
are.
correct. I'll ask you directly, Julie. How are you not exploiting your fans on OnlyFans?
In some ways, I probably am, but I need to make money. So Wick is exploiting all of us right now. So
Do you
No,
think
I
that's
don't.
hold on,
I disagree.
Cersei,
I don't agree
hold
in
on,
being
hold on, Cersei. You gotta let other people in. You gotta let other people in. We gotta have a conversation here because the question becomes like, do you think that what I do is equivalent to what a majority of people on OnlyFans do?
Yes,
Not at all.
absolutely.
You have to cook. Go ahead and cook.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I will. Okay, so
ahead.
I will. The question was asked a little bit earlier when I brought this up. They said, the difference is, you can be in public chat rooms with streamers, and you don't have to pay to talk to them. You don't have to you don't have to pay to talk to a lot of these girls either. They got Twitters. You can message them on Twitter. A lot of them are camming. You can be in those chat rooms in the cam sites. You don't have to pay to talk to them. You have a better chance of being noticed if you're paying. The same way that maybe I don't see chatters in the chat if my chat's going fast.
So you're saying if they're not a
if you're in-
customer,
well,
they
let me
don't
finish
wanna-
talking and I'll tell you. If you are in like, let's say a Vosh chat or you're in a Hassan chat, what are the odds that he's going to read your message? Probably pretty small. But what are the odds he's going to read your message if you donate and you pay some money? It's the exact same with OnlyFans girls. It's the exact same thing. You can talk to them in public places. You can talk to them in public spaces. Reach out. Maybe they'll talk to you. Maybe they won't.
You
That's
gonna
part of
explain how
just
Wick and
talking in
OnlyFans are the
public.
same thing? Can we get
What's
to that?
that?
Can you explain how Wick and OnlyFans are the same?
He technically
Because
did,
you
it's
are
just
providing a
not argument.
parasocial relationship to the chatters, and you
That's
are
what Wick is doing right
acknowledging
now.
them
He's providing a this panel is a parasocial relationship. You think that's the same
every
thing?
single time that you pay to talk to a streamer or to have your message noticed by a streamer. That is exactly the same as
But
when
let
you are
me-
paying an OnlyFans
No,
girl
no.
to
Hold on,
notice
have
your
to cut
message
in
and
here.
talk to
No.
you.
He gonna box with me real quick. So that's not true. That's absolutely not true. It's fundamentally not true.
Tell me how.
So if I'm watching a political panel or a panel of any kind, and I decide to send a message to have it TTS or be referenced on the stream, I'm not engaging in a parasocial relationship with the panelist, the host, or anyone else present. That is not the
That'd be like
same
all
thing
the
as
insults I got.
simulating any form of a romantic, platonic or non-platonic relationship, direct messaging someone, right? Paying for the service. That is not the same thing. If I send him a $5 chat and it says, "Great stream, Wick. Here's a question for Julie." I did not just engage in a parasocial relationship with Wick. I have no idea that I'm in any kind of relationship with him.
You are paying for attention is what you are doing. You can ask that question in chat. You can spam the question in chat. I've seen Wick grab questions out of chat plenty of times that weren't in super chats. You don't have to pay.
When you buy
But here's the
porn,
issue,
when you
though.
buy
Like-
porn, it's the same as TTSing. You're paying for attention. That's what you're saying.
You're
Porn is-
asking, it's a completely different thing than if I'm paying to message somebody. You're asking if I buy porn? No, that's the same as buying a movie. It's no different there.
Okay. So when
I'm
you
not
message,
expecting to be
when you
noticed
message
when I
within the
buy
girlfriend,
a video.
when you message a girl within the girlfriend experience, that is the same thing as telling Wick he's doing a good stream.
If I'm paying
these two
for
things
it,
are the same thing.
if you're paying for it, yeah.
So what
Do you
you've done
think-
is
No,
you've
this is
identified a
English.
common
Hold on.
thread. You've
Hold on.
generalized.
Do you think
identified
that
a
these-
common thread? Go
Do you
ahead,
think
go
that these men who pay for the girlfriend experience are so helpless and so stupid that they genuinely believe that this is something that's going to go somewhere? Or do they
Yeah.
think that they are
ahead.
paying for...
Unfortunately, I'm far too
No.
experienced debating to allow you to pivot. First, you're going to either
Also, yeah.
back off the idea that these things are the same thing because they're not. We're not going to conflate, or you can just hold on to that stupid idea. Everyone heard you say it, and then we can move on to the next thing, right? But
No,
I'm not
the-
gonna let you pivot to
I'm not pivoting.
act like you didn't just say that.
You're trying to
TTSing
say
a
that this
streamer.
is unique, that this one thing is unique. What I'm saying is that these things, when we're talking about messaging these girls and paying to message them and paying to talk with them, it is no different. It might be different in the amount of money that's being spent, for sure.
This is foolish. Can I cut in? We need to
in
clear
a
something
minute,
up.
in a minute.
If you
There's-
can.
Well, we need to
I
clear
promise-
something up.
Yeah, but we
here,
got to get
right?
Kirby feet. Kirby's sitting here. She's waiting so patiently
She's having
to
a
have
great
some stuff
time,
to
bro.
say.
Look at
She-
no, she's
we
having
got
no, she's loving it.
Julie waiting so patiently to have something to say. Xerxes, I promise
They
you,
might
you
need
get
a
your
fourth.
chance to talk, right? But I want to give a chance to the other people to have their say before we get to you. Is that okay?
I think someone's waiting in backstage, by the way.
I don't know. Again,
That's someone not.
I don't think that's
Isn't that-
Cassie.
Oh, it's
Until
not?
Cassie gets here, the randos don't get in.
Fair enough.
Oh, I thought it was her.
Fair enough. Mhm.
But yeah,
Mhm.
like so Kirby, Julie, you're hearing the arguments. Is messaging me the same as when a dude
I'm
messaged-
hearing the arguments, but I think this is kind of irrelevant to the whole debate in general. Like, I think the whole messaging thing, I think the comparison of Twitch, all of this is kind of irrelevant. The whole point is if it's taking advantage of men, right? I was looking at percentages and stuff like that of users, and it says like 43% are women. 43% of like subscribers are still women. So it's like, what? So we're taking advantage of the women and men? Like, well, the debate is only around men for some reason, even though like I looked up that 2% of women 18 to 45 are also on OnlyFans. That's not a huge margin. That's not crazy. We've always had porn. All the people who started the company, all the investors, all the board of directors, they're majority men. So if we want to go and take a step further, men are still, taking advantage of this.
Well,
We go a higher level,
profiting.
It's still men
doesn't-
are profiting. Then the women creators are
but
profiting.
men aren't a
and then-
monolith, though. That's the issue, though, right? So it's like, yeah, sure, it might be a small percent of men who oversee all of that get a higher percentage. Obviously the owners of OnlyFans might be a male, but everyone underneath that, the larger percentage of just average to do guys that aren't having good relationships, say even with their wife, as well. So they're not included in that.
Don't you
in
think
that
it's
profit
healthier
tier.
that they're talking to like a bot pretty much rather than
Not at
actually
all,
going
no.
out and cheating on their wives?
No, not at all. Not at all. I think I think it would still indicate there's an issue with that relationship altogether. They shouldn't be there to begin with. But the fact remains
Of
that
course,
if
they
you're
shouldn't
a
be there to
lady
begin with, but don't you think it's
and
healthier than actually actively going out and cheating? Like, if you can pretend message a girl and get
I don't
like
like the term healthier. Is it less egregious? Sure, healthier.
You're not supposed to be
I don't
sublimating
wanna
that
add health to
behavior.
it.
You
Yeah,
shouldn't be
exactly. I
engaging in
don't
it at all.
Well, it's just
precisely.
like
So I don't wanna use the term
porn.
health.
It's like it's to me, OnlyFans is
Mhm.
exactly like porn, but just the
But it
girls get a
isn't.
little more power. There's a little more
No,
power
but
in the women's hands.
But here's the reason why it can't be. For those of y'all who weren't here earlier, obviously you're here, Kirby, but a lot of people don't factor in the difference of how modernity has made porn and OnlyFans in this regard. Originally, like a porn star was a woman totally disconnected that was an actor. It was just a film, right? It was literally, pornographic film. Even if the acting is terrible, these are all fictional scenarios. This doesn't happen. All the porn plots and whatnot we make fun of because it's just there to stimulate. But with OnlyFans, it's you have the faceless real life create like they're just some college girl, right? They're just some chick there. They're a real person, supposedly for the most part, that is actually trying to talk to and speak to lots of different males. And so it's not quite the same thing when you're actually engaging with the individual and trying to foster some type of rapport, some type of relationship.
Kay in my chat says this, and I think it's an interesting comment from a woman. Kay says, I'd rather be cheated on with a real human than a bot. It would be far worse to be cheated on with a bot. And at least a man would have some real connection and a chance for something real. Interesting.
Wait, but that means you want the man to leave you. What the hell?
No,
I mean, if
no.
he's cheating on
Maybe
you,
you would rather, but yeah.
So this would actually be a really good thing to be offended by, because it means you would recognize that emotional cheating, a man emotionally cheating on you with a bot, means that there is something he's getting from that bot. And there's no physical connection. There can't be. There's something emotional, maybe intellectual, that he's getting from that bot that he's not getting from you, and that should be
fix it and change
insulting.
it. That's
Well,
why.
it should be insulting to you. You should be why would
I
he?
would be insulted more if he fucked someone else. Straight up.
I understand that. No,
I would
to be
pissed.
fair,
I don't understand that. And I can explain why. I'm happy to explain why. If so, all of these things are horrible to do. You shouldn't do them, right? But if a man is satisfying the physical urge, right, which is like he gets horny, right? He steps out, right? That's horrible. The idea that a man is so dissatisfied by interacting with you emotionally and intellectually that he has to seek out Chat GPT. That's like a different level of.
People. I would be
sometimes a
more.
reflection of yourself too.
Well, I would be more pissed off if you went and fucked someone else because I'm literally right here. Why aren't you fucking me? If you just
fair.
aren't getting emotional,
Everyone
whatever
can
for
do
me, we just aren't compatible. Whatever. Go be emotionally compatible with someone else. If you go out of your way to fuck another human being,
well, not only that, you obviously at least it depends on the culture, right? Because Japan actually doesn't see prostitutions or going to sleep with a prostitute as cheating, or because it's the emotional attachment that they say is cheating. So like for us in the US, culturally, if you go out of your way and go fuck someone else, like you really have no love for your partner in my eyes. Like you're thinking about the potential consequences of what your partner's going to go through, and you're okay with that.
I guess to kind of like steer the conversation a little, right? This is to Julie, often topical, and to Kirby, so that kind of side of things. And I'll get to super chats soon. Don't worry, keep them coming. We'll ask these ladies and these gentlemen any question you want. Just super chat. But here's a question I have for you. Do you not see how the argument could be made that preying on a man's loneliness as a man's separation is significantly worse than, say, a gotcha game, right? Trying to just, get the loot box neurons firing in their head. Don't you see how it might be a little bit more socially damaging to try to, instead of men going and talking to women in real life, they substitute OnlyFans for that, right? So it's not that they're cheating. It's that they could be talking to women in real life, but why when they could just pay for it?
So I heard about that sentiment for Twitch as well. An interesting point that a lot of people, especially in this is a little bit niche, but in like rural parts of China, there's men overpopulating the women. So then they'll go on Twitch streams. They'll have an emotional connection with all these like women online because they literally don't have the option to go out and like socialize with women. So they like the connection, even though they know it's meaningless and nothing will actually ever happen. They like we're just social creatures as humans. So like they like at least the chatting, or even if it's a bot, they don't care.
What's the rest
So
of
you have a lot of examples like
So,
in military
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll
small
say
towns.
to add to that, we've seen social ostracism. God, I can't say that word. Ostriches. Holy crap!
Got it.
You know
can
what
do
I'm
it.
trying to
we
say.
know what you mean. We know what
Yeah.
you mean.
Holy crap! I can't get that word
social
out. But
isolation, perhaps?
sure, let's go with that instead. Yeah, we've seen social
Ostracization.
isolation on the rise in general as the proliferation of the internet has continued to expand. I don't think that this is a unique problem to OnlyFans or a unique problem to Twitch. We as a people are are sort of flocking more to the internet than to in person social interactions. And I think that the pandemic then only sort of uh supercharged that in a way where now get-togethers don't happen anymore. In general, social gatherings don't happen the way that they used to, or in the abundance that they used to. I don't think to say that this is a unique problem to OnlyFans. I'd find that really disingenuous because I think that this is
Why?
an issue that's affecting everybody in every aspect of society.
Now let me give you that. Let me give you that wholesale. Let me ask you a question then. If it's affecting everyone, that would also include young ladies, right? So why are the men having to pay any degree of money to interact with any woman if there are other women over here that they could also interact with?
Because they
What's
choose
going-
to.
Yeah, they're just not
Okay,
attracted
okay.
to those women.
So
or-
let's actually have a discussion and conversation where we think critically.
Why do you think
Evidently, they choose to. That's
Why do you think
evident.
they're choosing to?
Why? I need you to tell me why, right?
No, you're
Because
the one
you
who's saying
say-
that it's like
you
this
said-
unique issue. I'm
you-
saying they happen
exactly.
to.
So you say that it is not a unique issue. I'm trying to highlight how it is a unique issue, and you need to defend how this is all the same, right? Because if
The
it is all
same
the
Easier.
same,
It's easier.
why are we
Why
spending
are we
money?
debating in person? You know why? Because it's easier to be online.
But that okay. So
You guys
so
give me
the
enough
question
money and
still
I'll
then
set
would
up a
be-
debate panel in person, but go
I
ahead.
think
Yeah.
there's an issue where we keep on conflating things that don't match up well, and obviously, whenever people do this, it's for their own strategic benefit, and I hear it. Sometimes I'll let it go, but sometimes I can't because I know it's going to be foundational. Okay, some of these things are different. They have different qualities, different properties that needs to be recognized. This is the nature. The nature of the question only exists because we're recognizing there's a possible different angle, something provocative, something more interesting about the girlfriend experience, or even if it was just OnlyFans in general, which it still be something we could talk about, right? So, I just think, okay,
When
When
you
you-
keep
when you
saying
communicate-
girlfriend experience, what do you mean? What does that entail?
Well, I could tell you. I mean,
yeah, maybe I'll
You
let
have
I'll,
experience
I'll-
with the
I'll-
girlfriend
his-
experience?
I'll let him tell his definition. What I'm trying to say is, what I'm trying to say is whenever you communicate online, there is something being lost, similar to when you take an audio file and you convert it to a file type that downgrades it, right? And sometimes that's okay, and we're okay with that, that sacrifice, right? I do think that there's something interesting that happens when you simulate romantic relationships, when you sort of position yourself as a stand-in for the real thing, right, for a man. I think there are dangerous things that happen for him, and possibly dangerous, the sort of guaranteed dangerous things that happen for him, and then possibly dangerous things that happen for the women, right?
Have you-
Okay,
Depending on how
name
they-
one of those things. Just in the interest of discussion, you said there are dangerous things that happen for men.
Mhm.
Name one,
Yeah.
and maybe we could discuss it.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think over time, engaging enough in that proxy relationship where you cannot be rejected because you're paying, where you're not getting the full experience of the person because you're paying, you're getting a curated experience, right? And there is no genuine desire being felt, genuine care, no give and take, all the things that come with a relationship that make it what it is, right? Whether it's monogamous or poly. There's things that come with relationships, right? A lot of that is not going to be present. It can't be, just for the fact that you're paying, right? And I think over time, these men that engage in this behavior, they find their the way that they engage with women, the way that they view relationships, and the extent to which they learn to depend on the paid ones, I think it has a detrimental effect, right? They become more reliant because it's easier. It is easier comparatively, right? To just hand someone $100 and they're with you for an hour, 2 a week, whatever the arrangement is, right? Like that's easier than having to go out and foster and build an actual, two-way investment, right? So, but it's not the same thing, and you'll always feel that it's not the same thing. And I think that to me builds over time resentment, sorrow, pain, unrequited love. I think that's also why a lot of times
Why
these
is he
men will
wrong?
eventually
Yeah.
find.
Yeah,
Because,
no.
well, eventually these men will find that one woman that they wish they could be more with, which is natural. It's very human, and they cannot be because this is a monetary exchange, right? And the pain they will feel in that moment is going to be difficult to quantify.
Have
right?
you heard of host clubs?
I have, yes.
So this isn't like, again, this is not a new thing.
Explain it for my audience.
I think those are bad too.
Hold on.
So
Explain it for my
host
audience.
clubs originated in Japan in like the 1960s, right? Pretty much you go in, you pay for the boyfriend experience. So they pick extra attractive Japanese dudes. You're in Japan and you go in to have the whole boyfriend experience. They'll say you're beautiful. They'll pour you drinks, et cetera, right? But you're paying for that experience. That's what you want. You know it's not real. Some people, just like parasocials, just like Twitch, just like anything, some people will be like, I can take this further. I can actually date that person. When the majority of the times, you can't. They're doing a character. They're doing a bit. And that's the same with OnlyFans girls. This is not a new concept. This has always happened. You can even say that with prostitutes. I'm sure there's many men over the years who will be like, this prostitute actually likes me. I can change her. But it doesn't happen. They're using them. That's why it's crazy that we're creating a safer space because it's online. So it's harder to stalk the girl, harder to harass her to get her to stay with you. It's a safer space for the women, and then the men, have.
Why should they engage if it's dangerous, though? Doesn't that betray an issue here for both the male and the female? Why would you court someone that you think is dangerous to begin with? Why? How is that not exploiting a dangerous person?
You're misunderstanding what I just said. It can be dangerous. Like if you're a prostitute, that can be very dangerous. Men can take advantage of you. Men can do a lot of things to you, right? But creating this barrier, this wall with the online space, you're doing sex work, but with this barrier, they don't know where you live necessarily. I don't know.
They could find it.
But overall,
but that's
I don't think anyone would argue
in the
it's not.
online space.
I don't think anybody would argue otherwise. It is absolutely safer for
No.
But
the reason, I want to hammer in on this point, and the reason why is because if you recognize that you are courting danger, or this is some barrier to prevent you from danger, you are suggesting that there is an issue with sex work, just in principle and function. The question is, if you understand there's an issue in danger, why are we courting men like this?
Human nature, there's gonna always be a crazy who's just randomly parasocial. This has happened to everyone. Me and Julie, for example, we were in Texas and some random guy showed up. He was trying to find and meet us, even though we told him, do not turn around, stop trying to find us. Like this just happens. It's just like
so it wouldn't be randomly okay. It wouldn't be randomly parasocial, right? So what I think, if you're gonna recognize the inherent dangers in-person prostitution or something, proxy, quasi, OnlyFans, whatever the thing is, right? Then let's take that the whole way. So one of the inherent dangers is that you are pretending to some extent, often, and this is one thing I won't be gaslit on, is that this happens, because I know it does, because I did a little research, I paid attention, right? I've seen how these models conduct themselves on Twitter. I've seen how they conduct themselves in threads. I've seen how they talk to their either current fans or people they're hoping to funnel in. And they will say anything, deeply emotional stuff, if it means getting another man on board. So, but I was going to get to that later when we kind of get more to the specific, conduct and everything. But
can you give me an example of what's deeply emotional?
Yeah. So trying to find niche topics that are being discussed on social media and trying to like horn your way in, even pretending like you care, right? When it's very obvious that you there's no history of you ever caring about this topic.
Can I give you an example?
If you have a better one, that's fine too.
Yeah, I have an example.
This is one that I saw recently.
Something after.
And I want to know, and I'll give it to you, Julie, because I'm curious. Julie and Kurt.
Well, I was just gonna say, like, if you're talking about like the larger OnlyFans creators, like they're managed and marketed by like teams and companies. Like if you're seeing a large OnlyFans creator who's like targeting men or whatever, that's not her. That's her
No,
marketing
I'm not.
team doing
I'm
that.
not. It's actually more
Which
important
is
that I'm
less
not. I'm
than
talking about a
OnlyFans.
regular woman who wants to be able to get to the top percentile, like all of you do, and realizes that the best way to do that is not
Yeah.
going to be just
All of you
spamming
do.
free, 5% off. You can take it a step further and you can just do the full parasocial thing. It's
I
not
saw-
illegal to do that. It
Okay,
doesn't
I
cost you
saw
any
an
extra money.
OnlyFans creator. I don't remember her name, right? And I don't know if it was her or her team. But whoever did this, I'll just say this before I get this, is a scumfuck. I don't care.
Oh.
Some dude made a thread about how he was feeling suicidal. He was lonely. His wife had left him. He lost the kids. He had nothing.
And she said,
Hey,
"You
you know,
have my
you could come to my OnlyFans and I can help you feel better.
OnlyFans."
I'm
No,
gonna be honest, that
man.
was
No,
probably a
no, no,
marketing
no,
team.
no, no.
Well, exactly. But either way, like, how's that not exploiting?
So let's say this about that.
It's
I
still
will say,
exploitative, but I don't think it's specifically the girl. I think it's the marketing team's trying to target people to get people. Like I get,
You
I
can,
even get
but we can.
message
Can we
DMs
just
from my
acknowledge?
Instagram.
Can we just acknowledge that that's like
It's
crosses a
disgusting.
hold.
No, wait, no,
Yeah, I
wait,
agree.
hold
What are
on,
you giving
wait.
the ghost then?
Wait, no, we don't
That's
even, you don't
actually
even
a
have
sick
to.
marketing
You don't even,
tactic.
it's actually really interesting. So even if it is the marketing team, why did the marketing team choose that tactic?
Because that gets you the most money. They don't care.
Okay.
They want money.
No.
So then
We're not even.
business.
But why? But wait. So that gets them the most money. So we're talking about the girlfriend experience. We're kind of talking about OnlyFans.
But this
right, all
goes
this
into
stuff. So
you
like,
weren't here for the original what they were what Often was saying, but Often was comparing it to business, any other business. It's like
But I need
they
to
want to
cook
raise the
that on
most
that
money.
anyway. I need to cook
yeah,
on that anyway
so
because
I
here's
don't. Yeah, go ahead.
if you'd let me, right? There's a
Yeah.
huge issue here with like people think that businesses simply exist to exploit. It's that some businesses exploit, some businesses have needs and solutions. For example, if you need milk, you're not being exploited if you go to Walmart
I'm not
and you
talking about a
purchase the
grocery store.
milk,
I'm talking
right?
about a casino.
So
Should
okay,
they not
so
exist?
no,
They
Sorry,
shouldn't.
no,
milk
they should
companies.
not
I'm sorry, there's
exist.
competition.
Won't
That's
somebody
And it's very
please think
easy.
of the
If they can charge
poor
$10 for their
people
milk, they
who
will.
can't
If they
handle
can.
themselves
There's too much
at the
competition.
detriment of the rest of us who are adults and know how to handle ourselves.
I think.
Okay,
I think.
okay,
I think.
even
I
if
think
that be
this.
the
So this
case-
eventually gets at blown back out into a more larger conversation of. Okay, because the reason why casinos should not exist is they are the absolute definition of predatory. The
Yeah.
house is preying on
Mhm.
you. It is designed to the point
Every
of psychological
element. Mhm.
psychological manipulation. The
Yes.
smells, the sounds, the room design. It is all meant to eventually, if they can, get you addicted. In fact, if they could get you definitively addicted, they would. They're mad that the percentage isn't higher. Now, here's the thing:
Yeah.
You know what else
gamblers,
they are?
gambling addicts have the highest suicide rate. If you educate yourself on these things, you find no reason to keep casinos.
You know what else
Exactly.
they are?
Absolutely
Fun.
none.
They're fun.
But they're
Fun.
They're
just
a lot of
okay,
fun.
They're
that's
fun.
the problem.
Okay.
Is
I
there
enjoy
a
it.
world?
I've
is there
gone,
a
and
world?
I'm
Hold on,
just
Upton,
fine.
Upton, let
Are
me ask
there
you a
pe-
question.
Well,
Upton,
Let,
let me
no,
ask you a
let-
point is-
stop. Let off topic
Mhm.
go. So
Okay.
explain why you're okay with this predatory practice in casinos. Go
yeah,
ahead.
I'm okay with this predatory practice the same way that I'm okay with any other business engaging in predatory practices. All of them will.
Hold on, do you
especially
not
these
think
ones
there's a
that do not-
difference? Hold on,
Well,
you
I'll
keep
finish.
saying that
Yeah,
they're
I
the
will.
same. Let me
I
no,
will say
stop,
the
stop.
difference.
Let me answer
No,
my
I was
question,
about
right?
to say exactly the
Give me a
difference from
second.
what you were
Give me
going
a
to
second.
ask.
Give me a second.
Okay.
Give me a second. Give me a second. Then you can go. I promise you, I'll give you the mic, and you can go, and I will make sure you're uninterrupted as far as I can. Right. So here's the deal, right? Like you keep like, and this is the frustrating part of this is like, well, yes, there is some exploitation, quote unquote, involved in pretty much any industry, but at least when it comes to casinos, they have it down in a way that is far different and far more predatory than, say, Walmart or, say,
I
a
agree.
normal streamer. Can we at least agree to that?
We've never disagreed on that.
Okay.
At least I have not disagreed on that
Go
one
ahead.
time.
Well,
Through this whole
technically,
thing.
your premise is
My-
that it's the
No, let
same,
him
so
go. Let him go.
No, my premise is that that OnlyFans models or any other business like this, these things that are more leisure sort of products, I suppose, or leisure sort of categories rather than necessity categories. I wouldn't say that OnlyFans is exactly the same as a grocery store. That'd be ridiculous. But what I'm saying is that OnlyFans is exactly the same as a casino, is exactly the same as a loot box, is exactly the same as video games, is exactly the same as a Twitch streamer. In all of these things where we are, it is a business
Not
that
a
is trying to
casino.
gather clients together to pay for something that they don't need, that they can have fun with, that they can enjoy. There are people who engage with it responsibly, and there are people who engage with it irresponsibly. My point is, just because there are people who engage with it irresponsibly does not mean that it needs to go away or needs to be, sort of stifled at the.
But the argument isn't it
I
needs to
can't-
be stifled
at the
only
detriment of the
because
people
there's
who
some
do.
people. Yeah, but that isn't an argument. Just
engage
But
with
even
these
then, well,
things
hold on. We
responsibly.
cannot. We need to break down the argument. I think your premise is
Yeah.
fundamentally flawed. That these
Mhm.
are the same thing. That a Twitch streamer is the same thing as an individual who's participating in OnlyFans. It's not. The presentation of someone on Twitch is different than the presentation than someone on OnlyFans. How they
Yeah,
market
the
it,
presentation
what they
is you're
say,
paying
the
to
actual
see a
relationship
girl
is
naked.
different. But no, it's deeper than that, though. Once again, like I keep on
It's not
trying
deep.
to.
It's not deep. Everyone
it
knows
is
who
50
goes on
very
bucks,
deep.
and I'll
OnlyFans.
take off
It's
my
When you
very
see a
deep.
girl with OnlyFans, what do you think?
Mhm.
You go to her page, you
Mhm.
pay for it, you
50
see her
bucks.
naked. Like,
Okay.
Mhm.
there
And
you
you
go.
talk to her. You don't. No. You
No,
talk to her.
that's
You
the
try to
premise of
foster her
OnlyFans isn't to
relationship
talk to
with
her.
her.
That's just a
That
perk.
is the premise. No, you're wrong.
So
The entire
how
function and premise
can you have
originally
a
was to
percentile?
engage with them. That was
Kirby,
the entire
Okay.
function
Kirby,
of
Okay.
do
the
you have
Okay.
beef
website.
with the
Okay.
prompt
Okay.
itself? If
Okay.
so,
I
you
know
wanna
we
talk
got
to Wick.
Cassie here. Cassie needs to get in. I wanna make sure she gets a chance. I know we're deep into the weeds here, but Cassie, thanks for
So
coming.
sorry I'm late, guys.
It's okay.
Thank you for
Uh,
having me.
Yeah. Well,
Appreciate it.
here you are. Jump on in. I want to give you the chance. OnlyFans. Is it
Awesome.
exploiting men?
Yeah, yes and no.
I think you might be connected to your
way.
headphone mic.
Okay, wait, hold
Oh.
on. Let me.
And
The mic is
also,
also
someone
just really
has
shitty.
paid
Give
me
me just a minute.
$50 in order to remove my shirt, and I will. So go ahead.
Let's go.
Oh,
In order to do what?
Yes.
He's gonna change his
Thank
shirt?
you,
Wick OnlyFans when?
W Donator.
this is
I'm
no
so
different, guys.
excited.
This is no different. This is no different. Someone's paying Wick. He's giving them attention, and he's doing what they want him to do. This is no
And
different,
he's
though,
taking
guys.
off
Yeah.
This is
clothes!
totally different.
Damn.
Totally different.
What
Not the same thing at all. Not the same thing at all.
For the
Can I
record,
pay you extra
this
to
would be a
message you
complete
privately?
context
Okay.
switch. I don't know if you're joking or if you're smart enough to know that,
Whoa.
but just in case you're not, this
Mhm.
we've now
Unfortunately, this is the
switched
mic I have.
context.
This is the Yeti. The Yeti has just been dropped. If you can see, there's a dent in it. I'm gonna sound a little bit robotic
it-
today.
it-
I'm
it's
sorry.
It's
fine.
all good. We
God
can
damn.
understand.
Yep.
I still
But,
think that your premise is foolish. Go ahead, Mike.
No,
So
finish.
I
Yeah.
think what Wick did is no more exploitative than OnlyFans. And it's like the context of it, right? Because like a YouTuber can make a thumbnail or characterize someone in a way that is exploitative in the same way an OnlyFans model could lead someone on, but if it's done in a very like transparent, like this is what you're getting kind of way, I don't see it as exploitative.
But this is the issue. We're pretending that they literally say, "Hey, I am an actor. This is a scene. When you speak to me and you message me, I'm not telling you anything about my real life. I'm not telling you about the hopes and dreams and aspirations I have. I'm not remembering stuff about you and fostering a relationship. I am just acting. I'm making all of this up." They don't do that. And you
I
know they
would
don't
say
do
that
that. Don't
completely
pretend
depends on the
that that's what
model
they
and
do.
the people interacting with them, because
Let's
I
be
absolutely have people who buy my content who are my friends. Some people, maybe I'll never get to know them, they'll never get to know me, but I do
maybe
have
so.
deep
When
conversations
you
with people
I
that
I would
interact
imagine
with on my website.
exactly. I would
So,
imagine so. So it's
and that
fundamentally
part isn't
different.
acting for
Hold
me.
on.
Like, it can
Thank
be.
you.
It can be for some
I
people.
appreciate that. Yes, thank you. I'm glad you confirmed that. It's not acting. You're actually having a relationship with these people, right? The
It
idea that
depends.
we
It
have
depends on the context, because if you're engaging in
Mhm.
role play or something like that, that's
well,
different.
well,
So
well,
I
of
would say
course that
all
is
of it's
different.
like contextual.
But here's the
Yeah.
thing, right? It's one thing for someone to come and pay for a service. It's another thing to pay to engage, and then you engage authentically with the person, right? That is assuming again that this
do you
isn't a
have to
marketing
pay to
team
message?
going on here.
Do
Yes,
you have to pay to message?
yes. If
That's
if
a
if,
fact?
No, you
if
don't.
there's like if
Depends
there's
on
a
the creator, for
$9.99
sure.
price tag to enter into the website, then yes, you must pay to message.
Some
I
people
don't.
have free accounts.
Well,
Yeah,
well, some
you
people
know.
have free accounts, and then they
Would
have
you
a
extend this
tip
to
where you
cam
have
models too?
to tip to literally send the message. So
No, that's not true. You
That's
don't
more
tip
literal
for
than
message.
that.
I don't
That's not
know.
how that
You
works.
totally
No.
said it.
Some
It's up to the
listen.
model,
It
to
may
the
not.
site.
That's not
Just
how that
like
works.
people
It
Your
may be
tip,
the case.
if you
It may
tip,
be
your
the
message
case.
will go to the top, but you don't
Mhm.
have to pay money to message.
No.
The-
There's
you know-
Also, if
also
you're
there's
following each other
also-
back, you don't have to pay.
I do. I do.
Hold on.
I feel
Hold
like the
on.
monetary exploitation is the
Yeah.
least of it, and I think me and Xerxes will probably agree on
So-
that. So we don't
but
even have to
here's the
spend a lot of
thing,
time talking about the dollar amount.
Speaking of though,
I think that
speaking
might
of
be the
monetary
case, but-
exploitation, just real
Mhm.
quick, I do have some super
Mhm.
chats that I want to read,
Okay.
and then I want to talk about
if you're
whether
genuine, it's exploitative, though. You can't be genuine. You have to act when you're responding to these chats.
I'm
That,
always
according to
acting,
him.
that's my
Not
rule.
true.
No, Julie
it's still
messages.
exploitation.
I said this story earlier. Julie messaged someone, I want soup. So like,
I fuck around on my OnlyFans. I troll a lot. I
We'll
don't
get
know.
to it.
I'm
We'll get to
not-
it. We'll get to it. Let me
Hold
get
on,
to
why?
these.
I might be an
Why?
outlier with the OnlyFans girls. I gotta be
$5 from Fancy Teeth to say this. Bro, how many OnlyFans relationships have you had? 0. Honestly, that's the first question we need to ask. Who here consumes OnlyFans content? Raise your hand if you consume OnlyFans content.
Oh.
1.
Well, you create it. Well, I guess maybe you consume your friends. That's fair.
consume your
Yeah,
friends is
I
crazy.
definitely
Yeah, like you
watched
can.
it before I made it.
No, they're not my friends. I just think they're pretty.
Consuming your friends is
Sure,
a different
it's art.
topic. $5 from DJ Nuts.
Consume.
Married couples get divorced over emotional cheating all the time. It's usually a precursor to physical cheating as well. They're both bad. True. $5
Yeah,
from
I
Blahika Blah.
But like with an AI,
I don't know. Like I would be offended.
I think I could put up with my my significant other.
I don't know.
cheating on
I'd be
AI.
offended if I found out that
Really?
I had a girlfriend or a wife.
Because
or
I would just think
significant
it's so
other,
stupid. So
and
like
they
I
were-
would think it's kind of funny.
and they
I would be like,
abandoned
How would that be a
me for
reflection of
an
you, though?
AI. That would be far more offensive than
Eh,
they abandoned
I
me
would have
from
to-
like
Yeah,
Christian
I
Slater.
wouldn't-
If they abandoned
wouldn't
me
be
for like fucking
offended.
Christian Slater, I could at least understand it. Like, okay, I get it, right?
My
But
thing
if
is if you cheat on me with an AI, I feel like you're so stupid. Why am I dating you? An AI?
So like I'm breaking up with you because you're stupid.
But this
not
is
'cause you
interesting.
cheated.
So you guys just completely disconnect any like reflection or any responsibility you have to your boyfriend. Like if he's cheating with an AI, you don't even think to yourself, "Well, flip. What did I not do, or what
Well, no,
did I do to lead
You
us
go to the
here?"
extent of cheating, that's on you. Goodbye.
No, see,
I'm
context
reading
listen.
your chat log and
Hold-
seeing how
hold
much
on,
of a
hold on,
dirty
hold
little
on.
loser
Can we
you
get back
are,
on topic,
Here's-
please?
well, let's get back to the
questions.
super chats
I
real
have questions
quick.
for Julie.
Yeah,
whatever
let's get
we're
to super chats real quick. $5 from Blahiki Blah.
The fuck?
He has questions for you.
Does it become
okay.
exploitation if they are using dating apps to just funnel matches their OnlyFans with comments like
Yeah,
"I only"?
It always is,
Yeah, I
right?
heard that's a big thing. So I was
Yeah, I think that's fair.
well,
I
listen,
think
listen,
that's
commenter.
exploitative. I don't think
No.
people should be using dating apps for marketing.
I don't
To
even
be
like when people
honest-
put their Instagram.
Well, we're
in
gonna
it.
get to Cersei. Hold on, let me
It
get through
is
these
Yeah.
things.
something.
Let me get through these super chats.
Because
please,
no
please,
one here
please.
has actually disagreed with anything I've said then. Because I laid out from go, my first premise is they need to
Disagree with
convince me it's
everything.
not. And they just accept that it is. So that's
big
as
disagreeer.
No,
such.
I said
And-
context
I need to shave my
matters.
head,
It
but
is
anyway.
and it isn't. It depends
Well,
on
to
how
be fair, you
someone's
weren't
doing it.
here. Yeah, to
Okay.
be fair, you weren't
$5
here.
from DJ Nuts to say casinos are at a macro level less exploitative than porn and OnlyFans, and that's a
Ow.
claim. I don't know if I agree with
No,
that.
No, that's
Well, listen,
I think
if I
it's more
steal less
exploitative.
money, hold on. If I steal
Casinos are
less
not as
money,
bad
did
as
I
what they
not
said?
steal money? Think, commenter. I stole $20. Is
If
that no
anything,
longer
a
theft?
casino
I
is
think
more
someone stole
exploitative.
$500.
Yeah, that's, I think it's way more because at least you're getting something out of paying
Okay,
for porn.
so
like,
more is not a
you're
counter
not.
argument. More
Well,
is
even
not a
not even
counter
that.
argument.
Well, they have to do
You
the
can-
relative. They have to do the relative because they can't defend
You can
it
talk
fully.
to an
That would be the
OnlyFans
case,
model
They're
exactly.
playing,
without
playing
paying.
games with value
They are.
judgments.
And
But
that's
we'll-
exactly
We're gonna
correct,
get
right?
to it. We're
Because
gonna get to it. We got more. We got
Mhm.
more. We got more. We got more. I promise. We'll
more?
get there. We'll get there.
Goddamn.
I know. We make some money
Kirby,
tonight.
get your bangs on. I'm alone.
Goodness. Ow.
I think they're in my
$5.
bathroom. You want me to grab them?
$5 from Fancy Teeth. A
Wait,
casino
I'll listen.
is less exploitative than Walmart. They tell you the win rates. It's more explicit than if you're getting ripped off shopping for groceries. Okay, Fancy Teeth, thank you for the $5,
you can
but
get for
that is
that.
the most retarded thing I've heard all night.
I gotta
That
tell you.
Walmart
There's
is
price
less
comparison apps for sure.
exploitative, or a casino is less exploitative than Walmart. That Walmart exploits people more than a casino does. That's wild. That's wild.
No, he's burning the toast. He's not cooking.
$5 from Dandelion Mead. If y'all on the stream could stop interrupting and talking over each other, I'd appreciate it. I'm trying to listen to everyone. Well, we'll see. $5 from DJ Nuts. If your significant other cheats on you with an AI bot, it's either that you're a bad partner or your tastes are awful. Thank you for $5. Okay, with that, before anyone
agree.
jumps in, I want to talk about like exploitation, what that means, right? And what that actually looks like when it comes to OnlyFans. Now, I think we all just agreed that going on a site like a
Tinder.
creator going on a site like Tinder, going on a site like Hinge, or any of these other
Can I give an operative definition, Wick, for exploitation? And if you like it, you can carry with it.
by all means.
Because so I think one thing we get tripped up on is the buyer-seller relationship, right? That is not inherently exploiting, right? Exploit has a particular like connotation to it. Usually when we use it, we mean a particular thing, right? Now, I think with price gouging, with identifying a need, and knowing that this person cannot do anything but buy your product, so you increase it, right? You increase the price to a point where you can kind of, and obviously this is relative, but you can kind of say this is unreasonable. Like, let's say you had like water and you were selling one bottle of water for $500 because you knew that everybody needed water, right? At that point, and you could probably lower it too, but at that point we'd all be like, that is exploitation. You're exploiting people, right? But if you were only selling them for 50 cents, and I said, you're exploiting me, you'd probably be like, what? How am I exploiting you? This is a fair price, right? So it's not just the buy-sell relationship. So I think that we can say that for the price thing, right? But then we also realize that if there's also the need itself that could be being exploited, and that need, it might have a particular quality to it compared to another one. So for example, thirst is pretty significant on your hierarchy of needs in terms of needing to be satisfied. A PlayStation 5 is not, right? So even if I tried to sell you a PlayStation 5 for $5,000, or not for money, but I told you, I don't know, give me a kiss for it, right? Any kind of whatever would be unfair, right? It's still a PlayStation 5 I'm trying to sell you. You don't need that. You want it, right? But water you need. Men, women, humans need companionship. They need closeness. They need intimacy, right? They do not need porn, right? So I'm not defending porn as a necessity. I'm just saying any man that is going out looking for a proxy for those more innate needs, right, is doing something similar to trying to satisfy a thirst or a hunger.
May I say one
Julie,
thing real fast?
Julie, go ahead.
You said like companionship and intimacy and some other word or whatever. All of those things you can get from family and friends.
You need to say something.
You don't
I'm
need
sorry to
to
cut
go
you
be
off.
sexual with a stranger online to get those things.
Exactly.
Like,
That's why I need to say something. I'm sorry to cut you off. That's why I need to say something. Because if we were to create a definition, let's see if we can challenge this. To exploit is to take advantage of a weakness or deficit someone has. Would that be a fair definition that we could all agree on? Would you agree to that, Julie? Would you agree that that's
Yes.
how what an exploit is?
Yes.
I think yes and no.
Take
And the
advantage
reason
of?
why is because I think that this
Well, that's
sort
more
of
for Julie because Julie had a great. I wanted to frame it so when Julie responds, that
Wait,
like
take
she,
advantage is
I
like
don't
answer
agree
to
with
that
your
definition.
framing until I know where you're
Okay.
going. Tell me where you're going.
So
before I
essentially,
agree.
what I'm saying is that, like, if we use the definition, to exploit is to take advantage of a weakness or deficit, right? If you know that the individual
again
has
is
a
the
deficit
literal
or,
definition.
mhm.
I'm disagreeing.
Well,
It's like no, it's
we could
actually the
probably- we
literal
would-
definition.
yeah. So, well,
I
exactly.
just looked up the
because-
literal definition. That is
Yeah.
the definition.
Well, I guess that just means I'm smart. But so if we understand that that's what it means to exploit, then the question would then be, Julie, how would you think that that's not exploiting a man if he, let's say, he doesn't have his friends or family, or he doesn't have those avenues? How would that not be exploiting
No,
that deficit then?
I think OnlyFans is exploitive in some way, and so is the girlfriend experience. I just don't think it's as bad as you're making it out to be. I just don't think it's something
Can
that we
I
should.
comment on this?
Go ahead, please.
As far as like people not having those things around them, I would say
Your mic's cutting out.
Your mic is bonkers.
is it better now?
Yes.
Okay, cool. I would say that them not having that around them, that unfortunately, like streamers, OnlyFans creators, kind of supplements that in a way, and it doesn't inherently make that predatory or exploitative, but it can actually be, I don't know, like some kind of like practice for some people. It like varies situation to situation, and as long as like the context is empowering, I think it can actually be a benefit for some situations. And in my example, I've been doing the type of work for about 9 years. I've had several people who have like been with me, and then they'll be like, "Oh, I got a girlfriend. Like, look at me and my girlfriend getting married." And like, I still have friendships with those people. So I
And
think
you
it
would
really
say it's
depends on
because
the
they
context
talk
as
to
well.
you? Would you say
I
you're
wouldn't-
like you're?
I wouldn't know that for a fact or anything like that, but I would say that the reflections I've gotten from people and how I bring them some sort of like comfort when things are hard or they really don't have anybody, from their anecdote, from their words, it can be helpful.
So would you say that you do OnlyFans for their sake or for your sake? That you're
I'd
here
say it's
because
a
you want to do
mix.
good for them rather than
Nah,
you want money from
Okay,
them.
this is where I'm jumping ship. You can't say you're
Yeah.
doing it for their sake.
It's
You
all for
can't.
me, baby.
I'm
It's
so
all for me.
sorry.
So,
You
so that's what I'm saying, right? So if it's not for their sake, then again, I'm telling you, you guys aren't counter arguing.
Stand by what I
No,
said.
if
would
I
say
have
it's
a
mix
business,
of
if I'm
both.
Okay,
selling
but this
Are you
is
saying
that's
it's a
like
mix?
so
artwork,
stupid though.
if I'm selling
Like I'm
artwork,
not
Is it?
working
I'm
for
doing it
Walmart
my
for
sake.
Walmart's sake. I'm working for Walmart for
Mhm.
my sake.
Yes.
Mhm.
That's stupid.
So
Yes.
so again, in
I mean, not
regards
always.
to
It depends on if you like the company you work for, I guess.
there's
For
also
me,
it could
it's
be a
not
mom and pop
exactly the
shop.
company, but it's the
Companies.
Yeah,
ability to
if you
connect
think
with
about
All
a
for
mom
me
and
at the
pop
end of the
shop,
day.
Even the
You
nicest
guys, okay?
company,
So
I'm still
this
doing
how
it for me.
let's
people
say
keep
it's a
saying
family
this.
business,
Stop,
though.
stop.
So it's
Cersei,
not
please,
necessarily the
Cersei,
case,
please,
but when
please,
it comes
please,
to
please, calm
OnlyFans,
down, Cersei, calm down, because I
uh,
do want to touch on something, right, that I don't want to
mhm.
escape from, that Cassie said, that I keep hearing throughout this conversation, right? I think often Topical said it. I'm not sure if Kirby said it or not. I've heard it a few times. Streamers and OnlyFans are being conflated, right? OnlyFans
Mhm.
creators, to be clear. And I think that there is a fundamental difference between an OnlyFans creator who is engaging in sexuality with their audience and with the people around them versus a streamer. I think
A
there's a
streamer. So
fundamental difference.
I'll
There's
tell
a
you why I
reason,
disagree with
if I
that.
may finish, there's a reason that Twitch is cutting off certain levels of sexuality, right? And they prevent it from happening, right? But
Keep it
OnlyFans
Blake, you got
just
your nips
obviously
out.
Hmm?
Blake, you got your nips out. Why can't I
do.
have my nips out?
You
Can
can't
I-
see
Well,
my
can
that's
I-
an
nips. They're
inherent
not on
sexual
screen.
fetish.
I do want to
shoot?
say, as someone who streams and does OnlyFans, I have never experienced the harassment and stalking and parasocial bullshit on OnlyFans that I've dealt with from streaming. I have had people make multiple accounts a day on Twitch for months to tell me that they're gonna kill me and my sisters. Never happened on OnlyFans.
You think that's unrelated? You think there's not crossover between
No,
those two?
because when this was happening, I didn't advertise. In fact, I still don't even advertise my OnlyFans on my Twitch. I just hang out and like just do chatting and stuff. I'm not there with like my tits out, like being like sexual.
No, I
stuff.
didn't. I
really
didn't say
just,
that.
like,
I didn't say
doing
that you were. But the people that are in the chat, they have no idea what else that you
They
do.
probably have some idea, but like when I'm getting these harassments, they're not saying like because you have an OnlyFans, I want to kill you. They're saying like
Why would they
because
say
you're
that?
not because that's literally they said they were gonna kill me. I got death threats daily for months because I banned someone. I've had people that I've banned go into my friends' chats and beg me and beg my moderators and beg other people in my stream to get me unbanned to the point where they've donated to my Streamlabs so it'll show up on stream months after the fact to try to get my attention. I've never had anything like that happen on my OnlyFans. The harassment I've received from streaming has been a million times worse.
This
million.
might sound.
I don't
Hold on.
think you could
If
operate
I may,
as a
Julie,
litmus
if I
test
may,
for
if I
this,
may,
though.
if I may,
with that
please,
statement.
please, Julie, you understand, like, well, to be clear, I don't know how popular on OnlyFans, maybe not, but I would imagine that the low barrier of entry, meaning no barrier of entry for streaming, means that you have a lot more of an audience that comes in, whereas OnlyFans has tools that you can curate it a little better, and also has barriers of entry that protect you in a way. But that's not what we're really here to argue, right? Whether or not it's safer for you on OnlyFans versus Twitch.
I would argue those barriers of entry for OnlyFans or whatever would bring in those people that are more parasocial like that. Like they're the ones that are willing to pay that, so they're going to go to the OnlyFans. But why am I not getting harassed on OnlyFans the same way I am on Twitch?
Because they want your affection. That's why. The deficit is they want affection from Julie, so they're paying money to get to Julie, so they can
But
have
it's the
that
same on
interaction.
Twitch. I literally
Well,
one of my
it's
top
not.
donators for months was the
Mhm.
one that was stalking me.
Well, the donator. Excuse me. The donator is still paying money. He's just not a subscriber, right? But he still wants the same thing. In fact, he absolutely wants. If anything, yes, he is definitely.
Can we not spend a whole bunch of time talking about obviously unhinged, severely mentally ill?
No, but there's a point to this. No, of course,
those will
this
exist,
is.
but I don't think that needs to be.
Yeah, just like these guys who
But
think that they have a chance with the OnlyFans
It
girls.
reinforces
Hold on,
the point.
no,
I
open
actually think
topic.
Julie.
That's
not a
Julie
strong
reinforced
point.
the point here. Actually, I think, and that is that like this dude here, right? He might be unhinged and he might be goofy, but he is still paying money to get attention from you. You didn't actually really like describe a difference there. Like you're still
No,
in OnlyFans, you're
the
still
one guy
selling
did, but other
some
people that I've had
sexuality.
stalk
Well,
me.
let me
Like,
just
I've
ask-
just banned people and they've stalked me for months after. Kirby's even had that where she's banned people and they've stalked her after.
That's a Twitch
Or like not
thing,
even
yeah.
like they haven't even given her money. They
But-
just
but here's-
went
I do
crazy.
want to hear. So,
So here's
Xerxes, I understand you got a lot to say, but we got a lot of people here. I want to get a lot of people able to see. Kirby had her hand up. I want to give it to Kirby. I want to see what Kirby had to say. She's trying to get in here, so I want to give it to her. Yeah.
Just because we talk about the girlfriend experience and they don't want to compare OnlyFans to Twitch, but I think you get, honestly, truthfully, I think you get the girlfriend experience more going to like, or girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever you want to say, experience more on Twitch because you get the personality, you get the interaction, you get it over and over and over again. You get it instantly in that moment. Versus OnlyFans, it might take a week for the response. Sure, maybe let's pretend that they're the ones running the account. You're
On
gonna get a
Twitch,
week
you're like
later.
live chatting them. You feel
You're
more
live
connected. You
chatting
feel like
on
you
Twitch.
actually know them.
So
The
that's
parasociality
where-
on Twitch is way worse.
That's where I think it's like the obsessive behavior comes from, where it's like you don't expect the instant response on OnlyFans. So like I do think that is like a huge difference, and I think that's kind of contributes to like taking advantage versus I think these men know that it's not necessarily you're going to respond instantly. And if
But
you
it
think
still depends on the context of the okay.
what is the
'cause all-
context that you're looking for?
Yeah, I'll be happy to explain it. So all these things have their own details. So if I'm streaming gaming, for example, let's say I'm streaming Call of Duty Warzone, right? And people are chatting and they're talking about the game. That is not the same thing as me doing a just chatting stream where I am doing my best to look as cute and dolled up as possible with a fan base that I know, because I've curated it, I know is mostly full of single, lonely young men, some of them underage, but we're not going to talk about that,
So-
who are hoping,
Wrong.
who are hoping.
What was that?
Who are
Let
hoping-
Cohort, let him
pisses me
finish.
off.
Cohort,
Okay,
let Cohort
I'm-
finish. He didn't get a chance to finish, and y'all went.
I
for
didn't
his
get a
throat.
chance to
I'm
finish.
already
That was an insane point that he tried.
Get angry now,
You
get
are
angry
not
later.
allowed-
Am I not allowed to
We
be
can-
attracted,
we can-
or am I
we
screaming
can-
men?
give it a-
What is
give it a
that?
moment.
We can fight
What
it.
is that?
Give it
We
a
can
moment.
fight it
Give
all
it a
out.
moment.
That is
We can
insane.
fight it all
Hold on,
out. I got
Julie.
hands for days. Don't worry, I'm
If
here.
you got
So,
cute for a bunch of men, I'd think that was
so-
a lit stream, dude. Honestly.
so,
Live your
so,
best.
so again, remember, you can stay with me here. I'm painting context. So we have me on the left streaming a game, right? And then we have on the right, I am going out of my way to create what can only be described as a parasocial relationship that is as close as I can get to. So at best, you would say it's this sort of casual, sort of you're hanging out with me relationship. But what I'm really gearing towards, because this is where the big money comes from, this is where the whales put their money in, is them feeling like they're either kind of dating me or maybe they kind of have a chance because I date nerds and I date chatters and I'm single, right? Which is very common. So like them pretending to be single, that is, not them actually being single. So remember, when we're putting context on these things, you actually don't get to, and I know it's so much easier for you guys to argue this way, but I'm not gonna let you. You don't get to just be like, everything is the same. Every streamer is the same. They're all doing the same thing. There's no differences. There's absolutely a difference. At the beginning of Twitch's inception, and some other streaming services as well, it was mostly gaming. The context mattered. If you chatted and you were like, hey, like who do you have any siblings, or like where do you live, or like it'd be like, what are you doing, why are you asking me that kind of stuff, what's going on, right? We're far beyond that, to where the streamers that are making money from parasocial relationships, they want you involved in their lives, or at least to whatever manufactured extent they can manage, so that you feel that you are a part of their lives. That is not what every streamer is doing, though. Okay, so that's what I'm saying when I say context.
You keep talking about fundamentally wrong. You are fundamentally wrong. You see the beginning of Twitch, you see these gaming streamers, the way they grow their community is they talk about their personal lives. They tell personal stories. The way to keep them engaged is you're telling stories about your life that they can relate to. You're asking about their lives. If you're like a 1-2 viewer person, you're going to keep engaging with them because you want them to stick around. So no matter what, it's going to be a back and forth. So this is like a crazy argument that you're like, if you're playing games, you're not engaging. That's just not true. Like,
But there's
Nobody
there's
grows a
difference
huge
between-
stream from not
you
engaging
completely
with
ignore
the
the
chat.
manipulation and sexual element.
Exactly,
no
because
sexual
there's
element.
difference. No, but hold
Yeah,
on,
you-
it is
Tossed it.
implicit, and I think here's the thing. I do think it's a bit disingenuous as a young lady to not recognize the implicit reality that being an attractive person does imply that there is some degree of sexuality and desire coming from the people that are interacting with. It does exist, right?
About
And
it,
I think,
chat.
like to my
Is
friend
there a
Cohort's point, there
fundamental
is a
sexual
banking
desire
on in the
at play here?
utilization of that. Like for example, this is a little old school, but ST Peach used to be in super short shorts. She'd stand up, she'd walk around, she'd show her butt off. It was to me at the time
the
very
woman who's leaking
clearly
that?
she's trying to gain or garner or use some sexual the sexual desire of her audience in order to bolster herself up consistently. She still played games, but she included and used her sexuality in order to continue to get her
Yeah,
audience
but
to
you're
grow.
using
That is
examples, but
there,
there's
right?
also
So
the polar opposite examples. There was
exactly,
that one
and so,
streamer named
but
Gamer
that's what
Girl.
but that would
No
be the
camera,
difference.
nope, none
That's
of that.
why
But
we're
to
saying
bring
that
it
there's a
back from
difference there.
streaming to OnlyFans, because that's the argument today, isn't so
Yeah.
much about streaming in general, but OnlyFans, even though we can use examples of streaming to kind of compare and contrast. I
Well, some
understand
people
this
use
thing.
streaming to funnel
I
them
get-
to
I get you, I
OnlyFans,
get you, I get
which
you.
is kind of
But
rational,
to bring it
actually, because
back-
that's what the platform's for.
but
Can we
bring it-
stop pretending? Sorry, wait, but can we stop pretending that the platform of OnlyFans is not to curate people who are fans to directly communicate with you? It's it's not simply just pornography.
in a
That's
sexual
the
manner.
purpose
I
of
have a
its
question.
entire existence.
And the key here is in a sexual manner. I want to hear what Catnip has to say. Go ahead, Cassie.
Yeah, so I am asking the people who are Cohort and Xerxes, would you guys say that like if a celebrity were to do a photo shoot or an interview revealing personal information about themselves, would that be exploitative in the same way, especially if it was like a sexual kind of photo shoot to promote an album or a movie?
Yes,
Is that
yes.
exploitative in the
They
same way as
they're
the
they're
OnlyFans
often
model?
told by their PR, their management. Sometimes they are told to go out of their way so that they can. So they would like to use the word humanize, which to an extent there's a time and place for that. So I'm not saying it's always like the worst thing, right? I think you need detail sometimes to be able to fully give a value judgment. But the goal with some of those things is sometimes to make the fans or the audience
But-
feel as if they are a part.
But on your definition of the word exploitative, you said that there would have to be like a lack of something, say like human intimacy, something like that. As far as like
Mhm.
celebrity photo shoots and interviews, there's an abundance of that, and it's a very different thing than getting to know a person. But honestly, getting to know somebody, that's a lot of things that people talk about. Oh, like what kind
Yeah,
of
I wouldn't agree.
celebrities do you
I wouldn't
like? What
agree
kind of
that an
movies do you
interview.
like, and things
Yeah,
like that.
I wouldn't
not
agree that a
just-
simple interview would be exploitation. Right?
Yeah,
Like,
no,
that's
no,
why
the
I'm
interview,
framing
yeah.
OnlyFans specifically, right? So,
Yeah.
like for example, let's say I don't know, Megan Fox. Sorry, first name on top of my head. Let's say she did an interview with GQ, right? And she might talk about her dogs, and she talks about how sometimes she likes to go roll around in the mud, and she gets dirty and stuff like that. Like just like I'm just one of you guys. I'm the same. I'm similar. Creating a relatability, right, does increase a fan's desire to want to continue to support someone. For example, Donald Glover to me is very relatable, right? Is he exploiting me when he does a comedy show? I don't think so. I want to see him keep doing comedy shows, right? So I want to give him money to, prop up his art. But let's say I have a deficit, right? Now this is different, and this is incredibly different. If I have a deficit where I want intimacy with some lady I think is cute, let's just use Julie since she's here, and I go to her OnlyFans so I can talk to Julie, right? How is she not exploiting me? She knows what I want. I want intimacy. I want to talk to her. I want to, I want to see her naked. I want to talk and have some type of relationship with her. Where
But
is the
that
lack of
just because you
exploitation?
want it with her? Because you could go out to like a place to dance, like an ecstatic dance, like a retreat, something
Well, it'd be
to
the
meet
same.
people in the flesh and have that intimacy, right?
Mhm.
But you're choosing Julie because you want to see
Mhm.
Julie because that's a creator that you admire for looks or personality or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm. And so we would have to pretend that again, that like Julie doesn't understand being attractive gets men like that to come to her.
Can
though.
I ask?
Like,
'cause there's a
would you say that
few-
you don't understand
There's
that
lots
reality,
of attractive
Julie?
people out there, though, especially if you go out in real life to like an ecstatic dance or a retreat or
Mhm.
something.
Do you
But they
think that's
know.
but do you
They
think that's
know.
what
That-
do you
it
think
was
that's what's
the
happening
same.
with these men? So okay, because I think Joe, I'm glad you paid attention to my definition. I don't know if everybody else did, but you did. I appreciate that. The bit there about
Backhanded way of
identifying.
speaking. What can you just like
identifying-
say a sentence
it's-
without being like,
It's just
"Oh,
to get a
you're
rise out of
Every
you.
2 seconds, it's a
dumb."
fucking
It's just to
snipe.
get a rise
You
out of
may
you.
be dumb, but like, let me explain this for you.
It's
No,
just,
I
it's
ain't
just,
one
it's just
like
to get
that.
a. I definitely didn't mean it. How would I be calling her dumb? I said I'm glad you
No,
paid
then
I
attention.
don't know
He'd be
if
implying everyone else.
understood a very
Yeah, he was-
simple
Yeah.
explanation.
No,
Okay,
no,
okay, enough,
I didn't say I understand.
enough. We're missing a
I
point.
should
We're
have
missing a point.
pretended
We're
that
missing.
we're not
Oh my god,
sniping
my
every
god,
2
ladies,
seconds.
gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen. Here's a question I have, right? And so because I think this is going to get to the heart of the matter. We keep dancing around it and getting distracted, and we're not addressing the issue at hand. So maybe I'll try here. Who here is comfortable admitting that they have they're an OnlyFans creator? Raise your hand if you have an OnlyFans or have had an OnlyFans in the past and engaged with that. Then let me ask you both, Julie and Cassie. Is there ever a point in time where a man would offer you money and you would say, hey, buddy, we're going to cut you off? Like at a bar, for example. If a bar sees a patron who is like super drunk, a lot of bars will say, you know, that's it. We're cutting you off. You're not having any. The problem I'm seeing is that
I do
most
that
of the
often.
I'll let you answer in a second, right? But let me finish, right? But the problem I'm seeing is, while I'm sure Julie might be someone who, and Cassie, I'm sure you both have these ethical like limits. A lot of OnlyFans creators don't. They will milk the man for every
I
single
would love to
cent.
speak on this.
Go ahead.
Can I?
Yes.
So absolutely agree with what you just said at the end. There are creators, and I've seen certain documents that some management companies and some models use as a point of reference, and this is how many very top models do their thing, which I think is exploitative and wrong, and that's why I don't operate my business in that way. They will say, like, use this method, like, to guilt trip. They'll call people whales. They'll say, like, how to cut a whale off or whatever, and they will, like, in plain writing, say that they are exploiting people. I do not condone that. I have had people where it's like they'll say, like, oh, I really want to save up for this thing. I'll be like, okay, stop tipping me and save up for that thing that you want, because, like, I'm
Yeah.
also, sometimes people approach me and they're like, hey, could you actually, like, low-key dom me into, like, being smarter with my money? And if that's an experience someone wants, like, who am I to say that that's bad? Like, I think that's where it's, like, more empowered, where
I don't
people
do like
aren't
pay pick stuff
objectifying
where
each other
people
like
want you
that.
to like bully them into getting their money. I don't do that shit. I feel like that shit is weird as hell. I refuse to
Yeah, I
do
feel
that.
uncomfortable by most of that
Well,
shit.
well, is it
I
because
had
it's
a pay
weird,
peg
or
once who, like, he started
No,
being
it's
really
weird.
abusive and weird,
I
and
have a
then he
question.
wanted his money back, and it's really hard to
I have a
navigate that
question.
and find an empowering dynamic with that.
Yeah,
Which is
Xerxes, I know you have a
great.
question, but off and topical needs to get in. We're gonna give it to
Okay.
off and topical.
I just wanna and we don't have to debate this a whole lot, but I do want to point this out that I think that your comparison that you made a second ago is not very apt or very accurate when you said that will OnlyFans creators cut people off when they're going too far the same way that a bar will. I just want to point out that bars are not cutting you off out of the goodness of their heart or because they want to make sure that they're not taking advantage of you. Bars are cutting you off for legal liability reasons.
Yeah, that's true.
That's great point.
Two things can
Shouldn't
happen at the
there
same
be
time.
a legal regulatory body, perhaps?
Nope.
Who's
that
gonna enforce that?
two things can be
they
true
do
at the
it
same
for
time. though.
That's
bars?
a tricky situation.
They do it for bars. I don't,
Eh.
just because it might be hard and logistics might
Mhm.
be a little something beyond the scope of what I'm able to elucidate today to you on a stream with 6 people, doesn't mean that I don't think that it isn't possible, right? I
I'm
think
glad
that
you
we
asked
can.
that.
Let me cut in.
If I
I don't
Let
think
me
that
cut in
should-
and ask a question, because I think this is pretty interesting, right?
Go ahead.
So Catnip and Julie, you guys say that the reason why you wouldn't drain someone is because you think it's weird. What's the actual moral disagreement with draining someone's account? You just seem like you just don't
It's
like
just
it 'cause it's
weird.
icky,
If
but
they're not empowered by it, I don't want to engage. And it's the same
Well,
reason if
I just
somebody
don't.
comes to me
I'm a
and
big
they're in a
kink shamer.
relationship.
Weird kink.
Mhm. So you don't
If
really
someone
have like
comes
a
to me also,
okay.
if they're in a relationship, I will tell them, like, is your partner consenting to this? If they're not, I don't engage.
Mhm. So
Some couples will
Mhm.
actually come to me though, and I think that's cool. Like, if a couple is, like, into that kind of thing, like, I don't know, that's like very flattering to me. Like, I'm very pro only doing things with people who, yeah, are not cheating. I don't engage in, like, cheating or anything like that. To my knowledge, if someone
but
buys my content and they're doing something they're not supposed to, I don't know about that.
but what I'm trying to figure out is what is the actual moral principle of not draining someone's account? It just seems like
Not wanting to
you guys think
exploit
it's
them
weird.
for me.
It's
It
they
gets weird.
9 times out of 10 if they're a pay pig or whatever, it's like some weird kink. I don't do kinks. I don't fuck with that.
Can we talk about
But I
the
don't do
1 out of
sexting
10?
or anything like that.
Can we talk about
Huh?
the 1 out of 10? The 1 out of 10. You said 9 times out of 10 it's a kink. So like, what about the 1 out of 10?
I
Is
still
there
won't even, because I'm gonna assume it's a kink. Because why are you coming at me like that?
No, I'm saying like. Okay.
So
You know for a fact.
why
You
do
know
you
for a
have
fact.
an
To
OnlyFans?
admit
Wait,
to me
wait, hold
that
on,
An
hold on.
OnlyFans?
people
Wait,
use
Julie.
me as an addiction
I
as well
just
sometimes.
Huh?
One second, Julie. Before you answer that, before you pivot, I just want to understand. 1 out of 10, right? The guy is not. It's not a kink, and you know for a fact it's not a kink. Enter into my hypothetical.
Mhm.
What, if any, reservations do you have with draining his account? Okay, like he lets you know
Bro.
he's down to his last dollars, but he values your product so much that he's giving it to you, right? He wants you to have you because he wants more of the product too. So like, what's the?
I don't need all of his money. There's no reason for me to take all of his money. He still needs groceries and shit. Like fuck me, dude. Go get your groceries.
So, but you don't have like a moral principle or any framework that you judge this is. It's just how you feel.
But to be fair, like if she said no, he's gonna go to another girl to.
He can
Go
just go
get
to
it.
somewhere else.
Would you just do the drug
Perhaps,
dealer
but anyway.
defense?
Anyway, you know.
Yeah, exactly. It's the drug dealer. What do you mean? Yeah.
But this is what's kind of peculiar to me
It's
because
porn.
He's gonna buy it from
Hold on.
somebody else is crazy.
Yeah, if he's gonna ruin his life, might as well ruin it on
Might
me.
as well be.
No,
Let's table that.
I just don't feel comfortable. I just don't feel comfortable. I don't want to take all of someone's money. I'm just not comfortable with that.
What
It's just
the hell?
not.
Mhm.
I guess
It's
my
just not for
argument
me.
here.
I'll say
hold
in
on.
that
Okay.
one,
If
Probably
something-
some moral
Same
reason
thing in
behind
your
it, but
chat,
I
you would
just
do
am
that.
not comfortable.
Same.
Mhm.
Okay,
so I can say,
go ahead, finish, and then I'll jump in.
oh, I'll just say that there could be people who are uncomfortable with it, and that is obviously any creator's right to engage in content that they are comfortable with, or not engage in content that they're uncomfortable with. But to say that it's like immoral to do it, I don't agree, because at the end of the day, this comes back to, again, the kind of infantilization of adults. These are adults. They're
Why do we have a
Often
legal
topical.
fully
system?
Let me ask you a
cognizant
question. Let me
human
ask you a
beings who are
question.
capable of making their own decisions.
What's a legal
And-
system?
Hold on. Stop. I want to ask often topical question. Really. So if you had a chatter, you knew this chatter was broke. He'd lost his job. He doesn't have a lot. His wife and kids have left him, or they need money and stuff. And he's like, you know what? I just don't like my wife and kids that much, but I like your content, so here's $1,000. You would take that
Oh.
$1,000?
I would feel bad for his family.
But you
But
take
at
the
the end of the day-
$1,000?
You're a grown-up. You're an adult. And you are capable of making these decisions for yourself. It is not my responsibility to babysit your finances.
Do you think you have a responsibility to tell people when they're about to harm themselves? No.
Yeah. Other people don't matter though.
So, for
it's okay,
example,
right?
if I had a chatter who I knew was drunk, okay, it was clear as I was talking and as they were going, they were drunk.
Hold up, I'm getting a phone call I got to take. Sorry.
Okay, well, this is
And I can't stand people like that. Like this idea that like other people don't matter, other people
Do you give
can't
to
be
homeless
ignorant,
every time
and
you
you
pass
gotta
them?
help them. Sometimes, not every time. And
Yeah,
you want to know something?
interesting.
Sometimes I don't. I will tell you why. Sometimes I don't give to homeless people. It's because I
Wait,
know some will engage.
Just hold on. Wait, she just did a thing. It's a sleight of hand.
Mhm.
One, those are not the same thing. You did not say the reason I don't give money to homeless people is because they're a grown adult and they can pull themselves up by their bootstraps
Yeah.
and sort their finances out. That's not what you said. If you had said that, it'd be the same as what Often said. Okay,
Yeah, it isn't.
You have the same.
What I'm
energy.
saying is that other people matter, and you can only do as much as you
Other
can.
people matter, but
right?
not everyone matters. Okay?
yeah. I think
Everyone
you have a
does
duty,
matter,
if
but you can
know
only
someone
do
is-
as much as you
Yeah.
can, right? So let's be reasonable. If there's a building on fire, right, you're not supposed to run in there. You don't have the proper equipment. You don't have the training. You may not even have the physical strength to do that. So you don't do it. But if you know someone is drinking way too much, you can take their cup and say, "Nah, bro, it's good. You're good to go. We can't do that."
If they try
The
to get in
idea
their car,
that a
you take their
bar might
keys,
only,
right?
yeah, exactly.
You don't let them drive.
The idea, thank you, right? The idea, right, that like a bar only does this because they just don't want legal litigation and whatnot is ridiculous. You can care about other people and even the individuals that might be affected by the drunk driver, right? These aren't mutually exclusive ideas. You know? So I
No,
reject
now
that
I'm
inherently. That's
upset.
ridiculous.
Okay, now I'm upset,
That
and I
is
wish Often Topical
ridiculous.
would get back because I have some questions. Okay, right? The idea that it's okay to no, they're adults.
I'm
It's
back.
perfectly okay where they just
I'm
give
back.
me Often Topical. Really?
I hope you heard that because this is
Hold on.
goofy.
Let
This
me
is goofy talk.
finish. Let me finish.
Okay.
Let me finish. Let
Mhm.
me address it, please.
Mhm.
Often Topical. The idea, right, that
Mhm.
if someone you know is being irresponsible with their money and trying to give you money when you know that they are going to have long-term consequences because of this, I think you do have a duty to tell them no. So even if they may go to someone else, fair, but you don't have to be involved in it.
What I'm saying is, so for me personally, I'd probably, if I'm being completely honest, feel weird about it. I wouldn't be happy about it. I wouldn't be like, sick.
But you'd take
this
the
dude
money.
Would you let me finish? I wouldn't go, sick. This dude is ruining his life and I'm making bank off of it. That fucking rocks. No, that's not what I would do. But also, I don't think that it's my responsibility to make sure that other people are living within their means. I think if you have a close friend, you can talk to them. And I think that if you get a donation from someone and you know that they're not good for it, you can tell them, hey, man, I don't think you should do this. That's totally fine. But I don't think you have like an obligation to refund them the money or anything like that. I don't think that that is your obligation. I think that you can, decide for yourself whether or not you want to tell that person. And I would too. I would say, hey, I don't think this is a good idea. I don't think you can bankroll this. I think you're going to be in trouble if you do this. But it's not my responsibility to then go when he comes back to me 3 days later and goes, hey.
Often, do you believe in social responsibility
well,
when it comes to companies?
when it comes to
I just want to box with you real quick. We're going to be super quick, then everybody else can take it. Do you believe in social responsibility at all?
It depends on what you are talking about specifically. When we're talking about when we're talking about things like, for instance, pollution, something that affects every single person, whether or not they choose to engage with the company or not, I would say that, yeah, those companies have a responsibility there because you are affecting people who are not making decisions in that whatsoever. But if we're talking about things like, for instance, casino, I don't think that they have a social responsibility. No.
Why would a casino not? First off, let's take a step back. Why would every company? So you recognize that companies exist within a social stratus, right? Like it's not a separate. There's a giant machine. Companies are in the machine. Society's in the machine, right?
Mm-hmm.
You recognize there's
Someone
there's
give me
connective
$50
tissue
to
here.
put my
So why
shirt
would
back
every
on?
company
I'm
not
getting
have to
cold.
observe some manner of social responsibility? Why would some
I
of them
think
be
that
exempt?
they do, but I think it's what the extent is what the question is. The question is specifically what extent do they have social responsibility? What are those social responsibilities? And I think when it comes to this, I think that something like a company making sure that you're not spending your last dollar on their product is not their responsibility.
Okay, a lot of people.
Yeah. Maybe I should let people because I don't want us to just take it.
Sorry, CSR isn't real. I just want to let you know. Like, yes, you have a CR, corporate social responsibility, but it's not real. You can pass the test, but it's not real. What
does that mean? What are you talking
It's not real because they don't actually ever try to.
You're being descriptive. I was being prescriptive because I wanted to know what his stances were morally, like whether he thinks companies should have it. Now, if the system is flawed, which I agree that it is, then that stance is true. But I wanted to know whether he thinks it should even exist, like this concept of social responsibility at all even makes sense, given his.
I think to the fair point,
though.
he said yes and no, but like at the same time, it never exists. And we can kind of delve back to the OnlyFans with this, where it does not exist.
Like, do I think that it's on the GameStop employee to stop somebody from buying a PS5 if it means that they're not going to be able to buy groceries for their family? No, absolutely not. It's not on the GameStop employee to do that. It's not on any part of GameStop to say, hey, man, you don't need a PS5 and you can't afford a PS5, so you cannot have a PS5. You give them your money and the company says, thank you very much. And I don't think that makes the company immoral. That makes the company doing a transaction. It's what they're there for.
Yeah, but there's a person.
It's on the responsibility. It's a level of there's a responsibility for the adult engaging in the transaction.
Hold on. If you have the knowledge and you know that this is the case that's going to happen, why would you not then have a responsibility? You don't know this person. If I'm a cashier, I don't know. But if I do know the person and I do know that they literally need to pay child support because their baby's not going to get any formula, right? I do know this. You're saying that even with full knowledge and understanding that I should still take the $500 with full knowledge and understanding?
He would shake his head the whole time like, man, you shouldn't be doing this. Pocket the change.
He'd be swiping the car like, man, this is crazy. Them kids are going to be real hungry,
bad
bro.
idea and take their money.
No,
absolutely.
You shouldn't do this, but thank you for the $500.
So the question is, how do you scale this to society? Like, no, let's not. How is this okay for OnlyFans girl? Let's just bring this back to the topic. Why is that okay for a young lady who knows that this man is in dire straits to take his money because
once
he
again-
knows that because it's his money, he just wants to throw it out. There's no obligation humans have to each other.
And to be clear, and I'll let Julie go right after this. But my accusation here, right? My the thing that I am arguing and advocating here is that many OnlyFans models create the situation where there is a dire need. They create the need. They purposely target men and create this need for them to have a relationship with them and give money and things like that. That's my accusation. Julie, go ahead, please.
Somebody else go. I lost it. Please, Kirby. Anyone?
So hold on. Do
Wait,
you not
that
think
was a
you have
crazy.
an
That was a crazy
obligation?
statement before.
Yeah, you said something earlier about women praying specifically. I think the word praying is insane. I don't know if anyone's like they're using marketing tactics maybe to pull it, but they're not like specifically choosing like, oh, he's a loser, I'm gonna get him to sub to my shit. And praying is like a crazy word.
Yeah, but you hold on, but you would be remiss to say.
Also, it's not my. The fuck is that?
Catnip is talking, but it was like her mic was.
Oh, that scared the shit.
No, I heard her.
Sorry.
Sorry.
I'm so sorry. Yeah, I was saying like with a lot of things with capitalism, like makeup or whatever, marketing tactics can be predatory. Is what I'm saying.
So here's my issue here, right? My issue with when it comes to OnlyFans is because in principle, we're gonna just take a step back from the marketing teams but in the principle of an individual, one user who is supposed to be fostering a relationship with a fan, why is there no obligation to care about your fan? If first of all, again, if we look at fan, an individual who supports you and helps you out, why wouldn't it be incumbent upon you to care about this person? To some degree, you know what I'm saying?
I don't need to know your personal life. I don't need to know your personal financials. I don't need to know anything about you.
Mm-hmm. But
like,
if you
at
do,
the end
I
don't. But the thing is, I don't. I just don't. I don't have to at all.
Hypothetically, you know that this individual is in a deficit. You know that they're thirsty, like for your attention. Are you saying you have no obligation to cut them off?
If I know, for me personally, if I know, I've had people say like, "Oh, I don't get paid till Friday." I say, "Okay, well, make sure your stuff is paid before you pay me." Like, I'm totally fine with saying that. However, it's not my job to go out of my way and be like, "Do you have enough money to give me money?" That's not on me. That's on you.
Hold on, Jesse, I want to address something really quick.
Manage your money yourself.
So, because I can only take so many for me personally.
Yeah, I hate that.
That's why
for me personally.
So I know that's a very common thing to grab for people that don't have the conviction to speak out loud about the things, the expectations that they place on others, because everybody has expectations, standards that they place on others in their head. Some people aren't confident enough to say them out loud, or they don't want to mess up their money, right?
Mm-hmm.
But let's dig into
Thank you for the $50. I get to put my shirt back on. It was cold. I appreciate you.
It's gonna get crazier. But I'm saying because like earlier, before,
am I back?
So is this like a roundabout? You're gonna say for me personally, I don't like OnlyFans. Like, okay, end of story.
No. What we're pointing to is that there's no moral principle here. Like that, there's nothing. There's no framework that you have that judges whether something's wrong or right.
So when we get into the topic of morality, when we talk about morality, what is that based off of? This has been a topic many times again. Is it based off of God?
Pause for housekeeping. I got some housekeeping. I got some housekeeping. I think we're back. Okay, the stream just died, but I think we're back. Fucking $50 more from GJ Nuts to fucking take my shirt off again. God damn it. Okay, carry on, please.
Do we know that they can afford that? Are we sure that they can afford that?
Did you ask?
We better refund that, actually.
Here's the thing.
These are not good points. No, he's not going. No. Every time he makes one of these stupid points,
no.
Anybody in the audience, I'm gonna point out why he's
about it. So shut the fuck up.
I'm gonna point out why he's stupid. That's stupid because we painted a hypothetical where you know for a fact the person giving money cannot afford to do so. The idea was not that you would scrutinize every transaction to make sure that the point is
your thought is that every single transaction is when it's an OnlyFans.
We didn't say every single nothing.
No. Let me finish. Every single transaction with an OnlyFans model is inherently exploitative because you're selling sex. Then how is this any different? That every single transaction is inherently exploitative
because Wick is selling an experience here. Every single. Stop snuggling it in. We're not playing with extremes.
Smuggling in anything. I'm saying it very clearly.
Okay, you are arguing with the Phantom. We didn't say anything about every single. We didn't say about every single dollar amount, right? We said the principle of the application or the website or the service is exploitative. That's what we're saying.
If the principle is, then it would apply to everything.
So if that be the case, right? When it comes to a Twitch streamer, we do not agree with your premise that it's even the same thing. We don't accept that. So you can't keep using this.
My point is, you keep on saying it's not every single.
Don't accept.
It's not
you
every single.
You didn't argue well for it. We don't.
You try to say that it's not every single transaction. It's not every single one. We're not saying every single one. We're just saying on very principle and foundation it is. Then that's every single one, dude.
Can you address
pick a lane?
Can you just
pick a lane? Can you pick a lane?
We do not agree.
Are you capable of picking a lane here? Is it fundamentally exploitative, or is it every single one, or is it only some transactions?
Same as OnlyFans. We don't agree. So you can't keep saying.
That's not what I'm asking. I'm not even talking about that right now.
Gave you money on Twitch. That's not.
I'm not even talking about that right now. What I'm talking about is every single transaction on OnlyFans exploitative or not? Is every single one bad or not?
I would say yes. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for answering that. At least now we at least have a clear answer there.
Can you address the fact that we don't agree?
Well, because a second ago you were just saying that every single transaction. You're not saying every single one, and now you're saying that it is every single one.
Give me a reason.
Is my point
why? That Twitch is the same as only we don't agree. So you keep making this point. We don't agree.
Yeah, I will say that it's exactly the same because you are paying somebody for attention.
Hold on.
You are giving someone money in exchange for attention. You're not paying for a service.
Stop. Both of you stop. Both of you stop. We're getting ahead. I knew I had to take off my earphones, so you guys took advantage of my weakness for a moment.
I did. I knew I could yell right now.
Come on, man. Let me cook.
Can you not hear me?
No, you're like slow.
Kirby, refresh.
Okay.
We're good? Okay. So, first of all, I am going to get to Super Chats in a second. Keep giving me that money, gang. But we aren't... At least, I've never been on OnlyFans, to be clear. I don't know. But I'd imagine if I was ever going to go on OnlyFans, I ain't wanting your attention. I want your titties, right? I want to see them nudies, right?
No, this is a fundamental
misunderstanding than Twitch or... other things.
It's different for everyone why they go to it.
It's different, right? And a lot of people see. I made a video about this many years ago, and I'll summarize it here. It is obvious in the case that pornography.
Thank you for the $50. I get to put my shirt back on. Okay, thank you. Okay,
right. It is obvious in the case. What the principle of OnlyFans? We're not talking about porn. We're talking about OnlyFans in principle. You won't have to agree with this because it's just true in its inception and in design. Is that you are to interact with a user, a specific user of that account. That's what it is. It's not just pornography. It's interacting with a person specifically.
Some people sub just to buy videos, though, truly.
That might be the case.
Really depends on the person.
That doesn't change what something is in principle. If I misuse something, that doesn't change the definition.
Also, this is why I laid out. This is why I tried to lay out my definition, right? Because I want to show my work, so you know why I'm saying I think everything is exploitative. It's because I think so. When I think of exploitation, right, and I use the definition, both the dictionary definition, but then also the relationship at play, right? I'm considering if a man goes to an OnlyFans model, right, and he's subscribing so that he can find a way to sublimate these desires for intimacy, for engaging in his sexual side, whatever, with this OnlyFans model, then he is engaging with an aspect of his person that is closer to need than want. And the original prompt was the girlfriend experience, not just buying pictures of titties. I would have came in here with a different approach for that, right? We can still talk about that, but just to be clear, that's what I came in here with, right? So my point is, if you're seeking out the girlfriend experience or anything akin to it, okay, what is being exploited there, right? And I'm using the word exploit because I think something is being exploited, right? Is that desire in the case of the girlfriend experience, literally the desire to not be lonely, to be to have companionship, to feel companionship, right? And I have a problem with that, but then also by definition that would be exploiting. The question was, is it exploiting men? By definition, yes, right? That'd be my stance. Sorry, go ahead.
To address some of those points, one of them is being the original prompt was, is it exploitative to men, right? Mm-hmm. And I looked up like the percentage of men versus women subscribing. It said 43% of subscribers are women. So like, why is this only exploitative to men? Like it's not.
What's crazy is in my intro, I said it was exploiting both of them.
Even if it's
true, you said that in this. You said that in the sense that it was like the models are being exploited.
Yeah, but Kirby, you have to frame a conversation, right? Even if it is the case that both could be exploited, the current conversation is about men, right? So we could talk about women, but at present we're talking about men. So we have to focus on that.
So we're talking about men, sure, but I'm saying it's not gender specific. I don't know why we're talking about men.
But
none of this
Kirby,
is
for example,
like girlfriend,
let me give you
boyfriend
an
experience.
example. I'm gonna give you an example. If I do mechanical work on a Ford, right, and then I do it on a Honda, they're not the same thing, right? Even if it is true they're both cars and I'm a mechanic.
You're saying it's not the same thing, so it's okay that women are being
I'm working on the Honda right now. That's what I'm saying, right? So the Ford has problems. I'm working on the Honda right now.
But they're both cars. But they're both cars, and that's what's
saying?
important. So all my argumentation, you can swap the genders, the sexes. It's fine. I still stand by everything because it's still the same need.
So yeah, so we got
are we
locking on
getting
men
bigger
right now.
image that we should just ban all porn? Like, what is the
No,
bigger
lock in.
argument? Here?
I could make the argument for banning porn. Absolutely,
Yeah, what is the argument?
Casino.
What's the bigger picture? Like, what do you want at the end of the day? Like,
I'll
sure,
let
let's say
Wick
we're
decide whether
exploiting
he wants
everyone.
to go down that direction.
I can tell you
That's a separate
exactly what I
direction.
want. I'll tell you exactly what I want right here.
Well,
right?
we'll see where Xerxes goes. Yeah.
What I would want is for the service of OnlyFans to be disbanded. Why? Because men want women and women want men. This is a highlight. One, not all, not the entire, but a highlight. Well, they're a small percentage, but we can talk about that some other time. The point is, overwhelmingly,
we don't care about.
Well, they're not the focus right now. You know what I'm saying, right? For Honda, I'm on the Honda.
It's all about you.
So listen, what I'm saying is that, like, what I would want is the reflection that OnlyFans is showing us is that there are men who have a sexual desire towards women that can't be expressed. And if it can't be expressed on the male side, people forget that it in turn is not being expressed on the female side. If we talk about the male loneliness epidemic, people keep on saying, people forget that the population of men and women is roughly the same. As such, if there's a huge amount of men who aren't in relationships, it would in turn mean that women also aren't. So what I'm saying is, if we're looking at this service here of men coming into this and being porn addicted in many different ways, or lonely and trying to foster a specific relationship with the woman, we need to disband this service and actually start trying to
talk
encourage
about that, if I may.
healthy relationships with
There's
men and women
2 million
consistently.
more women, by the way. 2 million more women than men in the U.S.
If that be the case, well,
I want to reach out to those 2 million women. I would date you. If you are.
All 2 million.
We're goofed on that.
Hold on, if I may.
He has a lot of restrictions.
If I may, because I think this is an interesting question, and I'm curious who would agree with him. Raise your hand if you think that OnlyFans should be banned, just outright banned, dismantled, banned. You shouldn't be able to engage in this kind of work.
No.
I like dismantled better. I would like a natural. I don't want
Okay, so
I want the law to come in. I want people to make the choice and be reasonable.
Found out the founder is from England.
That's true.
UK.
No, because if you ban OnlyFans, if you take it away, you're taking. We literally just talked earlier about how OnlyFans it gives like a safety barrier for women who are doing sex work. If you take that away, you take away that safety.
Or you can have a husband.
Are you
just get married.
Julie, hold on, Cersei. Let Julie respond. Let Julie respond.
Just get a fucking husband is so ridiculous.
Go ahead, cook, Julie. Give me the smoke. Come on, cook. Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
That's fucking insane. I'm not going to rely on one singular man to pay for my financials, because what if he goes off and decides to fucking cheat on me? Now I'm stuck in a relationship. I've never had a job. I have to rely on him for my financials. What if he starts fucking marital rape or some shit? I can't get out of the relationship.
Oh, so there's no ability for a man to be a good person, Julie.
He
can't respect you. He can't be a good man. So it's only the worst possible situation,
there absolutely is the ability for a man to be good in a relationship. But the thing is I'm not going to. If I have the ability to choose between financially supporting myself through sex work or relying on a man to pay for my shit, I'm going to financially support myself.
Were those your two actual options? I'm just curious. Were those your two actual options?
No, there's more options than that, obviously.
No, I'm just checking. Lock in with me. Lock in with me, right? You don't want to get married and have a good, fruitful relationship with one man, but you're
assuming it's going to be a good, fruitful relationship. You're assuming that. What, 50% of marriages end in divorce? You want me to? I have a 1 in 2 chance of getting my ass fucked?
Lock in with me.
No, thank you.
Lock in with me, Julie.
If you saved me from an abusive relationship, honestly,
we'll get back to that. Hold on, put a pin in that. We'll get back to that because that's very interesting.
I broke my nail. I'm so angry at you.
So lock in with me for a second, right? Because this is actually pretty fascinating to me. You're telling me that if you crowdsource lots of men That's fine. That's reasonable. You're safe.
Yes.
You're protected. But if you have a good relationship with one man who cares about you, we're gonna pretend that it's that it could just fall out and explode and just be bad and terrible. You can't court them. You can't date them. You can't talk to them. You can't learn anything about them. It's just totally just flip a coin. He might be a demon. Is that what you're telling me?
She's using the men within a carefully defined
Precisely.
system.
But I want her to lock in. Exactly. I want you to lock in.
This is a completely
Load it a
separate.
little more.
Because
Is that possible?
because
You're more
marriage-
a little more.
Hold on,
Marriage
let
is a
Julie.
much
Hold on,
bigger
let Julie respond.
commitment.
Go ahead.
Mhm.
Marriage is a much bigger commitment than doing
Mhm.
OnlyFans. If I marry a man,
Mhm.
I'm tied to him for life.
Oh no. What if he's a good man? What if he loves you?
Okay, and what if the money in my bank account is a good man?
It's not a man. It's currency. That doesn't make sense.
You're
If the man
talking
is,
No, I would rather-
and again,
I would-
you're
I would-
pretending. And this is
Hang on,
what
I wanna get
this is
in.
what we no, because I need Julie to accept this, right? I'm not.
No,
leaving
'cause
it
this
to accept-
premise is stupid on its face.
It's ridiculous. I'll tell you why this is
Put
ridiculous.
that in because
You're
Julie can't defend
operating-
herself. Let
You're
Austin defend her.
operating on the great pretending that you only have a 50-50 shot in the dark of being with a man that is caring and compassionate, and the rest of them are going to be abusive demons. That's absolutely absurd and ridiculous.
What's
Because
absurd
you
and
actually
ridiculous is
said-
your
in an
premise on its face.
attempt to avoid
that,
you
dumbest
become
shit I've ever heard in
abusive
my
demon.
life.
I just don't want to
Okay.
commit. I
That's
just don't
what
want
you
to
did.
commit.
Okay.
Now that's a
If
different
I'm-
problem.
I want to hear
And that's
people.
what you
Hold
can
on,
say.
Xerxes.
Now,
Xerxes,
you
you
can say
made your
that.
premise. You made your premise. I want other people to respond to it. So give me a second. I want to hear Kirby. I want to hear Often Topical. I want to hear Cassie. I want to hear everyone. Right?
I said often wants to add, so let
Yeah,
Austin.
Often. Yeah, that's the order I said. Often, Kirby, Cassie. Go ahead.
So what I take issue with this whole premise that we're putting forth here is that what you are really asking is you keep on kind of sneaking in some stuff like crowdsourcing men and having a lot of men and be dependent on them, when what we're really talking about here is at the end of the day, if you want to divorce the morality of like the sexuality of the job, we're talking about having a job or not having a job and being dependent on a partner.
What is the job? The job
The
is getting
job
multiple
is
males to give
selling-
you money. That is the
The
description.
same way,
of what is occurring.
the same way that if you're a streamer,
Okay.
your job is getting
Irrelevant. Jump
multiple
backstage
chatters.
if you want in. Irrelevant. Jump backstage.
Your
I got
job
permission,
as a
so-
streamer is getting multiple chatters
Irrelevant
to
wants
give
to
you
smoke.
money.
It's been a minute. It's been
Is
a
that
minute.
correct? Am I right
Hold
there?
on.
If you're
Go
a
ahead.
streamer, are you crowdsourcing your income from multiple different streamers
Yes.
or from multiple different
fans,
audience
yeah.
members?
Mhm,
Yeah.
If you work
So,
at a burger
and I
joint,
would say that that's just as
that-
much a legitimate source of income as anything else. Would
Okay.
you not?
So the premise was
Just yes or no. Yes or no works. Is
No.
it legitimate to crowdsource your income from fans?
Though it's not about having. Yes,
No,
you have a
we can
consumer
talk
base. That's
about-
not what we're arguing about.
We can
Exactly.
talk about whether or not what I'm saying is divorcing your feelings about the actual content itself.
We can't. We can't.
What I'm
divorce our
saying
feelings
is-
because the very principle of what OnlyFans is utilizing the feelings of the individual.
You're the one who went
That's
off
what it
on a
is.
tangent saying the difference between crowdsourcing your income from a bunch of men or getting your income from one man.
I'm saying,
What I'm saying is that's the exact same thing as saying, "Hey, Wick, why don't you quit streaming, quit being a leech and a
Another
terrible person, and instead just get a wife to take care of you?"
I got
That is
another
not
point.
this. It's
Okay,
not
any-
the
any-
same
either
thing.
or?
Hold on,
No,
hold on,
absolutely
stop.
not the same
I will
thing.
take that
Because
deal.
it's an
If
indictment
there's
on
a
your
woman out there
character,
that just wants to
Wick.
pay
It's
my
an
way for
indictment on
everything,
your character.
I would absolutely
I
take
got
that
another
deal if you're
point.
hot
You
enough.
guys know
okay?
what,
My DMs are
fundraising
open.
is?
Ladies, please.
You guys are pretend. Okay, again.
You guys know
this
what
is the issue that I
fundraising
have
is? You
here.
go to man to man to
Kirby?
man to man,
Mhm.
maybe one woman, and then you're trying to raise
OnlyFans
money.
is
Kirby.
also the same as
Kirby.
fundraising.
Ending
How many
anything,
times
but
can
you
I
can
Kirby.
keep
complain?
on saying that
How
kind
many
of stuff.
times are we
You can
gonna
make
complain?
it
Okay.
seem like-
Okay,
It
okay,
is-
enough,
you're
enough,
right.
enough, enough, enough.
Wait,
One at a time,
wait.
one at a time, one at a time, one at a time.
Let me lock
Kirby
in with
finish.
Kirby
Let
for a
Kirby
second.
finish. Let Kirby finish. Go ahead.
Let Kirby finish and then lock in with me. Go
In
ahead.
the context of what we're talking about is what we're like crowdfunding in a way is like your same thing with raising money.
OnlyFans is not
like,
crowdfunding.
if-
Crowdfunding is a
Lock
specific
in.
thing.
No, but
OnlyFans
that
is
was
not
the
crowdfunding.
context of what
Okay,
we were
lock
just
in.
talking about.
Lock in, because you guys completely missed
there are
the actual
campaigns
premise.
where you can
So
crowdfund
first-
on OnlyFans.
So first, let me first dismantle this, and then let me focus it. All right. So here's the first dismantling. Right, selling chocolate is not the same as selling an intimate service. They are not the same thing.
Intimate
It
service,
may
you
be
keep saying-
what you're
keep
trying to do.
talking
Let me
about talking.
dismantle it. Hold
Yes,
on.
the
I'm gonna
original
dismantle it. Hold
the
on.
original goal maybe
Hold
would
on.
be like
Hold on.
connection,
Let me
but now it's
dismantle it.
not. It's not that
No, hold on,
anymore.
hold
It's
on, hold on.
changed.
hold on. I'm
When
going to
I go to
dismantle
the guy
this.
in the
Let me tell you
colleges,
why.
that's pretty intimate.
So let me first.
Just
So let me
saying.
first dismantle this, right?
Amazon sold only books at 1st.
Mhm.
Look where it is now.
Well, exactly, right? So here's the thing. Commerce, right, where I'm selling a material, or I'm selling a book, is not the same thing as selling the service of intimacy to someone. They are
That's
not
what
the same.
you're not
Yes. Are
understanding.
you
You're
exchanging
not
money?
understanding.
Yes,
You're
we
not.
understand.
You
You're
said the
exchanging money.
service was
It's not the
originated.
same
You
thing.
said the service is originated with
Mhm.
selling intimacy, but it's
Mhm.
changed by now. It, by the way,
It
it's
hasn't though. I
from
can't
where it
accept
came
that
from
premise.
to where it is now. It's something different.
But it
So
isn't.
Amazon, the
That's the
reason I brought
problem.
up commerce or the books is because
Mhm.
it's completely changed. It's not
Okay.
the same anymore.
Okay.
So yeah,
Okay.
I
Before
mean,
before we
it's
go on,
Amazon,
stop,
but it's
Cersei. I
not.
understand. I understand. You got a lot to
Mhm.
say. I understand. But we got other people
See,
in. I want to hear them and things like irrelevant welcome. You wanted in. That's time to shine, brother. Go ahead.
in a minute.
It has been a minute, brother.
In a minute, eh?
Hey, it's good to see you again.
That's true, ain't it?
Back up to the old antics.
Oh,
Okay,
really?
so yes. I feel like we had a similar conversation at some
did.
point. Yeah,
Probably.
a while ago. Oh yeah, a couple of conversations. Listen, man. I'm curious where you're at with this whole like no. It feels like you're getting into the idea of like a homemaker thing. The anti OnlyFans just like rely on a guy, and I'm curious where your head lies
I'll
on
tell
that.
you what my principal point is this, right? If the idea is that we are selling a relationship or intimacy to men, then what we're actually doing is looking at the misappropriation or the negative reflection of society. As such as to say, what we're looking at when we see men funneling to OnlyFans, and to a lesser extent, just to add in some details, AI chatting bots, is an inability to have relationships with women. If men aren't with women, that means women aren't with men, right? So we have these two ships missing each other in the night. So I say if we get rid of OnlyFans, right? Obviously, it's not the only problem, but if we remove that, we dismantle that, we can have people who are married, working with each other, caring about each other, and good relationships. Now, what Julie responded with is that, oh no, what if I get abused? I say, well, hold on. You can choose the individual you marry. What are you talking about? What if you get abused?
Stupid, because that's so dumb. You can choose the individual and they can still become abusive. That's so fucking retarded.
Just randomly. There's no
No,
telltale
you
signs,
can
no
vet
dating.
someone for years. You can vet someone for years, and the minute you get married, they can switch up and start being fucked.
Are you suggesting that every single person who finds themselves in an abusive relationship is to blame for being in that relationship? They should have known better.
They should have seen the signs.
Is that your point?
He was abusive from the beginning. It's my fault.
Oh, you not answer that because I'm not talking to him. Actually, I'm talking to Julie, so I'm not going to answer that question. Just answer the question. Is every single person who's in an abusive relationship at fault?
No, I'm not answering that question.
I know you wouldn't, because it's a stupid thing to say.
I want you to address the actual
conclusion of what you're saying.
Because watch this. Let's play this out logically, and you see how foolish this is, right?
Okay, show me how foolish it is.
You are pretending that there aren't any telltale signs or understandings of an individual, and they switch on a dime.
This is a completely this is a completely different panel.
It sounds like you're going back to what we were talking about earlier about for me personally and how that's pussyfooting around, and that's what you're doing right now. You're saying that every single person who's in an abusive relationship is to blame for being in that relationship. You keep on saying
every single.
You won't go ahead and own it with your chest.
I don't believe that, so I'm not going to own it. You're missing the principle.
Well, you won't answer. So the answer is no.
So watch this. No. So I want you to actually lock in with me, and I want you to listen. I want you to actually address the principle of what I'm saying. Why are we pretending that the only options is either 50-50, this person is good, this person will abuse me? Why are we pretending?
Saying it's 50-50.
That was the clear implication Julie made.
When did Julie say
that? Okay, gang, stop.
Now you're arguing with ghosts. You're arguing with phantoms. There's nobody in here who ever said it's 50-50.
That's not what I said.
Hey, Wick is I think Wick is
trying to moderate. I'm trying to moderate. I'm about to start muting if I have to. Okay, but
don't mute me.
Right?
Don't lock me up, man.
I want to make sure. that everyone gets a chance.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone gets a chance to talk.
Let me get
I know Cohort wants to talk. I know Irrelevant wants to talk. I know Cassie wants to talk. That's the order we're gonna go in right now. Cohort, Irrelevant.
Yeah.
Wait, shouldn't we get Irrelevant to like introduce himself and all that?
Yeah, who
Yeah.
is
Irrelevant,
this?
who are
We know
you?
who he
Sorry.
is. We know who
Listen,
he is.
I'm a longtime friend of Wick, okay? Friend of the
True.
channel, all right?
One of the
If you
few
don't
people
know
I've
who I
broken
am,
bread
you need
with,
to
okay?
you need to watch the old tapes, the old footage from Wick TV, okay? If you don't know who I am.
Fair
All
enough.
right. No, I did want to bring up a point though, because when you had explained your position, sorry, what is your Xerxes? Is that your name? Xerxes? Okay, because I think you went by a different name when we talked before. But
Fast Up Easy. Yeah, just my YouTube name probably.
gotcha. Well, one thing that you had addressed earlier is you were talking about intimate. That OnlyFans was kind of downstream of an issue that we're having with like loneliness or something missing for a lot of people.
Yes.
Yeah. So then, just logically, is your point that if people were not like lonely or missing something, that there would be no porn?
No, it'd be no OnlyFans. Pornography, perhaps.
I'm sorry,
but even
what?
then, pornography and OnlyFans are two different things. I tried to separate that earlier. So the principal purpose of OnlyFans is to curate a conversation or an experience or friendship relationship with a creator. Pornography is a whole thing of multiple different categories, from hentai to softcore to hardcore, all that goofiness, right? So those aren't the same thing.
You would say hentai
So
first.
the dismantling of OnlyFans doesn't necessarily mean we've dismantled pornography. That's a separate conversation, I feel, right? We could be having at a later date, but you know.
So
OnlyFans is just a
couldn't
platform though.
yeah, couldn't you just
Precisely.
argue?
Anything else.
Couldn't you just argue then that you wouldn't? Do you think speaking with somebody at all is the issue with OnlyFans, or what specifically is the issue with OnlyFans?
The issue with OnlyFans is the parasocial relationship that gets created between an individual who is selling sexuality and intimacy to someone that has a deficit. That's the problem. The marketing.
Well,
the
what I'm
principal
asking
nature
you
of
is
the
how is that problematic? Is it because they're speaking to them at all?
Yes and no. So
Okay. Before
there's
we
a
go,
pretending.
yeah, answer the question. But after you answer
Mhm.
the question, I do want Cohort to get in because Cohort was
So
supposed to. Yeah.
the idea here would be to try to liken this as any normal conversation or friendship like you and I would be having, but it's not. You and I aren't trying to have an intimate relationship. We're trying to debate a point. But if I were to try to have an intimate relationship with some lady, it changed. The dynamic is completely changed, and I know you understand that because obviously that's what courtship is. So you have a pseudo form of courtshipping that's taking advantage of a deficit that an individual has. That's the nature of the platform. So hopefully that answers your question.
Okay, well, Wick, do you want this
No,
other person to get in, or should
I do because Cohort's
Okay.
kind of has the same take as Xerxes, and I'll let you.
I mean,
address
me and
both.
Xerxes are linked up. So if you're
Yeah.
boxing with him, you might be boxing with me too. But
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so. Well, we actually were diverging a bit because I wouldn't have brought up. While me and him agree with a lot about the power of both the family unit, the men and women using each other, being with each other, loving each other, all that, and that being a much more salubrious and a reasonable way to direct your attention than OnlyFans. I wouldn't bring it up as like this alternative of like go do that instead of OnlyFans. Right?
Well, that's not what I was doing either. I was answering what did I want.
Let Cohort go. Let Cohort
that's
go.
how
To be clear,
Let him
that's
finish.
how
that's how it
doing,
landed. That's how it landed, and then that's what the back and forth ended up kind of being. Maybe
Okay.
you didn't. Maybe you didn't.
Yeah, well then, for clarity, I'm not saying in lieu of. I'm saying what do I want?
Yeah.
There's-
No. I'm
these are
with
two
you.
different
I'm with
things.
you. Yeah. I'm
Okay.
with you. But so my thing is the exploitation angle that I laid out are relevant just for your reference was there among your hierarchy of needs. One of those things is often going to be freedom from loneliness, right? Companionship, intimacy, relationships of that nature, right? And these men, especially when we're talking about the girlfriend experience, but again, anything similar to that as well. So both the girlfriend experience you get through OnlyFans, but then also the one that you get through Twitch that is less openly stated, but obviously viewed, and we all know about it. I view that largely as unhealthy. I believe there is good reason to view it as unhealthy, and I believe the exploitation is obvious because there is a need on the man's part. He's trying to satisfy this need for connection, for intimacy, right? And this is an easy and streamlined way for him to get it. But it is not the same thing as the full experience that he would probably much rather have, either with, for example, the woman on the screen or maybe some other streamer or OnlyFans model that he's a fan of. Now, that exploitation in and of itself, the idea of exploiting a consumer is not rare, is not specific to OnlyFans. I think what I do, because when I think of things morally, right, a lot of times I think about, harm, right, harm reduction, harm increase, utility, right, good, common, or otherwise. I have at least a framework in my head of how I analyze whether things are right or wrong, right? Xerxes, for example, is a Christian, so he has maybe some of the same things I have, but then also more of an objective standard on that side, right? But so my point is, that's what I'm looking at these things from. I'm thinking about, in the descriptive, what kind of man, right? Which men are reaching out for this service and why? And how does the service affect them? And then by extension, how does it affect the world? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, I'll agree pretty readily that the girlfriend experience is typically consumed by men, or at least I would have it a guess that it's typically consumed at men who want a girlfriend-like experience because they're lacking some measure of that inside of their personal life. And there's probably not a super easy way to engage with that in a healthy manner. So I'd probably give the idea that the girlfriend experience is in most cases going to be exploitative and shouldn't be done. But it sounds like we're extending this even beyond that to OnlyFans in general.
Well, I'll be honest with you. No one cooked with a counter argument. You all just kind of agreed there might be degree of separations of exploitation, but it is exploitation. So it looks like I was right at the top.
What do you mean cooked with a counter argument though? That's what I'm confused about.
Counter argue that this is
Counter
not
argument.
an exploitation against young men.
Yeah, but no, it's like
I have the best counter argument.
Not necessarily counter argument.
Julie
It's
has
like,
the best counter
it's like
argument.
capitalism is exploitation. So like,
No, I
I'm
don't
sorry,
do
like
that.
yes, we're capitalizing on everything possible.
We're doing the
but
thing again.
That's
We're
exploitation.
conflating
Okay,
again.
Julie,
We're
do you
conflating
have a
again.
better? Hold on,
No,
Joel,
she's
stop,
right.
stop,
She's
stop,
right.
stop,
She's
stop, stop,
completely right.
please stop. Julie, do you have a better counter argument than capitalism is exploitation?
It's more so a troll, so probably not. But I was gonna say that these men that are being exploited by OnlyFans are so stupid, ugly, and retarded that actually it's charity that I'm letting them talk to such an
Is
attractive
that right?
like
That's why they
me.
pay you money? It's charity. Oh, well, you're trolling. So.
I'm done.
I took
She
the
did
bait,
say
my
it was a
bad.
troll.
Wait.
But
How much is your
I just-
OnlyFans?
hold on.
Julie?
That is
Julie,
not
how
my
much is your
fault.
I'm
OnlyFans?
giving out
No.
charity.
Julie, how much is your OnlyFans?
But
It was a troll. I was trolling.
Yeah,
Please.
Wait, no, you're supposed to say how much your OnlyFans is.
Jokes?
It was going to be a joke.
Cassie,
I
you
don't
had
know.
something to say? You want to get in here? Go ahead, and then I have something to maybe guide us a little bit.
Yeah, okay, so, I feel like you guys are mostly painting things with a broad brush. I would say that the male loneliness epidemic is partially due to the way that men interact with each other, as well as just people in general struggle with intimacy and relationships, and that's not exclusive to because women are exploiting men. I feel like there's been a lot of, I'm gonna take the feminist stance, but there's been a lot of exploitation towards women over most of history, and I think we're kind of seeing like a little bit of a pendulum swing from that. That being said,
It's not a
people do
little bit.
have difficulties. People do have difficulties navigating intimate relationships. So if people want to like microdose that in some kind of way where they only want to do it digitally for a while as they get to know themselves better, they learn how to have intimate conversations. I think that it could be beneficial in some context for some people. Same being said with if people want to hire a sex worker in a place where that is legal to do so.
This is like saying that people take
I
hard
think-
drugs so they can learn
yeah.
proper syringe use. That's not.
That's
No.
You're just comparing OnlyFans to streamers, so you can't make that comparison because that's not a good comparison.
yeah, but if the
No,
individual has a porn
no.
addiction,
What
the
I
addictive
just
quality
no
is
no no no
important.
no. What I just said wasn't. I can explain to you why. So you took
I'll jump on
something.
that too.
You took something that involves some other. Okay, so the hard drugs involves, let's say, using syringes. In the process of using hard drugs, you will become well acquainted with using syringes. But it would be foolish to imply that people would ever go after using hard drugs, or at least a good amount of people go after using hard drugs, so they can familiarize themselves with medical tech In a similar way, most men are not going to engage in OnlyFans or a similar service so that they can titrate human interaction. But even if they were, I would say that would be a terrible way to build social skills. To think that you can start by subscribing.
What defines the girlfriend experience? Like, where does it cross the line between being friendly with people and it being like a full-blown girlfriend experience? Does that have to be communicated? Or if I ask people like, hey, how are you doing today? Like, I hope you're doing well, and I send them love. Is that the girlfriend experience?
No,
or is
it's
that
an
a different
entire
thing?
performance. The
Are
girlfriend.
they paying you
if
for
I
it?
understand exactly. If someone like me,
Not
like
necessarily.
before me and my
Well, they're not
friend
paying for it, it's not
got
a
on
big
here,
deal.
I did a little bit of research. There's this one lady who charged $850 a week for a girlfriend experience. This is just on OnlyFans,
You're saying
right?
don't
Which is
bring up a
absurd.
singular point, but you keep bringing up like one example.
Well, I
Bring
how
up
many
majority
examples do
then.
I
If
need
you want
to
to make
bring
a
up?
point, bring up majority.
I can't do that. I'm sorry.
I know you can't.
That's
That's the
not
point.
that's not how a conversation works. I don't have
You're bringing up the
150,000.
singular points to make
So I'm bringing
your
up a
argument,
person.
and you're
I'm
not.
bringing
How
a
about this? I
example
think
to
we
go
can.
to
I
the
think we
point that
can.
I'm about to make.
We can. Maybe I'll make a statement here. This is my thoughts, and maybe we can wrestle with this and chew on this, and maybe this will get us somewhere. I hope, right? And maybe not. I think that regardless of individual creators either using the system more exploitatively or less exploitatively, which we can all imagine, there are creators who are better and there are creators who are worse. I think that the nature of the OnlyFans experience is in and of itself exploitative in such a way that I think that people should not engage with it, either as creators.
Do you
or
feel
as
the same way
customers.
about pornography?
Yes.
Okay.
And you could just die on that hill.
Anybody
Do you feel
being
the same
consistent
way about
would.
taking your shirt off for a donator?
I do not think that is the same. They understand it.
Why?
I think it's
If
closer
I
to being
show
the
my
same than it
nipples,
should.
I get
you
No,
would like.
like what if a woman did that?
My
you
nipples
okay
are
with
not the same as your nipples. Let's be real.
Not
I
true.
live in a city,
Not
Boulder, Colorado,
true.
where you can legally
Because
be topless
one's
as a woman,
sexualized,
okay?
one's not.
Do
Like,
not-
come on.
Hold
do
on.
not go
I
there.
No, are you
sexually
guys
spend all the
seriously
time.
arguing
Wait, hold on.
that if
Yeah,
I
exactly.
look, and you would understand this, I can say $50 to take my shirt off and no one blinks an eye. But if I said $50 to take Julie's shirt off, everyone would have problems with that. Why?
Wick.
Why?
No,
Why
they
would that be?
not.
Are you
Why
saying-
would they have an
the
issue?
opposite.
They would be excited. There would be no issues.
If
There
you
are
want
cities
to be
where-
like,
excitement.
let's go.
There are cities, Wick, where it is completely legal and
In
completely
Canada
acceptable
and
for
BC,
women
it's
to be
legal
topless.
as a woman.
Are these cities
is it-
just dens of absolute
Yeah,
depravity
my
and
city is.
sin?
Portland, they have a naked bike
Because
ride.
there are lady
They do that in
nipples
BC as
in
well.
Wick,
public.
the difference I think you're trying to
Make a bike
outline
ride on the OnlyFans.
is the okay. So you taking your shirt off. Let's say overall, right? Overall,
Wait,
Hold
for
on.
most people
Let's
here.
say anyone-
Let's stop
go
because
Timmy.
I'll let you go in a second, cohort. But are
Yeah.
we seriously suggesting that a man that is shirtless is the same as a woman that is shirtless? It's not.
According to the law in Boulder, Colorado, and other
The
places, yes.
law is mistaken there.
Did you
I think
No,
that's
they
a you
changed
thing.
it.
Whoa,
They
are you
changed it for
sexualizing
equality's
women,
sake.
Wick?
Yes.
So
What's
You-
wrong?
you told me
Yeah,
all?
not
Wait,
inherently
wait.
sexual. You're
hold on.
sexualizing them.
wait, so Cat,
Yeah,
so
the
Catnip,
suggestion that a
so Catnip-
woman's body is inherently sexual just by
sexualize
Are you
existing.
calling me
Russia?
catnip?
There.
Yeah,
What
you-
is it?
you-
What if
calling
I
her
said my
catnip.
face?
No, he's calling the
Oh, there's
person's
two
name.
cats.
So
Catnip.
I'm
You
yeah,
gotta
I'm
have
calling
to do
Catnip
one at a
Catnip.
time because I can't hear
Okay.
you
But,
all.
okay,
Sorry.
I do not think nipples are sexualized the same way I would not sexualize a woman breastfeeding. Nipples are sexualized if you are engaging in a sexual context, but I don't think nudity in and of itself is sexual or explicit. That's
You
my
don't
Do you
that's
think most
disingenuous,
people
though?
do? No, wait, hold on. So do you think
I-
most people think that way, or do you think
I
you're
disagree.
maybe more unique?
I
than
think
I think
nudity
most
and
people would call a woman a whore if she was topless, but I think that's something that probably needs to shift in society because that's not indicative of that, and women should be allowed to.
I would not. Yeah, I would not be a fan. I wouldn't be a fan of a woman being called a whore just for that.
Okay.
if okay.
Irrelevant.
Are we talking
Irrelevant. Go ahead.
are we talking about what is or what ought be? Which one are we
What
talking
is?
about?
I'm saying what
We're-
ought be
we're being-
because there might be
we're being
laws or
descriptive now.
something, but I think it ought be right. It ought be because of the well. See, there's two levels to this. One is one I'm saying it is, and one I'm saying it ought. So the is statement that I'm making is that women topless are viewed in a very different way, at least in Western cultures, than all cultures that I can think of off the top of my head. Right? I'm sure there might be a thing where women being topless is seen as explicitly sexual in a way that men are not. That's my
Should it
is
be?
statement. My ought statement is that because that is, we ought not treat it the same.
I mean, does anybody
So,
disagree with the idea that currently as it exists, that women being topless is different than men being topless? I don't think anybody's going to
I
disagree
think
with that.
you
No?
wouldn't be
places,
engaging
I
in
would say most
reality to say
places,
otherwise.
yes.
Yeah.
I'm
No,
gonna
in
disagree,
most
they're
places, yes,
different.
but in most places, you would get put in prison for having something like cannabis. But there's states like Colorado that have legalized cannabis because they realize putting people in prison for it is immoral. The same way that
I think
Boulder,
it's
Colorado has
culturally
determined
dependent.
that putting someone in
Well,
jail is immoral.
Can I share a
for
point?
having boobs.
Go, Kirby.
If people, how do I say this? If for women it's like no longer sexualized at all, like I feel like honestly it might backlash on women. Like that really sucks for a lot of women.
I would say
Does that
that
make
Can't make
is-
money off your tits anymore.
No,
Yeah,
that's
why?
not what it
Women
is.
sex
But
workers
no,
have that
like
too, for they
men
don't
will
want
just
that
like
to be illegal
like being
for that
less.
reason.
If it's just a normal, like if it's like an elbow, it's gonna be like men will
So I
like
would say
that.
obviously-
Some dudes like elbows. Come on.
Obviously, the is that yes, there is, culturally speaking, a difference between a man being topless and a woman being topless. I think anybody who would disagree with that
sexualization
is
not
not yeah, is-
sexualization, but like breastfeeding and stuff like that. Yeah, I think it's part
well,
of like
yeah.
human
I mean,
nature.
there are like one-off top, and I'm not so what I'm saying
Nature
is I'm not
aspect.
saying
Yeah,
that
but-
this
but
ought
this
to
is-
be the case.
I don't know,
But
this is
what my point
disingenuous.
is, hang on. My point is, we're not engaging in reality if we say that they are not different. In our current cultural society, or the way that our culture is, they are different, obviously, at least in Western society. The two are different. Now, the question is, should they be? I think no. I think the idea of a woman's body being inherently sexual just by existing, it's kind of fucking gross. But that is what we're at right now. But the society that I would like to see is one where that's not the case.
But
So I think
But it isn't- okay.
this isn't the distinction that Wick actually should be alluding to.
No,
Okay,
I was
so
saying we're so channeling off right now.
yeah, because I do want to say, like, when it comes to Wick taking the shirt off, so to my opinion, that is closer to being the same thing as
OnlyFans.
anybody else that was, hey, give me $50 to take your shirt off. The same thing. But the only difference you might be able to say is, well, Wick isn't taking it off at the request of a sexually charged audience, as you may be able to say almost
you know
definitively he would be. So
How
I'm
would
gonna
you
get.
know
I was
I'm
gonna
gonna
get to
take
that.
a guess.
Anything, it's-
Okay.
That's why I said you only
Uh,
might be
me for my
able.
feet,
You
just
only
really
might
wanted
be able
to
to
see my
say.
pedicure.
But if the person that super chatted the 50, they could have like the Vaseline out.
Yeah,
right now.
exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, in that
You don't
case, what is the difference?
And
What is
that,
the actual difference?
What
that's
would be
the
the
whole
context?
point with this whole context is like we don't know the OnlyFans subscribers. We don't know like Twitch subscribers. We don't know any of these
If I
people.
gave you $100, if I gave you $100
Like,
and said, here,
if
you
they can
guess
chat,
correctly-
like they could chat and say all they
Sure.
want, but we don't actually know like what's going on behind
Kirby,
the scenes.
can I ask
That's
you
like
a
the
question?
online barrier.
correct,
Well,
I'm
that
gonna ask
part
you a
doesn't-
question, then we are gonna
Sure.
get to some super chats, and then we're gonna kind of wrap it up here. But
Sure.
Kirby, if I asked you, and I said, if you get this question right, I'm gonna give you $100. I'm not really. This is a hypothetical.
Oh,
Yeah,
I got really excited.
Sure. But if you get this question right, I would give you $100, hypothetically. Okay, a hypothetical $100. And I asked you, which do you think it's more likely for the request for a shirt being taken off to be sexually charged? Do you think it's more likely in my chat right now with the $50, or do you think it would be more likely to be sexually charged in OnlyFans?
To be fair, of course, OnlyFans.
Of course, OnlyFans.
Because
Of
most likely they're going to
course,
be naked, but at the same
OnlyFans.
time,
So
I-
while
I-
it
I
may
totally
be
agree.
true,
it's more likely
the
percentage-wise,
point here,
sure, but
we are dealing with likelihoods here. We make laws based on
But
likelihoods.
don't you
We base
understand that we've
moral
this
things
whole
based on
conversation for
likelihoods.
like the past 2 hours, and we've talked about like situations that have happened.
Kirby, me and you we're actually locked in on this one. The reason why, let me tell you why. So one thing I was outlining before is this idea of context and switching to context, right? For example, you're at a work meeting, right? Would it be appropriate for anybody there to start undressing, to be in a state of undress? We would say no, right? Why do we know that? Because
Depends on
different
where you
venues. Yeah, that's fair. No, that's fair. I kind of made the.
He's trying to
made
say
the
context,
implicit,
but
yeah, the
there's
implicit thing of
also
it's like it's in
social,
an
like,
office, yeah.
What's
But-
socially acceptable. So
Yeah,
that's also what contributes. So like in Korea, might not be socially acceptable to hear. Like there's
Yeah.
very big differences,
So
right?
that's true, but also like
how society progresses and things like that's why I think it's ridiculous that we're trying to place all these strange like thresholds on OnlyFans because
but then
like the progress of over time from porn. Like women are in power now. Why are we mad about it?
wait, so there was another conflation there. So because I think we agree, but then there's like some point where we diverge. Because like Wick is going out of his way to change the context of his stream when he takes his shirt off. This is a panel where we are all engaging in discourse. And if all of a sudden I say, hey, send me $50 and I'll take my clothes off, something has happened there. And one thing I don't like when people do
Wick is an OnlyFans.
Well, hold on.
So what I'm trying to no wait, there's something fundamental I want you to understand because look, it's like we need to be able to recognize that there is a difference between let's say Wick just did that today. Let's say he's never did it before, right? For example, up to this point, he has been a debate streamer. But now
like,
he's
I do have it's a standing joke on my
I
channel.
know that it is. That's what I'm saying.
That's
Let's pretend like it's not. I'm saying let's pretend like it's not. So up until this point, he was a debate streamer. Now all of a sudden, he says, "Hey, if you donate $10, I'll take this off. $20, I'll take this off. $30, I'll take this off. $40, I'll take this." Something has changed. That change is relevant and important, and it means something both for the audience, those that engage. There's all these new questions now, and the context itself, maybe even the genre or subgenre of what he does is different. Is what I'm saying.
But you don't know them personally, so why does it matter? It's
because
let's
there is
say
something
you're talking to this girl online. Let's say you're watching her stream and you love her content. She's only playing games, but behind the scenes, she is a full-on like prostitute. Why would it change that you like maybe could like trickle into her personal life? You liked her before. Oh, just because her personal decisions are like affecting how you perceive her? Like, why does that matter anymore? Isn't that like kind of crazy? You liked her before. That's the thing.
What? So no, let me ask you, Kirby. If you found out, right, that there was this guy you liked, okay, and you're hitting it off, and then you find out, oh, he's also a heroin dealer.
No, the guy you liked is different than a Twitch chatter. This is
hold on. We're going off the beaten path. I think we're going to hold on.
That's where it goes into parasocial.
Because I think I understand what Cohort is saying, right? And I want to add something a little bit too, right? So like
I do got to get
as I understood, yeah. I understand. So let me try to land this real fast. If I understand correctly, the shirt off thing is a joke, and the commenter understands that this is for a comedic effect. This isn't to be sexually charged nor to sexually entice. Mm-hmm. But we all know, and you're being disingenuous if you disagree, that when a woman takes her shirt off, it is sexually implicit. We all
and it also potentially could be for Wick is also relevant too.
But that's my issue. You pretended that's weird. But
I'm gonna be uncomfortable as well.
We exist and we live through society. And to be honest, you might be raising against the machine on this
social
because exactly right. Because like if I were to spit game on this chat, right? Let's say I legitimately wanted to spit some game, right? You would all understand, right, that I have some sexual desire. Those are just words. Those are just words. Those are just words. But if a woman took her shirt off, we're supposed to pretend that that's not sexual. The words are sexual, but the action isn't. That doesn't make sense. So if we understand the context, we understand, the reality of the world we live in, where there's a sexual implicitness to women stripping versus a man taking their shirt off is comedic.
No, stop. I'm not gonna let that rock. If I started stripping right now, and we did a poll of everyone that had to watch me strip randomly in the middle of a panel, most of them would not be like, "Well, he was a man, so that's not sexual." That's not what they would say.
I think it is actually what they would say.
What do you want?
And in fact, I think it's peculiar. I think you're right. Here's the thing.
What is the responses?
There is something interesting about that. Here? So there is something interesting in that. I actually think most people wouldn't view males with their shirts off as sexual.
You said stripping. Maybe it should be. That's why I was responding to stripping.
Oh, stripping. I guess maybe. Well, see, that's funny, right? If I say So think about language, right? If I say strip, we all understand that there's a sexual connotation to that, right? Versus
For
take
sure.
your clothes off.
Unless you're stripping
So
wood or
again,
something, like words have multiple meanings.
but that's the whole word though, right? So you've used the same word in a different context. Now that is just grammar class. But we all understand, right, that there's a different context. To pretend that we don't get that, I think it's disingenuous.
That matters.
Let
It's
me.
the intention and the perception that matters, though, because, like, say, like, XQC bites his toenails on stream or
Okay.
whatever. He's biting his toenails.
Here's the deal.
So you could sexualize that, but it's, like, the way it's done. Like, if a
I'm
woman
gonna have
is,
to
like,
throw a flag
I
on
don't
the
know,
play
licking
gang.
her feet,
Here's
like, it's a
what's gonna
different
happen.
context. It's not inherently sexual.
Yeah, here's what's gonna happen. I'm gonna lightning round these super chats.
Go.
And I see you guys backstage. I see you in chat. If you want me to keep going, you got to pay me money. I'm not gonna do this for fucking free.
Wait,
money
you
in
people
here?
backstage.
If you want people,
There's so many. They
I
can
know.
be dragged over.
I
they
understand,
donate
but
money.
I'm not gonna do it for free. If you want me to open this up to do an open panel after we get closings and stuff, we can. But I'll need $100 by the time I'm done with these super chats.
$100?
$100.
Like,
Yep.
This is
together?
absolutely exploitation.
You are fin-doming
That's
the
not
shit out of your
exploitation.
children.
No, this
like
is
that.
I got
that is
what?
100%.
Where's the
I do
social
not work for
responsibility?
free,
No, it isn't.
ladies and
Talk to right now.
gentlemen.
They're lonely. What do you mean?
I do
Hold
not
on,
work
hold
for
on,
free.
that's-
Okay,
No,
here's the
exactly.
deal. Here's what we're gonna do. Okay, $5 from RV to say don't forget the backstage. I didn't forget you, buddy. $5 from DJ Nuts. For the OnlyFans creators, if you find out that your man pays $50 to $100 on OnlyFans, I'm assuming for other women, does that make them more or less attractive in your eyes?
I would break up with them.
Why?
Why are you giving another woman money? You're
Okay,
giving
fair
me
enough.
money.
Hold on, but a
You
whole bunch
idiot.
of men give you money, so I don't know.
So I'm not giving my money to a whole bunch of other men. I'm getting money from men, and I'm giving that money to him. So why is he giving his money to other women?
It's just like rules for me, but not for
Whoa.
you.
It's not, but it's not though. It's not.
What an
difficult.
absolute
If
hellscape.
he-
I'm
no,
happy I
it's
don't
not
live
because
in.
if
That's
he
not
no,
even
it's
close
not
to the
because if
same
he had an
thing.
OnlyFans and he was getting money from a bunch of women or men, I wouldn't give a fuck as long as he was spending that money on me. If he's going out his way to spend his money on other women, not acceptable. Just like it wouldn't be acceptable for me to spend my money on
Well,
other
let me
men.
ask you a question. If you knew
Man,
one
I'm
of
never
your
getting into
fans
these.
had a girlfriend and was giving you money, would you block them?
Hey,
Would
y'all
you charge
gotta
them back
let
and block
let
them?
Wick cook a little bit more on
Yes,
this
get out of
super
my
chat.
shit,
You
you
gotta
This is
let-
fucking
exactly the
Okay,
same as
if we're gonna
saying
have a whole debate on a super chat, it's gotta be more from $5. We're not gonna do this
you
for
wouldn't
$5.
be okay with an
super chat,
open
okay?
relationship for you, but you're okay with other people having it. How dare you?
Okay,
you
$2.
If
hypocrite.
you don't shut, I'm sorry.
$2 from
What?
DJ
No,
Nuts.
go on.
what?
No.
My answer.
Oh, $2
Yo.
from DJ Nuts. Oh, motherfucker. Thank you for the $100. I guess we're doing opens after. Okay.
Let's go.
DJ Nuts for $2. Cass, what if my kink is vanilla and eye contact?
Like a normal
Um,
relationship,
I don't know.
right?
Was that one meant for Julie? Because Julie said
I
she
think it was
Yeah.
meant for me because I'm a kink
Yeah,
shamer.
yeah.
Oh.
First of
Yeah.
all, not knowing who Julie's name is. Okay,
Insanity.
buddy.
Get out of here.
Red flag.
Big kink shamer. How could you do that? You want eye contact? You're fucking so disgusting. Get away from me.
Freak.
Okay.
Yeah, but even you know that there's some
Can I
sexuality.
answer
We're gonna have an
right?
open panel after. We can discuss it after.
Oh, gross.
Let me get through.
Not
I got a lot of
interested at
super
all.
chats. I got a lot of
Ew.
super chats. We gotta get through.
Just real quick, I didn't get to answer the question for me
Okay.
though. If my partner bought content, it would depend on our finances, and I would want it to be like a collaborative thing. I would want to also participate in tipping the model.
I would never buy OnlyFans content. That's so stupid.
It is okay. $50 from Psychonaut. I got you,
reach,
Wick. This was for the shirt. DJ Nuts paid me another $50 to take the shirt back off. Beautiful. $2 from Edmund. No message. These are the best kind of super chats that I don't have to read. Thank you for the $2. $5 from Trib1. OnlyFans isn't more exploitative than streaming platforms. A creator can abuse relationship, but the issue would be the individual, not the platform. I disagree. I think that the sexual nature of OnlyFans and implied sexual nature of OnlyFans makes it inherently more exploitative than the streamer.
You can say the principle. I think
I'm saying
no one
the
has-
streaming can be exploitative too, by all means, right?
But exactly. But this is the issue, right? The idea that something else can also be exploitative is not a counter argument to whether or not OnlyFans
agree.
is.
I agree.
Okay, thank you.
I agree. I think exploit and also the exploitative level, I would rate OnlyFans higher than Twitch, for example. $50 more from DJ Nuts to again put my shirt back on. Thank you for the $50. $5
You have to put another sweater on.
from DJ Nuts. The effective strategy to ending a majority of exploitation in porn is banning the sale of porn, not the distribution. $5 from John. It is sexist to center a panel specifically about men on men. Check your privilege at the door. Wild take. Just get married. Content? Question mark. Thank you for the $5. $5 more from DJ Nuts. Man, you were funding my whole career tonight. Having an OnlyFans harms your career prospects way more than being a stay-at-home mom, widow, or divorced woman.
Yes.
True.
That's true.
$5 from Better Methodist.
Agree.
Somebody in Kentucky started an OnlyFans competitor named OnlyFams. Thank you for the $5.
Family?
That's
Sign
the
up
joke.
tomorrow.
Sounds good.
$20 from Alexander Rin, sorry. Exploitation is a danger whenever the purchased goods are psychological or emotional fulfillment. This is why we heavily scrutinize jobs where those are the main returns. The fix is often regulation, transparency, and oversight. Thank you for the $20. $10 from Eldad. Guys online LARPing the most shallow and instantly gratifying parts of a relationship and whacking it a lot is good practice for having healthy romantic connections with a partner. Thank you for the $10. $5. Wait. Wick unironically saying it's a woman issue and not a streaming or OnlyFans issue? Is Amaranth exploiting her audience more than a man of her size? In different
Absolutely.
ways. I say in different ways. Kid for $5. Remember when we were talking about making that money 6 hours ago? Yeah, I see you. $5 from Tesco Johnson. When a woman breastfeeds, it's nurturing and beautiful, but when I do it as a man, then all of a sudden it's cruel and unusual. Double standard. $5 for Better Methodist.
Are
Breastfeeding.
you going through? This is how many people donated?
Yes.
Actually
You?
famous,
Wick?
dude.
I
You
get a lot
wick?
of
He's
money.
pimping us, bro.
Yeah.
Like hard.
That's
No,
fine.
it's me. I'm
mad
the
about
magic.
it.
Let me finish, though. $5 for Better Methodist. Breastfeeding scars you for life. I know. Nothing more embarrassing than being a junior in high school and having your mom show up to feed your lunch. Thank you for $5. $2 from DJ Nuts to say, Wix, my Margot Robbie. Thank you.
Hey,
Uh,
yo. Great
$10
compliment.
from Psychonaut. Cohort is right. If he started stripping, all the women would immediately say that he sexually harassed them.
Not true.
Mm.
I don't think I'm getting sexually harassed. I think you're being weird.
$5.
I think if he stripped, I think women would probably be okay with it.
We're almost
Hey,
done. We're almost
Penis
done.
out?
We
Hey
have-
Julie,
Penis
why do
out?
you use weird instead of like
Oh,
any
my
other
God.
word for describe?
See-
Like, okay,
I mean,
You give me flashbacks.
no, I'm
Thinking
just
of
saying
high
like if I so if
I
I
also used that word
if-
earlier.
if I was like if I'm on a debate and there's like 100 people somewhere around there watching, I'm talking to you, and all of a sudden I whip my
Are you
penis
trying to
out.
call
That's
out
just
the fact that
weird.
That's
retarded
weird,
right
but you're
now?
weird.
Penis? You're ripping your
crazy.
penis out?
It's just weird. Like it's just weird.
Please
It's just
don't
like
whip your
odd. It's
penis
He's
out.
odd.
trying to call out the fact that
That's
I'm
odd.
Use the
retarded.
word weird first.
Okay, $10 or $5.
very
I sorry
strange
for the
behavior.
trib. A 1 says, if a woman wears a low-cut top and streams, is it exploitative? How much onus should be put on the consumer? To me, it's the individuals, not the platform. Thank you
Me,
for $5.
it's like, look what the fuck cohort's
What-
wearing.
what-
If a woman wore that right there, a woman, like, I could change into the exact top, and I'll tell you right now, it's gonna
Okay,
look different.
What are the girls doing
Because you
underneath?
are
That's
different.
the no. Let's talk. What are your girls doing underneath? Are they flopping around? Because that's gonna be the difference. That's gonna be the
No,
main
I have
difference
boobs,
immediately.
yes, if that's
Yeah,
That's
what
what I'm
because you
saying.
are
So are they
different.
move? Are they bouncing? They
Yeah.
moving
That's a
around?
weird question.
You wanna
Right,
know that? That's fucking
I'm
crazy.
saying that's gonna be the difference.
God
That's
damn,
gonna be the
this
difference.
guy.
I don't have
He's got his
I don't
own
have
out.
titties.
Those boobies is
I don't have
mounted.
titties.
Hey,
Balls are
Kirby.
uncomfortable.
I don't
I'm
have
just gonna use
titties.
the F slur, but can't.
Okay, $100
Have you
from...
ever worn a bra? Have you ever worn a bra? Like to the men in the chat.
I've never
We're
worn a bra.
grown
that's
ass
true.
men.
That's
that
crazy.
shit
Oh,
is
that's so bad.
uncomfortable, bro. Like, why
I
are
feel
pressuring
you.
women to wear bras?
I feel you on that, but my counter would be, so you would rather they're just out here. Sometimes they're falling out of the tank top. Sometimes
I got I'm itty bitty titty committee. Okay, I don't got that
Yeah.
problem.
no,
you
I'm
know,
saying
like,
I'm
I
saying
don't
just
need
in
to wear a bra.
so okay, that's fair. I'm saying like in general because I can empathize with that, right? Might not be able to fully sympathize with it because I don't have that situation, but I can imagine being uncomfortable by something you're wearing. Now my thing is, to whatever extent these standards exist, right? That women feel they're just oppressive, and it's like, why are we even doing this? We're doing this for you men because you guys are saying we have to do it, but we really don't want to, right? We can have that conversation, but don't let it be known
Who
that not
said
every
that?
not every no, I'm just giving an example, but
It's
not
a
every
choice. It's a choice.
not yeah. So
but if you're not
because
wearing one, it doesn't mean you're being slutty. You're just comfy.
But no one said that.
But yeah, is that what men
Okay,
do?
Yeah.
hold
Well,
on.
that's
I
what
mean,
men
not
do.
necessarily. But if I go on stream, if I
okay,
hold on. If I'm a woman, and I got a couple more super chats, I'll get to it in a second. But this is important. As long as I'm not retarded, okay. If I'm a woman and I go on stream and I purposely, intentionally go braless, I know what I'm doing.
No,
I just know what I'm doing.
so
I do.
retarded. No, that's retarded.
Not necessarily.
That's uber retarded.
That's-
It's uber
Yeah,
retarded.
if you're retarded, then
wait,
Uber.
I
Okay,
actually got.
no,
I
so
agree
let me
with
say
Julie
this.
on that one.
If a guy doesn't
If
wear
I'm not,
boxers,
I
he's a
have
whore.
like no tits. If I wear no bra and I'm in a t-shirt, I'm intentionally braless. I'm not doing anything. I'm sitting here in a
Okay,
fucking t-shirt.
certainly,
if I'm in a low cut
Julie,
top with
that's
a
not what we're
push-up
talking
bra,
about.
It's very different.
Okay, I understand for you it might not apply, but there are women where it absolutely does.
Okay, I think the new rule is if your titties are small, you're
for someone,
essentially a
even with
man
someone
and
with
you don't
huge
count.
tits, if they wear a push-up bra, it's gonna look way more sexualized, way more crazier than if they're just in a t-shirt or whatever with a loose top with no fucking bra on. If your nipples are fully hard,
So then,
20%
wait.
of you huge long nipples, maybe. But like,
This is the most
I'm actually
retarded shit I've ever
curious
heard.
that
If the
wait.
tits look big no matter what, is that predatory?
No,
Sorry, go ahead.
That's
Irrelevant.
just crazy.
Irrelevant. Let's listen to Irrelevant here. Go ahead.
I'm just curious then. If you have big boobs, then and you don't want to wear a bra on camera, are you just fucked then?
Yeah,
Unless
that's, like,
you
stupid.
are
That's
willing
like,
to
you know
accept
what
the
you're doing,
idea
you
you're
have big
sexualizing
boobies.
yourself.
But you
That's
would
just crazy.
totally
for you.
But you do. But here's the thing. Let's not operate.
Well, I
like
wanna
women
answer the
don't
question.
Wait, no.
understand
To
their
be clear,
sexuality.
yeah, I want Wick to
Yeah.
answer. To be clear, I want
wanna
Wick to
The
answer.
question. I think that you have to understand because of how you are that there are certain expectations that society has for you that might not be placed on other people. Now, that's
But
that
to say,
fair?
like,
No.
you know
Is that
what you're
fair?
doing
No,
is
but it's
crazy.
true.
But Julie, let me match
So
everything.
people
Well,
do that.
yeah,
I
wait,
want to
no,
say
no.
people do that to me all the time.
That was
Whenever,
like
whenever
one
I
of
wear
you-
something.
one of you-
hold
answer.
on.
Hold
One of
on,
you
Julie.
said
Wait,
earlier
That's not a
that
good thing
like
to do,
Let me match
though.
energy.
That's not a good
No,
thing.
it's not. I know. I
Let me
agree.
match
I'm just,
energy.
I agree. It's
Let me
not a good
match
thing to
energy.
do. All relevant for the
Lock
record.
in with me. Lock in with
Okay.
me.
No, no.
for a second.
Okay, so no. Wait, hold on. Let me hold up. Let me
You're
respond.
addressing me.
Let me respond to that.
Wick. Yeah.
It's about the fact that you said you know what you're doing. What the you know what you're doing is implying that they're intentionally sexualizing themselves. And what I'm saying is, what if you're a woman who has big boobs who doesn't want to sexualize herself, but you don't want to wear a bra? Are you just fucked?
No, I think
You are
if you
fucked.
wore like a thick enough sweater or other things, that there are ways you can desexualize yourself. Yes.
So,
But if
so
you
you
are-
have to.
if you are naturally-
Well, no, I'm not talking. So, because we're talking about two different things. We're talking about whether or not you can desexualize yourself versus whether or not you quote unquote know what you're doing, right?
Yeah.
So knowing what you're doing in this context is meaning that again they are doing it intentionally to sexualize themselves. And I don't think that
the
a
idea
woman
is that
with
the
big boobs should
knowledge
have
is so
to-
ubiquitous
One
that you
moment.
would have to know what you're doing.
Exactly.
moment.
You can't escape it.
Well, no. The know what you're doing,
I'll give you an example.
right, implies that they are no. The know what you're doing implies that they're doing it intentionally to sexualize themselves. And perpetuating that idea makes it so that way if a woman has big boobs, she has to wear really conservative clothing in order to hide her chest. Otherwise, she's going to get comments like, "Oh, well, you're just sexualizing yourself for viewers" and stuff like that, which
But
I don't think is
can
right.
talk for a second.
It's
I
also
think
like,
that
well,
if you,
one of
have,
you-
I think
Hold
if
on,
you
walk in.
have,
We also
Walk
bring
in.
up the
Someone
point of
said-
like Billie Eilish.
Walk in. Let me cook. Let me cook. Walk in.
Hold on. Someone said earlier that even like when you go on stream and you like doll yourself up, like you know what you're doing. Like just because I'm wearing on makeup on stream doesn't mean that I'm like
I don't think makeup's
sexualizing
the
myself
same
for viewers.
thing here.
Well,
No,
hold on,
literally.
hold on.
But
Walk in.
somebody literally said that earlier.
That was
I
me
think it was-
talking. That was me talking.
Yeah,
and
that's
you just,
crazy.
That's
Just
not,
'cause I'm wearing
that's not.
makeup on
Stop.
Walk
Stop.
in.
Stop.
That's
You
literally you
misunderstood
said.
what I was
You
saying.
said when you
Stop.
doll yourself
No.
up, you know what you're doing. You literally said that earlier.
That's short. That was shorthand. I was making a larger point. You honed in on. Now you're saying that you think what I meant is you just put eyeliner on and like that's just what I meant. You put eyeliner. You're
When you
sexualizing
say
yourself?
that you
Make
doll
this
yourself
argument
up
for
when you
Red
go
I
on
was
stream
making
and it's being
I was
exploitative.
making
You're-
I was making a larger there was a larger example where I was setting aside me streaming, doing gaming versus a streamer who's going out of their way to create a set and themselves as a part of it that is going to facilitate the parasocial.
Okay, but when you say
possibly
things
slightly
like
sexual
doll yourself
relationship.
up, you know what you're implying when you say it.
Now let me cook.
I thought I did.
Well, let me
But I mean,
finish
maybe-
these super
based on
chats.
this
and then
But
you
hold on,
can
no,
cook.
wait, because we're gonna lose the point though. We're gonna lose the point. Let me cook. I have to say this real fast. Lock in. Listen, I am a 6'1" black man. I know that if I walk behind a white lady, I can very easily scare her. Even though I'm corny. I'm corny as hell. You know what I'm saying?
You wouldn't
I'll talk
scare
about
me, it's all
Digimon
good.
randomly, right? I'm very corny. but I know that my size and stature can be intimidating to some women. As such, a lady with big titties also knows that her titties may be flopping around if she's on stream without a bra. With that knowledge, does that mean you have to adhere to desexualization? No, I don't have to
But
walk
you're
any slower,
justifying
but I do
stereotyping
know.
people.
Hold on.
You're
I don't
justifying
have to walk.
stereotyping people, though.
I'm not. What I'm saying is, as a black man, I understand the context, but it is incumbent upon me to either cross the street myself.
I got
or
a
to
story
just
for
keep
you.
doing what I'm
I got a
doing.
story for you guys.
Same
I got a story
thing
for
for
you
the
guys. I
lady
got a
with
story
big
for you
titties.
guys. Real quick. It's a real quick story, right? And this is a few years ago, like years ago. Me and the girl I was dating at the time, we were walking down the street in the big city. It was dark. It was late at night, and we saw a large black man approaching us. And I looked, and I saw she clutched her purse, right? Like, this shows that, like, racism, there's like this
I would
kind
say
of
it's not
this.
necessarily racist, but more men.
Well,
like women.
I asked her about
that
it
would be
later. I asked her
sexism.
about it later,
Oh,
and she said I knew, like, intellectually that man wasn't for sale, okay? But she still grabbed a purse anyway, because history, purchasing men, things like that. Anyway, but yeah, so there's the story. But okay.
Well, hopefully you guys get the point I'm making, though. My point is having
yeah.
knowledge of how society
Views
exists
you.
and treats you.
Do you have a
doesn't mean you have to adhere
responsibility
to
if
it,
you have certain
but you
physical-
have the
Hold
knowledge.
on. Let me
you know?
put it. And I'll give it to Irrelevant in a second. If you have knowledge that you have certain characteristics about your body that might make people either uncomfortable in certain situations or have a certain effect, do you have a responsibility to take that in mind and act accordingly? And I think to a certain extent you do. But Irrelevant, go ahead.
I mean, I don't disagree with the idea you have to act within certain ways that society understands who you are. The difference here, and with the example given about being a black dude walking near some like white woman, because I've been in a similar scenario, I would never say that because some black dude is walking near a white woman and isn't adhering to like crossing the street or doing these things to make them more safe. I wouldn't say you know what you're doing by not doing that. Like you're intending to intimidate this white woman. Maybe you just don't give a fuck. Maybe you're just like, hey, fuck it. I'm just going to walk down the street. I don't give a fuck to cross the street. I don't give a fuck to do any of that. I'm dealing with my own shit. That is the core difference, is the you know what you're doing type comment. It's not, hey, be aware of how you present yourself in the world. The you know what you're doing, and especially in the context of women presenting in any kind of way that could be interpreted as sexual.
In the context of
sure.
turning
Even
on
in
your
streaming,
stream, where you intentionally set up everything around you about your thing. You set up your presentation, right? And I do this with intent. I didn't accidentally put that on, right? Like I didn't accidentally set these things up. Yeah. I did it with intent, knowing what I'm doing. Yep. So I'm just, I think that, most people, including women, when they present in certain ways and they set up their scene, and if a big titty woman went braless on stream, she has to turn that camera on purpose.
When you're streaming, you are the product of the principle. So you
but to turn on the knowing what you're doing comment again implies that they're trying. The reason why they are going braless is to sexualize themselves. And now you can make an argument about whether or not it's likely or more likely. But the example I gave you is fairly palatable. If you're a woman with big boobs, and listen, okay, I don't have big boobs, but based on what I hear, if you have big boobs, wearing a bra all the time gets really fucking annoying because that shit's got to hang right on your shoulders, right? And so you are putting that person in that position where if they want to not wear a bra on stream, they have to like totally none up and dress super conservatively.
They can accept what comes with it, though. That's what I'm saying. Like,
no.
You don't have to.
Or just change the fucking camera angle.
Wait, services, right?
Or just change the fucking camera angle so you don't see them at all.
What? Why would you wait? Listen to all of this. Listen to all of this. If you're a woman who has big boobs and you don't want to wear a bra, you have to adjust all your camera angle. You have to do all this shit. Otherwise, no. He literally just said adjusting your camera angle in order to avoid. Okay, cool. All right. So you have to do all these things in order to avoid people saying that you are sexualizing yourself for the benefit of viewers. But it's very realistic. You might just want to be more comfortable. I think that's a totally normal thing that these people would want to do.
Hey, Xerxes, can I jump in real quick? Because I haven't had a chance to So, Irrelevant, I just want to confirm something with you. So, because I think we might agree. So people, whenever I stream, I'm like on camera, right? Some people will assume that I'm wearing, if I'm not wearing like something that is long sleeve, they'll assume I'm wearing whatever I'm wearing to show off my arms. I've had people say that in chat. I've had people message it to me. I've had that happen to me already. And I'm not even on stream that much. Haven't been doing that this long, right? So if they're doing that right now, I wear active wear because it's comfortable. I just wear it all the time, all day, right? If
That's why I'm shirtless right now. Yeah.
This nigga
feel
plays
you, right?
Marvel Rivals.
So
in a tank top.
somebody in the chat, I think when I looked to the right, I think I saw somebody make a comment about that, about like, yeah, he's shirtless, dude, or whatever. So it's like, but you're just trying to be comfortable, let's say, right? So
Yeah,
I think where we both agree is that it's not right that they're assuming that I'm trying to get glazed or like show off my body. It's not right that they're assuming that you're trying to show off your body. But we recognize or we should or may recognize before we put anything on or you take your shirt off that is a possible conclusion that will be reached.
Right.
That people
I agree. But the idea is that the people who are supposed to be critical and understanding of how saying things like you're doing this on purpose, that those comments perpetuate a specific environment. And I would hope that those would be some of the people inside of this call. And with that in mind, we shouldn't be the people who are perpetuating the idea that if you're a woman with big tits and you don't wear a bra, that automatically means that you are for sure trying to sexualize yourself to gain more viewers. Maybe it's just not that you're like me and I just want to be more comfortable. And
what if she's doing jumping jacks? Hold on. How much? Hold on. Let me ask this. So say they just want to be comfortable. They just want to work out, so they start jumping jacking. Can I not make any assumptions or inferences?
No, we can call out.
Can we say,
What if I totally change the scenario though?
When you say
Wait, as the only woman here who can
with huge tits. Sorry.
Go ahead,
as the only
Kirby.
woman who can speak on this. It's sometimes really annoying. So that's it. It's like I'll wear a ginormous shirt, and people will be like. That's why I brought up the point of Billie Eilish. It was like she wore giant shirts like her whole start of her career, and then like people kept talking about her boobs. They're like, "I bet your boobs are ginormous." And then
it's just when you say things like she knows what she's doing, you're making it sound like because she has huge boobs and she's in a t-shirt, she's asking for those comments just because she wants to wear a t-shirt. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Let me respond, right? Because I think we can, let's say we can build a bridge here, right?
I still got
we can accept that, we can accept though that necessarily it may not be the case that a woman with big titties is doing so because she knows she wants with intent to get that.
She can expect those comments without asking for them.
However, exactly. That's the literal, she does know this will occur. Much in the same way I know.
It doesn't mean she's asking for them. When she says she knows what she's doing, it implies that she's asking for it.
And that's why I said let's build a bridge, right? Because we can accept the two things, right? That one, perhaps she doesn't need sexual attention.
I don't think that even if I don't think it's okay to harass, sexually assault, or even make unwanted sexual comments when a woman says, "Hey, I don't want this," right? However, if I go into a stream and I see a woman and she's
with no bra, you're like,
do you type in chat? I can see your nipples.
No, but hold on.
Let me finish my statement. I do not think a man or a woman, in any case. Well, let's use this. If Cohort, right, had his shirt. Well, I'll use me as an example. My shirt is off. I have cake covered on my face and my things. I don't think it's untowards if someone in my chat made a comment about that.
Are you comparing huge tits to cake on your chest?
But hold on. Hold on. Can we build the bridge? Can we build the bridge that having the knowledge
for $50? But go ahead.
So can we build the bridge that having the knowledge is not the same as wanting the sexual attention? Can we agree that the comments may come?
The way that you phrase things, word things, and the way that you imply
that's good. I think
that's what she's doing. It
implies
implies that she's asking for it.
So can we build a bridge though? Can we now understand that?
I don't think there was. There was never a misunderstanding. Yeah, there was never a misunderstanding about whether or not they know that they're going to be met with those comments. There's no woman who goes on who, in general, who has big titties, bras or not, are not going to be met with comments of like, oh, you know what you're doing, stuff like that. Women know that they're going to be met with that, and they know the reality of those things. The
Okay.
issue was the you know what you're doing. Because when you make comments like that, it implies that they're doing it with intent
Yeah.
to sexualize themselves.
But what
That's
if
the
some
issue.
of them are? Can you accept that some of them do?
Yeah, of course. Of course,
Sure,
I
some
can
people are,
recognize
but
that
let's
some of
get
them
on
do.
every
But-
woman. That's bad fucking
But
insane.
again, back to the very first thing that I said when this came up, it's a pretty fucked scenario to put women with big tits in, where they have to wear a
And
bra
I think that's our
24/7.
discrepancy. So my
Otherwise, they
discrepancy,
quote unquote know what they're doing.
but this is my discrepancy. I think they have to eat that. They have to man up, quote unquote. They have to accept this is the world you live in currently. You can bring it up, you can talk about it, but much in the same way, I have to accept that I can be intimidating.
No.
People are gonna
It's a-
people are gonna be sexualized.
You're- okay, now you're getting mixed up on the previous thing there as well, but also even with that
ridiculous
specific
sentiment. I go to the office every day, and like you're saying, because I have bigger tits, like I have to man up if they're sexualizing me in the office. That's fucking insane.
As opposed to what? Are they supposed to just
As
not
opposed
think
to
you're
not
attractive
sexualizing
person?
you,
They're just
fucking
supposed to
weirdo.
just turn it off. They're just gonna turn it off.
mean?
Oh, you're not
my God.
attractive anymore.
think-
My
wait,
bad.
wait,
What you're
No,
saying
no,
right
rather the
now
idea
is
would be to control
Hold
yourself
on.
in that setting.
Most
I think,
workplaces.
I think Xerxes should
That
clarify
is
what he means by
insane.
sexualized, because I know him personally. I know he does not mean they should walk up to you and be like, "Oh my god," like, you know what I'm
No
saying?
shit. Yeah.
Because that's not what he means. He doesn't mean
No,
It's
sexually
not
harass
her
you.
job.
what he's describing right now. It seems like he's pro OnlyFans. That's what it
No,
is
not.
crazy to me.
No. What?
That, like,
I'm
I should go into the
pro
office.
accepting
I'm wearing what
reality.
I'm wearing. I wore this to the office
Mhm.
today, and so I should walk up and people are sexualizing
I
me.
think people should
Alrighty.
wear a
Wait, so
bra
it-
into their
The
office.
thing is,
Women should wear
you're
bras
an
into the
attractive
office.
person.
Is that hold on?
Like-
Is that an insane take? That if you're going to your workplace in an office, as long as it's not like
But even if you wear a
sexualized
bra
I don't
in
place,
the
think anyone
office,
you should
disagrees
wear a
with that.
bra.
sexualizes, it's
You should
still
wear a
on
bra.
her.
Yeah, but no one
Right
would disagree
now.
with that. No,
But,
yeah,
then,
let's
but
talk
you
here.
guys are,
But
but you
that's not
guys
what
are
she's
making the
talking about.
argument that if she doesn't wear the bra, it's on her. What if she wears a bra and she still gets sexualized? Is it still on her just
Wait,
because she has
sports
bigger
bra,
tits? Like, this is
No,
insane.
I'm saying you have to accept the reality of the world you live in. That's what I'm saying.
No,
You
no,
have
no,
you have
no,
to
no.
So
accept.
she has to
No,
accept
no,
that she's
no,
gonna get treated like
wait,
shit. You can't control
wait.
yourself.
Well,
What the fuck is
you're
that?
hold on. A
This is
lack of
insane.
control and sexualization are not the same thing. I don't understand why we keep doing this. He can't
We're gonna
control
get
himself.
sued, dude.
There
I
are
get
plenty
this.
of people that have a sexual attraction and they come respectfully, or they don't even come at all.
But
So
you
it's
guys are
not
making
the,
the
it's
argument
not
that
the
if she's
case
not wearing
that
a
it's
bra,
this
it's her
or that.
problem.
It's a very
What I'm
basic
saying,
issue.
being
There's
What if she wears a
attractive,
bra and gets
I
treated
couldn't
the
even call
same?
that. I couldn't even call that a
No, no,
problem.
relevant
Okay,
options,
okay,
though,
okay.
they have to
Irrelevant,
say.
get in here. Irrelevant, get here.
There
Then
is-
I'm
there
going
is
to read
just
these.
two- okay, there's very simple. This is two separate issues. Whether or not, so I'll just bring it to the example that we brought up earlier with being like a black dude, understanding that we might intimidate people around us. We can understand that we will have that effect, but we can also argue that it ought not be that way, that just because I'm a 6 foot tall black man, I intimidate every white woman around me, and that I would expect people to normalize the idea I'm not going to fucking assault you just because I'm a black guy in your presence. The same way that we would do the same thing with like a woman with big titties. You could say that, yeah, she should understand that this is going to happen, but that doesn't mean that she should be okay with it because it's not justified. Your argument is that it's justified that she is experiencing these kinds of comments or this treatment inside of the workplace. Because if it was unjustified, you would say, yeah, you're right for complaining about it. You have to accept the idea that you can't change something overnight, but you don't have to be be with it because it's unjustified.
So Xerxes,
You're
can
just
you
arguing
put-
it's
what's the-
justified.
what's
It's
the
not
treatment,
justified.
though? What's the
Hold on,
treatment?
hold
You
on.
said this kind of treatment. I want to know from Xerxes, like, what is your, when you say sexualized, I want to make
One
sure
day I'll
it's
get
also
to read
what
this
they
podcast.
mean when they
That's
say
exactly
sexualized.
what I need to like. Exactly. That's
Yeah.
what I was about to ask. 100%. Because what I don't understand is the demonization of male sexuality, or the assumption that male sexuality is
You
predatory.
told me
There's a
that my
huge
face
implication,
alone is
No.
sexual, feminine.
What
enough
I'm saying
for you
is
to
you're
sexualize
attractive.
me.
You're an attractive person. You can't divorce the fact that you are attractive.
So
from
is
your
it
existence.
so is
Can
it
I work?
acceptable for you
Can
to
I
treat
be
her
like-
like that in a workplace
So-
and shit,
so-
or like even on a
No,
panel?
no,
You
so
make
listen,
comments
no,
towards her.
Someone
no,
is
no one
different
said
than
This
what
is
you said.
insane.
No.
Okay,
So let
people
me
have
answer your
to.
question.
Different than
People
what you said.
people
Now
have
answer
to
your
go.
question.
People have to go, so I have to give them an out, and I have to
Mhm.
read these last super chats. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna read these super chats. We're gonna closings. If you want to stay, you may. If you don't, I understand. $100 from DJ Nuts. This Deej Nuts. He's correcting my pronunciation.
He's nuts.
Damn, I honestly didn't think they'd be honest. Also, it's Deej Nuts. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly. I hope I am. Thank you for the $100. $2 from the Trib One. So in summary, it's a woman sexualization problem. And then $2 more from Trib One says Wick knows what he's doing with that beard. Yes, I know what I'm doing with the outfit that I'm wearing on stream. I do. And I do it
The way
intentionally.
you cut your beard, Wick, it's really provocative. So I can't handle it.
We're training you, okay? Men have to exist in a situation where they have to control themselves, whether they're turned on or not. And I think women should have to face the same scenarios, okay? Women, you have to control yourselves, okay? You can't just be going up and making comments just because you're feeling certain ways. It's not okay. Okay, with that,
I
closing
apologize.
statements, and then we'll get to the things. So tell people who you are, where they can find you, and what your closing thoughts on. And we're gonna start with Julie, and we're gonna end with Xerxes. Irrelevant. We're gonna you hopped on, right? So yeah.
Closing statement. We should exploit men more. And I'm Julie.
Sad Kit Kat. You can find her at twitch.com/KitKat. All the links are in my YouTube description. Go check them out.
If you want to exploit men with me.
Cassie Catnips. Go ahead.
Hello, my name is Cassie Catnip. This is my safe for work name. I like to separate them because I don't actually want to be sexualized when I'm streaming under this name. I do talk about those topics, but it's a different thing. Final thoughts being on the topic whether or not the girlfriend experience or OnlyFans in general is exploitative. I think it depends on the situation, and I think that we're kind of seeing like a pendulum shift. People are exploitative with OnlyFans, but we have many years of patriarchy that led to this kind of pendulum swing, in my opinion. That being said, I think OnlyFans and content creation, porn can all be done in ethical ways, and we should have more conversations about the unethical ways that those are being done to rebalance the pendulum from swinging again.
Okay, thanks. And you can find her link in my comments. Click on it. Thank you for being here. Really appreciate you. We're going to get to Often Topical. Go ahead.
Yeah, Often Topical. You can find me on YouTube and Twitter under the same name. At the end of the day, I think my big takeaway with this is, yes, obviously, any kind of social interaction for money is going to be exploitative on its face. The question is whether or not it's a problem, and whether or not something should be done about it. So, we don't penalize the many for the mistakes of the few, and I don't think that we should start doing that now. Are there people who interact with these things in unhealthy ways? Of course there are, just like there are for anything else. It doesn't mean that anything needs to be done about it. It doesn't mean it needs to go away, or that it's a serious fundamental issue that's harming society any more than anything else is. You don't watch Hassan instead of CNN because it's just, you could do either or and you just pick one or the other. You do it because you have a personal connection that you can get to a streamer that does your news rather than what you can do watching local news. And it's the exact same here. And yeah, that's pretty much my final takes on that.
Okay, thank you for being here. Cohort.
Yeah, I think OnlyFans, the girlfriend experience, porn, and all similar things are a net negative to the sexual development and mental stimulation of all people involved, not just men. And furthermore, I think the idea that that men are engaging with these services simply to scratch a mundane itch, the same way you would take a car to a mechanic, or the same way you would go to the grocery store to get something you ran out of, I think is very foolish. I don't think the data bears that out in terms of how these things affect the mind. And I don't think anecdotally that makes any sense either. But where I will build a bridge is that some of the other topics we touched on regarding women feeling comfortable with being able to get on a camera, for example, dress, the bra thing came up or whatever, right? And not having it assumed that they are trying to do the same thing that maybe another woman is very explicitly trying to do in terms of creating a sexual atmosphere, right? I agree with that. I don't think that every woman that's on camera and that maybe is, I don't know, she has a larger breasts or whatever, right, should be assumed that she's trying to funnel that kind of audience, right? That's not fair. So I do agree with that. And yeah, if you want to find me, Cohort on YouTube. That's COHXRT. There's not much there right now, but there will be in the future. Thanks for having me, Wick.
Oh, thanks for being here. Did we get Kirby yet?
No.
Kirby.
Time.
Where can people
Can I
find
end
you,
it there?
Okay,
This is
great,
stupid.
wonderful.
I think this whole argument is really stupid. I mean, I'm gonna probably talk about the point, my original point, that it's all about capitalism. I think it's really dumb that we would want to set restrictions on OnlyFans models. People who started the company are males. Like, if we want to go back and forth about male, female, like advantages, blah blah, it's dumb. It's dumb. To the original point, it's like males, especially like founders, board of directors, everything is all predominantly males. Sure, you have OnlyFans models that are making a lot of money, but you also, like, it's a very back and forth. Like I said, I saw 43% of users or subscribers are still females. So, like, it's stupid. This whole argument is just, to me, is stupid. Okay. My name's Curb Fiend. I don't stream,
W.
but
Please hold
W.
with me on my stream. Come my stream.
Okay. Thanks for being here. You're great. I appreciate you. Last but not least, Cersei. And as cohort, can you send me a link to your YouTube channel? Because
Yeah, I got you. Got you, brother.
It would appear that turns out everyone actually agrees that there is some degree of exploitation going on here. They try to create degrees of separation, but not a counter argument that makes. Which means we all understand that there's some issue going on. Some might say it's capitalism. Other might say there's no difference specifically here, right? But I think that's ridiculous. I don't accept the premise that because we live in a capitalistic system, that it even means that every company or even the individuals within it are exploiting each other. I think to exploit means to take advantage of a weakness or a deficit an individual has. You don't have to do that because you are a capitalist. That's nonsensical to me. The idea that there isn't something different about forming a pseudo or faux sexual relationship with an individual who is providing you with pornography, or a girlfriend experience with which is a curated experience of trying to have or emulate a relationship with a woman because you can't actually experience that, is definitely a folly. Granted, are other things folly? Sure. But today's conversation was about OnlyFans, and I think that honestly, no one could really even refute that. I think we spent a long time dancing around that, but in the end, I am correct. You just have to accept that. So, my name is BassFZZ on YouTube. You guys can call me Zers on channel, off channel, doesn't matter. You can also find me on Twitter, BassFZZ.
Okay, gang, if
That's
you
it.
need to go, get out of here. I understand. And
right.
Irrelevant, answer your
Thanks,
damn
everybody.
DMs. Okay, I DM'd you something, and you said you wanted more options. I gave you an option. Let me know.
Oh
what you
shit,
want.
really? Oh my
Yeah.
bad.
Let me know if you want in. Okay, it's for next week, but it's a different thing. Pizco will be there and stuff.
Okay.
You gave him an option, not us. Crazy.
Wow, what the fuck?
You're on my show today. I didn't invite him on
That's
this one.
okay.
I want
So,
whatever
you
options
hate
are relevant
me?
gets. I want
Wick
all the
doesn't
options.
even like us at all, Kirby. Kirby, blacklist Wick.
Okay. Gang. I'm gonna bring in a couple people at random. and
Oh,
then-
we're doing like still chatters.
Yeah.
Oh,
been a
let's
minute.
go. This is exciting.
Yeah.
It's been a minute.
I want to yell at people.
I don't think they're yelling at you. They might come for me. They typically do.
Hey,
Wow, there's a lot. I
that
thought it was
one
one by
guy
one.
You did
I had a
say
cool
that
conversation
it's
with you.
not refutable.
Okay, you guys gotta. It's your time to shine. Make me content. Make this something where people don't leave because they're bored.
Got it.
Do we get a cut?
Content.
That's what I'm saying, bro.
I'm
Everyone
paying
hated
ya-
us
Hey, yo,
paying
bitching
ya
ourselves,
in,
so
Give me a
let's
little bit. Give me a
Closure.
super chat. You know what I mean?
OF at least gives me a cut, okay?
That is wild. Yo,
Who's
what's
trying
going
who's
on?
trying to be controversial?
Yeah, Wick,
What up,
where's
man?
my cut?
Come over and get it. And we'll
Hey, can we
figure
get a
Whoa.
quick can we get a
Hold
quick
Wow.
can we get a quick intro from the three that just joined
Yeah,
about, like,
Deesh.
what they
Is
say?
that your Deesh?
Yeah.
Is it? Are you the one giving me
Yes.
money?
Yes, I'm the one that's giving
Beautiful.
money,
You get to go
Wick.
first. Go ahead.
Okay, beautiful. Yeah. If you want to give me more money, you just have to keep making videos about topics I care about or streams.
What's your thoughts?
Yeah.
Go
So, my thoughts are primarily that, and let me preface by saying I don't think porn should be banned, just like I don't think that any drugs should be banned. However, to say that the porn industry in general, this is really not just OnlyFans. I think OnlyFans is inherently a little bit more insidious for males, less insidious for the females, because the porn industry is very exploitative towards their talents.
What's their talent?
Something that wasn't talked about.
What's their talent?
Told you. Don't worry
The-
about
the-
it.
the
Let them
women.
go. Let them
There's-
go. Let
there's
them
an
go.
You
argument.
said
employees.
exploitative to their talents. What's the talent?
Just let them-
The talent is the
piece of
person.
work is called a talent.
Yeah.
Okay, keep going. Keep going.
So-
My bad.
Inherently, there's a reason why we have terms like post-nut clarity, sex sells, yada yada
Women
yada.
have that too, but yeah, it's true.
Yes,
Wait,
because
shut up.
when
No,
humans
no,
are
they
in a
do.
state of arousal, it inhibits our abilities to think clearly and make sound judgment decisions.
Only men.
So that's part of both men and women. When humans are in a state of arousal, it impairs our judgment, similarly to how other narcotics can impair our judgment as well. And inherently, the porn industry as a whole exploits that fault in humans to extract more money from their customer base, which is why I made the argument that it's actually more exploitative than casinos, because I don't see ads for casinos. There's an exception a little bit
Where
with
do you
Kick.
live?
I do. There's
Yeah, like
tons
where the
now,
fuck do you
it's
live?
like
What do you
a lot
mean?
more.
Like,
There's,
No,
Well,
I don't
I
see
wanna hear-
advertisements for
Casinos.
casinos on social media. Obviously, you can see
Yeah,
billboards for
crazy.
them, but there are
Whether or not
laws
you
that
see ads or
prevent
casinos,
these
it depends on the law.
activities.
That's a law
That's
thing. That's a law
That's
thing.
crazy. Literally, I see a
I've
steak
seen
ad
them a
more than I
lot.
see OnlyFans ads.
Yeah,
Sports
it's a
betting-
lot.
sports betting
But
is
hold on,
heavily
the
advertised.
Instagram is the ad. Twitch can be the ad sometimes. You know what I'm saying? So it's more implicit than it is simply just like, yo, hey, buy my only. And actually, sometimes on Twitter, some women will just say, buy my OnlyFans.
it
Just,
doesn't really matter. Do you understand? Like they're both being advertised. They're both being heavily advertised. So
well, not the casinos, not to the
The-
same extent.
No,
Not
not
they
nearly.
are.
There are
Wait, wait,
restrictions.
wait,
Hold
wait,
on.
wait, wait, wait.
Hold on.
Hold
Some
on.
order in the court. Order in the court. There are
Steak
restrictions.
literally
on,
has its own streaming platform
There are
where,
restrictions
where they
on
advertise
how,
it daily.
There are restrictions,
They
okay,
pay
on
people
how
to
you can
advertise it.
advertise certain products, right? Such as alcohol, such as tobacco, such as casinos, gambling. In many states, there are restrictions on how and to what frequency and to what audiences they can be advertised. OnlyFans doesn't have the same regulations yet.
In fact, porn in general doesn't have the same regulations. And, well, to a certain degree, the only regulations are based off the policies of the platform. So there aren't like any legal restrictions. The only restrictions that are in place are essentially imposed by financial processors and I guess the morality of the big social media companies. But essentially, the primary engine that OnlyFans creators use to bring in more audience is through thirst trapping on social media, at least the very successful ones. Because let's face it, most OnlyFans creators don't make a living off of what they do, but
What's
the
your
ones
question?
that do.
What's your
Wait,
question?
sorry.
What?
Was my question?
Yeah, let's just.
I think,
Well,
I
Oh
think
no,
I
I'm
think
I'm
that-
I'm,
he's
I'm making an
making
argument.
a really
Yeah,
good
exactly.
point, like a really good argument. So
Like the
Yeah.
whole thing is like the way that porn is advertised to people is identical in the business model that drug dealers use to find new audience as well. You give people a sample that inhibits their ability to make logical
so
decisions
sex
to get them
is-
to give you more money.
Sex is legal. Drug use is not. So like.
Well, it's legal in some places, but even if it wasn't,
So
if it was
sex is
legal in
actually
the
legal
US,
but its
worldwide.
legality,
Worldwide
is
legal.
not a counter
What are you
argument.
talking
That,
about?
hold
Like,
on.
You can have
Let's.
sex anywhere in the world. Like this is completely different.
There are
This
places
is,
you
like,
can't.
Gave you
ridiculous.
a sample
well,
for YouTube,
prostitution
and then you
isn't
paid
legal
money
everywhere.
to talk
Yeah.
to him. He said $100 to talk to me, so he gave you a sample of his content. You like his content so much, you're like, keep making content, I'll keep giving you money. Isn't that not the same dynamic where he gave you a sample and now you're like, I want to donate?
I am not sexually.
No.
I'm sorry, no offense, buddy, but I'm not sexually
It's
attracted
different,
to
but
you,
it's
so I'm
sexual.
not inhibited in the same way. Whereas if someone sexually attractive had done
That's
that to
a
me,
valid point.
right?
Well, let me ask you a
Which
question.
I
Can
kind of,
ask
I
you a
was kind of
question?
hoping we could
Can I
spend
ask
some
you-
time on that point though, because that was great. That start
Hunger,
that Deez was
food
talking
can.
about, where
But-
he was
but
talking
I-
about being inhibited by attraction. I wanted to get Julie, Kat, I want to get you guys, your opinion on that. Like, how do you feel about that point?
So, well, what's the point again? I'm not.
Being
So the point is
go ahead.
that
The arousal?
when you're going and causing a state of arousal in somebody, you're inhibiting their ability to think clearly. Similarly to how if you give a girl alcohol and then take her back to your hotel and have sex with her while she's inhibited, you would consider that in a lot of situations rape. Because you're inhibiting their ability to think clearly to extract something that you want from them more easily.
Okay, giving a woman alcohol and taking her back to your house to fuck is not the same as a dude getting horny because I'm hot and then him giving me money. That is.
It's the same. It's the same. Like
No,
like
it's
marketing
not the same
You're
at
not arguing the
all. It's not the
principle.
same at
But
all.
Julie,
It's not the
Julie,
same at
Julie,
all. I'm not drugging someone. I'm not drugging
right,
anyone.
Julie.
Nobody's drugged.
Actually,
They're
you
in the
are.
same state as
Julie,
mine.
Julie,
I'm not drugging anyone.
No,
I know,
Xerxes,
I know,
calm
I
down,
know,
calm
Julie.
down, Xerxes.
Oh.
Xerxes,
Come on.
I want to give Julie a chance to respond. Like, what's the? Now, yes, to the degree of inhibition might be different, but is there not anything to what he's saying where you are
I
creating
don't think those
a
two things are
situation-
comparable. I don't
Focus
think
on the
alcohol and being
brain
horny are
stimulation.
comparable.
Focus on the brain stimulation aspect. Okay, let's
Yeah.
think about it neurologically. Put aside because the conveyance is less important, right? The idea is that the thing is in the system. It's you're being influenced, right? So this man or woman, whoever who is engaging in this potentially in this transaction is being influenced by their attraction to this person. I just want to how do y'all feel about that influence? Would you just say that's the goal? Like that's literally the goal. I want them to be influenced by how hot I am and the ad or this. Like,
Can
well,
I
the goal
say
is to get
something?
money from them.
Well, let's Cassie wants to speak. Go ahead. Then want to hear from Julie if she has a thing to say on it. Go ahead.
If Julie wants to wrap up what she was saying, she can go first.
You can go. You can go.
So that is a completely valid point that like the state of arousal or horniness, whatever, can change, like your judgment and the decisions you make, etc. I do feel like some of that, like it can be addictive, but a lot of that is like self-control. And I would compare it honestly to the way that food is marketed to us. Like we have literally people hairspraying fast food burgers to make them look more appealing to us. And it's absolutely when you're in a state of hunger, your decisions are affected, like I would say to the same degree as a state of arousal. So by that standard, like I have heard my partner moan more over food porn than ever in bed. So I
That's a
mean,
skill issue. I
I-
wouldn't
I-
say
I-
that out
I
loud.
was gonna say.
I wouldn't say that out
Seriously?
loud.
God,
Men
damn.
are
You gotta
Oh
find a new
my.
partner.
Just lay it all out
My
there.
boy is
Find a new
big
partner.
Oh, did I miss the
Men
super
are
chat?
Respect for
afraid
it.
to express themselves in bed. Men are like afraid to express themselves in bed for sure. That plays a role. But like when you
Wait,
see
he's
like a good
not
like,
afraid to express himself
TikTok
with
of like
food?
what I
no like ramen, bro. He's a fucking
He's
fool, bro.
moaning,
Like,
but like in bed.
like for ramen, yeah,
Oh.
no sushi, ramen. He has a problem. Like he likes food more than me sometimes. Honestly, I'm jealous. But yeah,
That's
yeah,
actually
that's the point
fairly
I wanted to
common.
make.
Oh
I
no,
don't know.
aka
I'm curious.
Patosi. I don't think I'll read it again. I thought I got it, but I'll read it again. He says I missed his super chat, so I'll just read it again real quick. Can the OnlyFans ladies say they are doing their work for the betterment of men?
No, it's for me.
no, they already
Okay.
said
Yeah,
that.
we already
I'm
covered that though.
curious.
Yeah.
If
Yeah, I
it's
thought
for
we
you,
I thought we
what-
did, but
what-
just in case I missed it, I wanted to.
what exactly for you? Like, is it for? Are you trying to
Money.
make money? Okay, so we can all agree right now that you're doing OnlyFans to make money, right?
Yes.
All right.
I have a
So
different take.
I don't think there's anything wrong
go
with that. For me personally, my only opinion is I think that certain things that OnlyFans influencers can do can be kind of exploitative. I'm also an advocate for like maybe holding back on certain things because I think as a culture we've already agreed to some extent that we don't like the idea of everyday or most content creators just talking to their audiences in a certain way. We don't like this. We all kind of wince at the idea of people sitting in group chats and talking to people individually and having secret group chats with certain people. We all kind of wince a little bit at that when we hear about it. In my opinion, and in most of the culture that I've seen, that's how some people feel about it. If that's the case, I do think that certain aspects of OnlyFans can be extremely exploitative for that exact same reason. If you're advertising, for instance, a relationship with me, which some people I have seen do that through things like Reels on TikTok or Reels on Instagram, more often than not, that's the only time I actually see OnlyFans creators. And sometimes when I come on here, I don't really experience them in any other way. And whenever I see that, I'm like, oh, that's very interesting. You click on a person's account, you're going to see their description. I was born in 1994. So my generation already knows the first thing that we do is pretty much look and see what's in someone's description. We learned that from Twitter because we grew up with it. That's like the first thing you do. When you do that, most kids nowadays who also grow up with it, that's what they do. You're going to immediately get transferred into what they're advertising. But the reason you clicked on their account in the first place was because, let's say, I think her name's Nymph or something like that. She's an Asian woman who just so happens to be a little bit older. She pops up on mine because at one point in time, she was selling people video game consoles, and I love video game content. So she shows up, and she pops up with her butt hanging out or bent over. You see the pictures when you pop into it, and as a man, you're like, oh, nice booty. Let me click on that real quick. And when you pop into it, you see something. They're selling something to you, and that's perfectly fine. The difference for me is always what you're selling. If you come on to me and you're selling and you're saying in this reel that you're selling a relationship with me, and then I click on it and I'm expecting to talk to you, and I am talking to you, but it's not a relationship, I think that's a little bit exploitative. You're not giving to me what you're selling to me. When I'm jumping in knowing what your content is and I'm perfectly okay with it, then I think that's fine.
But
I don't
Guy, I'm
the
curious.
idea of
Do
it
you
is
actually think you
exploitative, but I
can?
do think certain things that you can do, how you advertise, how not you in particular, but how certain OnlyFans creators do advertise to people, I think is a little bit exploitative of children in specific. And nowadays, this generation is just growing up with this stuff, which is why you will hear someone like Wick consistently say for the last like 5 episodes that kids are going up to people like, "Hey, what's your OnlyFans?" Because they're
Right.
growing up with it. They're
Yeah.
used to going and doing this method that I just described,
can-
and now it's normal. And that's
Well-
not beneficial for me or you.
Yeah,
For
you
me,
can, you
And-
can even have.
poker jokes. Like kids have been talking about that kind of stuff for forever.
But hold
No,
on.
it's
but here's the
fundamentally
issue.
different. When I was a kid, it was fun, even because I grew up in the AOL chat rooms and things like that, and so there was internet when I
Yeah.
was a child, right? But it's at a fundamentally different level. The norms are
Yeah.
different, and I
Maybe
think they
that's
are
a
worse
male
for
experience
women.
because as a
But
But we're
young
funneling,
female
but hold
child
on.
on the
Wait,
internet,
can I
it's
real
much
No,
quick?
but they are.
Real
But that's what I
quick,
was about to
because
say.
she brought up a good point. She said experience. I'm not even gonna act like I'm not an OnlyFans hater. I don't ever actually care. I'm not on that side. I'm kind of in the middle, which means I suck. No one likes to listen to me. But at a certain point in time, I think it's more about what you're doing with it. You have to kind of be conscious of the fact that this is okay. At one point in time, we had mags. Everybody was okay with mags. You had to be at a certain level in which you could get involved with it. You had to have the money to be able to pay for it. And certain people aren't going to even want
What
to
is
look at
that?
pictures or read, right? Certain things like
Magazines?
books and the things that
Yeah,
turn
yeah.
people on other forms of media. You kind of have to buy into it in a certain way. In my opinion, with the way that people advertise it, it doesn't give you a chance to kind of buy into it. You can now just see it. And I just feel like there needs to be kind of a shift in the culture if we don't want people to be able to say the things that they do say about OnlyFans creators. I don't think
I
there's
mean,
anything wrong with it, but
I don't
to
think
some
you
degree,
could.
how many of you can
I want to
advertise and try to get
I
yourselves
want
out
to hear
there
what
can be
Kirby has to
detrimental.
say. I want to hear what Julie has to say, and I want to hear what Cassie has to say on this.
Go
And
ahead.
then I'll
What
let
about May?
Cersei in and all that, right?
Okay.
Kirby, you're up.
Somebody go.
No, someone else.
So okay, if
Cassie
you guys
gave
don't
a
have anything to say,
Well,
we'll
Go
move on.
OnlyFans, dude.
sorry,
I need a
didn't mean to
rundown
cut
of
you
what
off.
was
Well,
just
hold
said.
on.
I'm gonna be honest, that was a lot, and I was not listening. Can I get a rundown?
I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's just
So-
rude.
The ladies
I
are
think,
not
I think
too
I can
bad, bro.
condense it.
Yep,
I
I'm
think I
sorry.
can condense it.
No, you're
because of the
fine. It's not
way
you. It's a
that-
me thing. I'm a dick.
But because of how
That's
porn and OnlyFans is advertised on social media, the average age that boys start viewing pornography is 8.
Now,
Years
yeah.
old.
It used to be
I
12.
don't know if that's the OnlyFans
13.
issue. That's
Days.
people were watching pornography
I
early as
had my
fuck
first
before
sex
OnlyFans
ed
was even a
at 8
thing.
years old.
True.
Yeah, but the
You had
difference is
sex
that
at 8?
OnlyFans.
The
OnlyFans is
Sex
funneling
ed, sex
a particular.
education.
But hold on. But
Okay,
hold on.
that's
Again,
way
again,
different.
again.
Okay, I was
You
about to
guys
say,
keep on.
whoa.
Hold on,
but
hold
yeah.
on. Because
Happening?
we can't accept the fact that OnlyFans and porn are one and the same. They're not one and the same. X videos, mini vids is not the same as OnlyFans. Like if I have clips per sale on one area here, I am just selling clips. There's no discussion, no conversation. If I'm on OnlyFans, as you know, we had that one guy say, if you're advertising a relationship, for example, let's say I'm your new virtual girlfriend, like I'm here for you, like it's on the 10. Then
You're
we
saying
have an
that
issue, do we
OnlyFans is
not?
specifically to advertise a
Yeah.
relationship. That's not true. It's
Even if
mostly
it
to sell
isn't.
clips and shit on there.
I don't-
And like
I don't
chicks
think
who are
that
selling on
really-
many vids and all this, they
You-
have
you-
social
you-
media to message
You
them
said
on.
this.
But the problem is again, the principle of what OnlyFans set out to be, and mostly still is actually, is a hub for you to directly communicate with a content creator. That's its direct principal function. Now, if some people, I think is a swindle, you use a management team and you have a robot or AI or another person talk to you, I think you're swindling someone. I think you're exploiting them. I think you're
I
exploiting their
don't-
desire to
Deej's
talk
point-
to you.
to Deej's
I don't
point,
think
that
that
would
the
be-
exploitation happens at that stage because
So you think it happens even earlier? Huh?
No, I think the exploitation is in the sale of goods because inherently the whole point, like OnlyFans creators, if you didn't get paid to do it, would you still do it?
I did it before. Yeah.
No, but I mean, like, let's say it's literally illegal. There is no on ramp for you to make
I'm not gonna
any
do
money
something
making
illegal.
pornography.
Oh.
No.
just
You can
just
make
honest.
it. You can make it, but you can't make any money off. You can't sell it. You can only give it away for free.
Wait, before they
I was
respond to
posting
this-
on Instagram
Yeah.
before I had OnlyFans.
before they respond to
No,
this,
porn.
are you saying that's like the exploitative act of it being like, or so for instance, to me, exploitative is like something pretty much has to be unfair. You're benefiting.
Is
from
there
an
an
unfair
ethical
act
way to
someone
sell
else.
crack to a crack addict?
Are you saying it's unfair?
But when you
The answer is no.
like,
I mean, I don't think there is a way to do
Wick
that.
gets
but-
the point I'm trying to make.
No.
Wait, wouldn't that
These-
argue that every single person who consumes porn has an inherently incredibly negative relationship with porn?
Well, in its nature, yes. Why are you happy?
No.
Why are you ragging
Porn
on
is never
porn?
going
No,
to
I-
improve.
So, hold on,
wait.
Yeah.
What's the healthy relationship
hold
with
on.
porn? What's the healthy relationship with porn?
Wait.
I want you to explain that.
Well, what I'm saying is when we're talking about whether or not it's addiction, we're talking about whether or not it is destructive to your life, your ability to maintain jobs, relationships, or friendships.
That's fair.
And so does every single person who consumes porn are they not able to do their job, form relationships, or form? Okay,
Yeah, but that's
so it's not.
no.
So no, that is the definition of addiction.
But does
If
it
you are,
But he wasn't
the
talking
definition
about
of addiction.
How about
He literally did. He said selling crack to a crack addict.
Okay,
that
well, that
was
was
my
Blake,
statement
not
based on
DJ.
Deja's
Okay.
statement
Yeah, I
earlier,
don't
his
think Deej was
argument
saying
earlier.
that.
His
Yeah.
argument, as I understand it, and he can correct me if I'm wrong since he's here, and I see you, Cassie, and we're going to get to you as soon as we can. I promise you. I promise
So,
you.
but I also have a question. You guys were saying, would I still do it if I wasn't making any money from it? So, say I'm just posting all this stuff on Instagram. If I'm still cultivating those parasocial relationships, but I'm not draining their bank accounts, is it not exploitive anymore? Is it only the money making aspect?
You have to be extracting something from them to be exploitative.
Yeah.
So even
I
if
mean,
they're like they're
extracting
totally
time would
obsessed with
work.
me, they're
Time would
totally
work.
obsessed with me.
No, I
They're
would
in
say
love
at
with
that
me.
point,
They want
You're
everything to do
you're
with
still
me. They're giving
taking
me
from
all
them,
their attention to the
absolutely.
point where they're not even going to work, so they can make sure that they're
Yeah, that would
giving
be
me attention
exploitative.
24/7.
You'd be taking something from them that's actually
Unfair
priceless.
interaction,
It'd be
yeah.
even more.
I think though that
Because the people
Hold
do
on,
that same
hold
shit
on,
on
hold on.
OnlyFans.
Cassie has to go. Cassie wants to answer this question, and I'm going to give her some chance. Go ahead.
Okay, all right. I kind of want to answer a little bit of both. So the question earlier was whether or not the OF creator thinks they're doing anything to benefit men. And then the recent question is if you would do the work if you weren't being paid to do it. And Kirby kind of called me out earlier because she didn't believe I was being honest when I said I would still, or I do it both because I enjoy it and because I make money. Before doing adult content, I had my explicit content taken from me and I was being blackmailed with it. So one of the decisions in doing the type of work that I do was like, okay, if it's going to be used against me, I'm going to just own it and I'm going to use it for myself. And through that, I actually built confidence in a way that I never thought I could have, from people who were just like seeing the good in me, empowering me, like wanting to see me do things that I enjoy, which then
Like,
extends into like other things that I get
it's
to
nice
do.
to hear about OnlyFans can do
But
that.
I'm gonna finish first. And then I've learned to love my body to the point where I would make like a nude dance video just for the enjoyment without getting anything out of it and just putting it out there because it's an art performance for me. It's not solely the money aspect. I'm actually pretty anti-capitalist and I would enjoy doing erotic art if I was not being paid for it.
That's nice that that happened to you, but a majority of women, especially young women, especially like 16-year-olds, I would never recommend them doing that kind of stuff. Like or 18-year-olds.
The question was for you personally, for the creator personally, how do they feel about it? And that's my feelings on it.
Yeah, but like, you are a rare exception. I'm so sorry to say you're a rare exception. This is like a ridiculous. Like when you were 18, you remember when you were 18 that this was completely different. Like how you felt about yourself is different how you feel about now. Like.
Right.
Like
I'd rather be a cam girl than be homeless, and honestly, I fell in love with the work. And
sure, that's why I said rare exception,
like objectification, that like are things to be aware of, but it doesn't.
Majority of women aren't homeless, but there is exceptions. That's my whole point.
But don't you think that
sure you can say there's a lot, but it's not the majority.
But isn't
that's
there an
the
issue
reality of things
that like anyone would have to come to this through dire straits? or like
Yeah,
desperation.
like
That's an
if
issue
you
with
hadn't
capitalism, though,
been
not with the
But why
thing
are you
itself,
blaming?
and that's
Why are
the
you
same
blaming
with like
capitalism?
sex work.
if
I'm
you
not
hadn't been
blaming it, but
blackmailed
it's
though,
putting a lens on.
if you hadn't been blackmailed, because obviously, like, I can understand how, like, you
Yeah,
know,
to be fair.
owning your own like art would be more empowering than being blackmailed. But do you think you would have the same perspective if you had never been exploited by the person that was blackmailing you with your pornographic content?
That's actually a really good point, and why I do bring it up and speak about it, because like I can't really determine that in the ways that it has impacted me, because yeah, it just is what it is. But honestly, even before blackmail, the whole, going back to the whole sexualization argument, I was sexualized since I was a child by no decision of my own. I wasn't allowed to wear yoga pants because the adult men in my home might get the wrong idea. Like I was heavily policed by just like my being a female without even doing anything for it. So it's like
Excuse me, which
to say
adult men
whether or
would
not I
would
would
these
do
be
it.
family members? Which adult men?
It's
My
so I
parents did adult
actually
foster care when I grew up, which exposed me to a lot of weird shit.
Okay.
so
Okay.
and
This
I also
isn't
grew up
also-
Mormon, and my
This-
wife is Mormon as well. And there is, I think, a balancing act of like, because she was on the opposite spectrum, where like she has self-esteem issues with her body because of the way that she was told to hide her figure. You know, she has wide hips. I like them. She wishes she was a twig. I don't know why, but that's kind of how it goes. Because like she just like that's something that can be ingrained, and I think that you have to find a healthy balance. But I don't think being like super like sex positive with OnlyFans is actually good for society and for relationships as whole. To the point that Julie made, which by the way, you're the only name I'm going to remember because I married a Julie. She
Go!
is
Julie's
like
in the chat. W's for
yeah.
Julie's in the chat. But go ahead, sorry.
the where was I going to go with that? So you wouldn't want to date someone who does or consumes OnlyFans content. But
That's
if
not
all
me.
men
That's
consumed
Julie's take, but not
OnlyFans
mine.
content, right? Yeah, but if all men consumed it, then you wouldn't have any dating prospects, or of course you'd have to lower your standards, which is always difficult. But
Not necessarily.
actually, I actually wanted to talk about how I think things should be structured, where I don't believe porn should be illegal. I don't think we should ban it, but we should just completely take away the financial incentive. Porn is a multi-billion-dollar industry, right?
Wait, what
Make
do you
it-
mean by
just go
that?
into the shadows.
What?
and
Make
what?
it-
have
make it
more, like,
illegal.
sketchy in-person prostitution.
Wait,
honestly,
wait.
at that
I want to
point. We've
see
tried that
what he
before.
means by this. What do you
Make
mean?
it illegal to sell porn, or well, and also prostitution is already illegal. So it's illegal to sell porn, not
Hasn't worked, though.
distribute it. So the way that it works is that if you try to be a legitimate business selling pornography, you're not going to be able to, and the only way you're going to be able to sell
So you're a
porn is
fool.
through
This
cash
is foolish.
or crypto or anything like that. No, it's
This is
something that we
foolish.
do in tons of
And
industries.
then we just fill up the
No,
prison
what,
with more
name
people
one industry. This
participating
is
in it,
foolish. This
as
is
if we don't
foolish.
have the
I think- is it
biggest
just
prison
gonna,
system.
won't that just make it more exploitative?
No,
It'll make it less
not
because-
only
It
will,
does,
will it
it
make
does.
it that, but
It
they'll,
really
they'll
does.
create like niche like industries that could maybe get around like the regulations. Like this is completely foolish. People will inherently
rise in sex
always have
trafficking.
porn, right? So that
Yeah.
you have to legalize it. It doesn't
No
matter.
one-
like
no one-
oh
no
my
one
god,
would
I'm
buy
so
it.
sad that the
What
People
no
he's
one would
arguing,
buy
and
porn
what he's arguing,
because-
and we do have to end the show in a minute here. But what he's arguing
buy it
here
no matter
isn't
what, but
to
sure.
ban porn. He's saying
no,
that don't touch porn.
no matter what, there's gonna be other options. Like sure, ban OnlyFans if you want, but guess what? There's gonna be like 80
the
more.
tighter
It's
the
a
tighter regulations still
demonetization
mean
of it,
something.
right? So you
Yeah,
can
What?
make money
still
off of it. You can still do it. You just can't make money.
Mm.
I'm
Yeah,
so
you
sorry.
can
There's gonna be like
sell.
20
I
other
see.
ways
Okay.
to do it.
That's
That's
It's
his
just
argument.
the fact of the matter. I don't
People-
care what
people are still
So
people are
You
basically
still
can still
gonna
make
saying
money
sex.
off of sex. You'll always be able to make money off of sex. If they get rid
Yes.
of OnlyFans,
I
people are
really
gonna find
feel
another way
like
to fucking
sex
do it.
trafficking wouldn't
Yes,
be
Go back to
like
snap
for
it.
instance, as an example, I don't think this would stop the creation or even making money off of pornography. What it would do, like the easiest workaround, is people don't sell sex. You donate to the Patreon, right? Like Patreon is an example of this. They don't technically like allow selling sexual content, right? But that doesn't stop. hentai game developers from making money through Patreon to fund their hentai games. What it would do is make it so that companies like Brazzers, like I don't know, there's a whole bunch of them, wouldn't be able to have whole industries built around exploiting talents to make money through advertising on sites like Pornhub and through their own subscription models.
Okay. Gang, this has been great. My dog is bugging me to go outside and let her out.
Can we see the dog?
Big doggo?
Pick up the dog. Show us the
Lola,
dog.
come here. Lola, come
Have
here.
the dog. Show
She's just looking at me. I'd have to get up and get her, but I don't want to. Okay.
Please.
Okay. Here's the deal. Are any of you streaming currently on Twitch? Anyone?
Not me.
No one. Oh, you are, Cassie?
Hey.
What's your Twitch name?
Cassie Catnip.
Leaving. Bye, guys.
Okay, I'll see you later. We're gonna
Bye,
rate
good
in
talk.
Cassie Catnip. Gang, tomorrow we're gonna have a talk, discussion. We're gonna have Counterpoints on. We're gonna have Lactoid on. We're gonna have some other people on. We're gonna talk about to what levels should we excuse bad behavior in our political leaders. Should be a fun discussion. So check it out.
Xerxes, I'm gonna DM you. We should talk again.
Yeah, you guys.
No, I'm saying, bro, I
Yeah,
miss
we'll-
you,
we'll
man.
set some things up.
Do you still stream?
But I'll see you guys. I'll see you guys later. I love you all.
Bye bye.
Bye.
I'm gonna DM you. I'm gonna DM you.
Yo, irrelevant.
Bye,
You still
Webstream.
stream
Bye.
on